This podcast is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
You let us know when you're ready. Oh, we're live. All right. Well,
then live.
Perfect. Well, we'll go right back to chirping Harrison about being the baby here. I feel like that's wildly appropriate.
So, how long ago was it that you got out of pull-ups?
Hey, Harry, don't let him.
7 or 8 months ago.
Yeah, so don't let him bust your chops too hard, because he was pretty young the first time he was in my DMs too. So he was a young lad, and then proceeded to have a nightmarish day.
I had to DM him what DMs were.
Yeah, I didn't understand. I'm like, what's this notification on my phone? I don't understand.
Were you the oldest in our group this year in Team Trail? Like, are you older than Matt?
Like us four?
Besides
no,
Andy's dad?
no, Maddie's older than I am.
Yeah.
Shout out to Maddie because we love him. He is the dad.
Yes.
Dad. He's Dad Matt.
He's always
Cords,
there.
generator.
Yeah,
That guy
he's
probably
the
got
guy.
you covered.
Yeah. That man can fix anything, including a broken heart.
Yes.
And definitely live wells. Like live well switches that don't work, he's that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, shout out to Matt. Real helpful guy.
Seriously.
Matt Voit, for anybody who's confused.
Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the second oldest, and you're the youngest.
Well, don't forget
traveled?
about Andy and
and Mike.
Dad, though. I mean,
Yeah.
which also I think we're all gonna miss Mike this year.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Always just a joy to be with, but Gaff will be entertaining. Gaff will be
Oh, yeah.
entertaining. I don't know if we're supposed to out that or not, but
Who knows? This pod might not come out for 4 months.
yeah,
so.
that's true. That's true. Like, we already have like 3 finishes in the books, and it'll be like, oh, that's
This
yeah,
comes
figure
out
that
after Pokegama.
Yeah. right.
He's withholding information.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we don't have a host, so here we are.
No, that's it. I mean, I think he figured maybe one or two of us could talk our way through this. I don't know.
It's gotta be
That's you.
I
You're
was
the
saying,
talker.
I don't know who
Gotta
he
be
was
you.
going to lean on that one,
You
but
can't lean on me.
So Johnston, new host of the Bass Galaxy.
oof, I could never be so lucky. I could listen to people talk about fishing. If you just stuck an earbud in here, I'd never turn it off. I'd grow in like a tumor. But all the podcasts love them. Let's see, what else can we talk about? I mean, how excited are we for spring to come back around, since we're the luckiest humans on the planet last
Never
year?
wanted it to end.
After last year, it's so hard. I mean, love ice fishing. It's good for the economy right now, but man, I'm just been thinking about the boat since New Year's already.
How fun was that first week of March?
Man, March 7th, dude. I was in the boat March 7th, Douglas County, Wisconsin.
And
That's
then you got all these losers in Minnesota that have to
Yeah.
wait.
No. We just crossed the border and totally invaded.
Well, it's because you know us, so you can.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, anybody could, but you got to come and
That's right,
enjoy
that's
it
right,
with
yeah.
us.
yeah.
Oh, no, you guys still segregated me in my own boat. Don't let them lie to you, all right? They're like, you still got the Minnesota stank on you. You just stay over on this
You just
side.
go catch your
They
crappies
send you
on
to
that
the other
side
side of the
weed line.
lake.
Yeah. No, it definitely wasn't the other side of the lake. I almost could have held somebody's hand in the back of the boat, but
Oh yeah, there was
Certainly could've.
casting the prop
Yeah,
water
yeah.
from 10 feet
Oh, yeah.
away.
that's been known to happen.
When you're sitting there whaling on 2 to 3.5 pound largemouth for 2 hours straight.
And then catching, how many crappies do you think we caught that day?
Almost as many bass.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Eating
Crankbaits,
jerk baits.
jerkbaits.
Jerk baits, suspending rattle baits, strolling them. Strolling them on a 5-inch minnow nonetheless. It didn't suck. It
And
didn't suck.
what's cool about the spring in Wisconsin is, like, it kind of sets up like your Texas lakes almost in the spring. You can kind of fish like ditches. You relatively know where all those fish are going to spawn.
Mm-hmm.
It's so predictable and so fun.
Right. We were just, Johnston and I were just on the phone the other day, yesterday, I think, maybe, or the day before, we were talking about that same thing. Most lakes are really predictable, but then there's like that 10% of them that you're like, oh, this is going to be so easy. Then you get there and it's not.
Yeah.
You just don't catch anything, and that lake maybe just sucks, but
Right. No,
Sometimes
I feel
they
like
throw you for a
the
loop.
spring is a really good time to gauge what a lake has.
Yeah, for sure.
And it can obviously lie to you, because fish like to lie to us. So, but oh man, yep. I will argue with anybody that fall is great. Fall is wonderful. The spring, I mean, you took away the main lifeline for us here, and then we get it back.
Right,
And
then you get
they haven't seen us for
it just
months.
depends, though, because what's like, for me, if you ask me, it's whatever season I'm right in the middle of.
Yeah, that's
Because fall comes around right after, like, all summer long. You have
And they're-
some somewhat tough fishing in, like, maybe end of August and September. but then you get it right into fall. It's almost like the same thing where it's like
I'll
ice
fish
fishing.
in
or-
August. Didn't you guys win 10K in August?
Wow, we did
Oh,
that.
weird. Yeah, real tough.
but Beginning
So,
August.
yeah. August was pretty tough on you. I heard. You know,
Yeah.
Gull was really just shelling them out.
That was an all right deal, I guess.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, it wasn't
so
so
bad. I mean, I feel like me and Harry caught less fish. I mean, obviously, I think we had a pretty good day too. A little more frustrating.
Definitely.
Yeah.
A little more. I mean, the basin fish just up and.
Yep.
But I think we talked about that the night before when it was storming and raining and we're all trying to
Right.
rig
It was-
as
Yeah,
fast
that
as we
did do
could.
that,
It was
didn't
like
it? The day
every
before,
tournament
just
this year
storm.
before Team Trail where the weather was
Tumultuous.
it was great all practice,
Yeah.
you know, and then tournament night or the night before the tournament, storm would roll through or whatever.
How about the first day of practice for cab? How terrible was
Oh
that?
my god, that's actually so. Anybody who knows us knows that we fish
In the cold.
as early as anybody and as later than anybody.
Hashtag
That
don't
actually,
ever buy that Ultrex.
Oh, he's
that
never gonna
was
be
the
able to sell it.
coldest. Yeah, that was the coldest I've ever, not ever been, but like
Four-
that was colder than I was ever
40
at any
degrees
point during
blowing
March.
and raining in the spring.
Because you're getting wet, so it's so much worse.
yeah, gets you to the bone.
You know, snow is way better because you're not getting soaked and chilled
I-
to the bone.
I tie an FG knot and I broke off my connection knot and I tied a double uni. my fingers wouldn't work. I sat down and tied a
took-
double uni.
Yeah, it took days for my fingers to recover after that
Oh,
one.
man.
It was
I remember how cold our hands were.
Well, you know how it is when you get like when it really really is cold and then like for several days after your fingers still hurt.
my gosh.
That's what that was.
Well, then-
or you get so sore. Like I was sore the next day. I think it was that Friday of
Yeah.
practice because the whole day you're fishing, you're like tense and shivering and you're wearing bibs. Like just like all your main body, like all your main muscles, your
going
body.
to a fun fish lake right after being that cold for a couple days. How awesome that was! And it rained that day too.
storm,
Yeah, it was.
lightning.
It was weird. Like even I know Wisconsin, we had extended season, but even in Minnesota, that water temp rode at 45 degrees for a long time. Like that perfect largemouth window and smallmouths wanting to pull up.
I'm glad it held off because I mean, my least favorite thing on this planet is bad derbies, and
Right.
and there was fish that were on cab that were thinking. I mean, I'm sure there was a couple that were.
They were
on
like
bed.
2 sunny, warm days away from.
They were probably one day away.
Yeah, half a
Yeah.
day.
Well, that
We're right
water
there.
was for 2 or 3 weeks. The Petersons went up early and said it didn't move a degree in a week.
Who else was there? Somebody else was up there the weekend before, and they said they blasted him.
I don't know. I mean, what a
Might
it's
have
just
been
fun lake.
Westerveld, Jeremy. Did he was?
Oh
he?
yeah,
I think
that
they
could have been.
I didn't talk to him directly, but I think I heard from somebody else that said they were up there the weekend before, and they just smashed him. So it sounded like, I mean, when we were there, it was still good fishing, but it was tougher than
Yeah.
what
Well,
you'd
the
heard from
weather
guys that were
tournament
there.
day. The weather tournament day, I think the bags
So much wind.
would have went up if you could have just moved a little bit.
Right.
I mean,
Well, there's some locations you couldn't. I know we had one by an island that we wanted to fish that we couldn't fish it effectively. And we actually ran into each other there the day before the tournament and like caught a couple fish on jerk baits, and then they have like several follow it in. You're like, holy smokes, this spot's loaded.
Yeah, don't need to make another cast. You're gonna
And
you're gonna hit it.
it's really hard not to.
You
make
couldn't
that
even.
extra cast.
I couldn't. You know, we showed up there tournament day, and we couldn't even fish it. I mean, we did and tried. We caught a couple like little ones, maybe 2 or 3, but you couldn't present your bait right with all the wind.
And that was another thing we didn't have in practice. Practice was pretty nice, minus the first day
Right,
with the
minus
rain.
yeah.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday were nice.
But that wind the first day, you could like hide behind islands a lot
Yeah.
more running.
Harry, what was worse, driving on cab or driving on Kentucky Lake? I know which one you stuffed a couple waves on.
Both for sure.
But you didn't stuff any waves on cab. You just
Yeah,
you
but
just shortened. I'm already the shordest guy.
Yeah,
You
the
already
answer was
I
like
think I
something.
hurt
That
your
one was
back a
worse, I
little
guess.
more on
on cab.
cab,
You,
but
you hurt my feelings more on Kentucky.
that was brutal.
First tournament of the year, he was a little excited, huh?
Yeah,
With the foot pedal.
Oh,
he just
yeah.
wanted to get to him. You know,
I-
it was
same
it
thing
were-
on Kentucky.
Hey guys, wanted to share with you a sneaky little trick I found when I was at Thorne Bros the other day. This is a new Japanese bait that came out,
And this falls into the gravity trend category. You guys have maybe heard of a Depths cover scat or a Yamamoto Yamatanuki. These are weighted soft plastics that have proven to be very effective at catching bass, not only just in general, but especially pressured fish. Well, this new deal that just came over from Japan, Thorne Brothers got these in. It's called the AK Punch. It's made by Issei. And you'll kind of notice it looks a little funny. Looks like a scrotum, if you will, or some private parts. And they make two sizes here. I've got a 2.4 and a 2.8. Thorne Brothers has both of these on the shelves, and that's what I picked up. And rumors of a 3.3 inch coming out. But the big thing with this bait is it's completely different than the cover scat and Yamatanuki in terms of its action. So looking at a close-up, this is the 2.8 here. What you're going to see is it's got this voluptuous tail there that looks like a ball sack, and what that tail does is it actually vibrates when you pull it. So think of that weighted soft plastic having a nice erratic fall, and then when you pull it, it's going to vibrate your rod like a chatterbait. So you're putting a Ned rig size plastic into cover and generating reaction strikes from it. But looking at the Japanese and how they're rigging it over in Japan, something I wanted to share is they're adding a nail weight into the sack, and they're putting it right there just like that. So that's a 1/16 ounce nail weight you're going to put, you know, perpendicular in the scrotum there. And what that does is it's going to cause this bait to backslide, okay? And it's also going to increase that vibration when you pull it away from that fish. So if you think about it, you're able to skip that up under a dock. It's going to backslide pretty erratic. It's going to fish heavier than a cover scat. And then when you pull that, there's a fish behind it, you pull it away, and then it's going to fall right back into that fish. So if you're looking to pick up probably one of the sneakiest bite gettingest lures out there, Thorne Brothers just got these in. It's the AK Punch from Issei. Pick you up a 2.4 or a 2.8. Remember that nail weight trick, and then there's various hooks you can use. So right here we've got a screw lock hook, so that's actually going to tear up less plastic. So if you don't want that nose to tear on the bait as much, definitely recommend that Masayuki hook from Decoy. It'd be a 1/0 for the 2.4 and a 2/0 for the 2.8. Or else the KG worm from Decoy, you're going to go down in a size, so number 1 and then a 1/0. So the 2.4 versus the 2.8. So the 2.4, the baby size one, is designed to fish on spinning gear. So get you a Vocelka fishing in custom, you know, medium or medium light action, up to 12-pound test fluorocarbon on this one. And the 2.8, you know, you can fish on a lighter bait caster up to 16-pound fluorocarbon. So consider, you know, this your spinning rod version, this your bait casting rod version. And that rod I like for this bait casting version is going to be Vocelka Fishing and Customs MB736. So that's a lighter, medium, heavy 7-foot rod. So get you some of that, some 15-pound fluorocarbon, teabag you some bass this year. Pick you up the AK Punch from Thorne Brothers today, and don't tell nobody.
Such inconsistent waves though on cab. I feel like I am more surprised that we didn't like eat one on cab, because I feel like they were bigger. But yeah, it was, I mean, we saw Vexus slow down on Kentucky Lake, so that tells you she was a little bumpy. Yeah, it was a little bumpy, and definitely hey, you know, we washed the salt off your boat.
Yeah, you got every inch of it
all the
clean.
salt that we carried from Wisconsin to Minnesota down there, it came off day one.
That had to have been the biggest water I've driven in, easily.
But not ridden it.
At least it wasn't like
That's his
10
go-to.
degrees.
Yeah, it was still in the 30s or 40s. It wasn't
Yeah.
12 degrees. So when the
That
when
was
the,
definitely worse.
the splash
More
from the
dangerous.
lake hits you, it freezes to you immediately. Yeah, it's just what we do in Wisconsin. It's not
I don't know. I think the skinny guy right over here. I wouldn't mind riding with him in big water either. I think we got trapped out on Chequamegon that one time. And
Luckily, it was about 50 degrees that time.
it was
Not 50 degrees.
It was not. You guys were wearing.
It wasn't 12.
It wasn't 12.
Wasn't 12.
Yeah.
I mean, you
But-
guys were still busted my chops for wearing just a flannel.
Yeah, you were just.
But
you
I mean,
were
that,
underdressed.
I was totally comfortable.
He was well for him. He was dressed
Unbelievable.
perfectly. Apparently,
He's built
Yeah,
different.
I would say
I remember the first bass you caught that day, a long line and a jerkbait off the back
did.
with like sleeves rolled up. It's like 40 degrees and windy.
But that I will say that those previous couple of days before, I know it was a big warm spell beginning of
Closer
November.
to the mic. You need to be.
There you
You're
go.
gonna need to be closer to the mic when you talk.
no.
but
Just
act
pull-
like you guys are so
moving
open and get close to
or
each
else
other.
or else when you listen in your truck, you're gonna have to fucking turn it up and then turn it down.
Then
And
you're
I'm
gonna-
sorry
then you're gonna hear
for
my
all the
voice.
people who have to deal with that sometimes. But
Well-
that's why. That's all I'm saying.
You know, if it was me, I'd have 5 mics.
Well, we only have 4.
We're gonna put it. We're gonna put it in the budget for next year. He's gonna
Honestly,
we're-
yeah.
We're gonna sell a few more of these, and by we I mean you.
Teabag a few more bass.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have. Whole,
Hey, let's hold that up for the camera because I don't think we get to show lures enough.
Oh, there you go.
sometimes.
We're gonna have to blur it out.
yeah, I'll say, you're gonna get censored.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
then he
cuddling
takes
up
it
to you
away.
so I
Put
can
it over
closer
here
this
so I
to your
can play with
mic.
it.
Ball sack to the face.
Yeah.
Teabag. Make
different
teabagging bass great again.
Oh man.
2025.
It never even used
I was
to
gonna
be
say
great.
it's about to be the next big thing.
Well, maybe.
Better than hope. Campaigning on hope.
Yeah, nothing like. A lot of people fish derbies on that.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Some of my best derbies were built on that philosophy. Okay,
yeah, plans don't always work out great.
Yeah.
So we just
unburdened by what is said. I will fish today, unburdened by what has been. That was Johnston that day. You know, it's cold, but I'm not going to fish unburdened by what has been.
Yeah,
I'm going to long line this jerkbait out the back, and I'm going to get it down like 16
And he was
fucking
hoping.
feet. And I'm going to. Didn't you have a lake trout on and
Yeah.
lost it?
No, we caught a lake trout that day.
Long line and a jerk?
No, that was on Blade.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I made him.
We
put it
caught
in
like
his
a.
live well.
Was it a 5?
that
or
was that day with
4-pounder?
me, you, and Shark. That was my
Oh.
red. That was the red
Oh, that was
trade.
the red trade.
He
Shout
caught a
out, shout out
5
Shark at Marine General.
Yeah.
Sharky.
Kushida. My
Saruko
first-
Kushida.
My first Duluth bass partner. Awesome guy.
Yeah, Roger. First time ever fishing the bay was with Roger.
Yep. In the
his
bullpen.
Yeah.
Yep. No, but that fishy long line with the
Yeah,
jerkbait
yeah, yeah.
right away.
Plus 1 or 2, maybe.
It was a +1.
Plus
And
one.
then I swapped out the hook. So
That was like a 5-pounder though, wasn't it?
it was
close.
It was a big one. I mean,
Like
it was
4
big
3/4.
four,
right, something. Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool.
It was because I'm like, I mean, I fish out
Then
here
we
all the time.
proceeded
I'm
to
like,
just-
is not probably the best way to catch fish, but
And then
he
we
did
were
it
just
and we
riding
caught
in
one.
4
So
footers in the Vexy, and
yeah, 'cause remember it got flat
just
calm
look over
for a
and this
while that
man's
day.
nipples were just poking right out of his fucking shirt all day.
Right
and
through
he's
that
like,
vest.
That's a hook. And I do have to compliment most of you guys. I think I have to commend you. Most of you guys drive gangster ass boats, and then there's fucking Damien.
Oh, this guy. Yep.
Yeah, I got
fucking
the
love your
skeeter.
boat. I fucking love your boat. I fucking love your boat. What is wrong with you?
We're trying to upgrade in 2 years. Maybe it won't be a skeeter.
Price was right. I will say, Price
Yeah.
was right for the hours on that motor.
Yeah, I got a smoking deal on
Yes,
that boat.
he'll be able to sell that
For my-
boat for a good price, and
Yeah, for my
be able to
fir-
upgrade
for my
and feel
first
real good about
nice
it.
bass boat. Like I had a Gambler before, and everybody knows the Gambler deal. They break
Gambler
down.
woes.
Yeah, I idled around for a whole summer in that thing.
Hey,
Blew
there's
the
been-
motor up.
There's been careers made off of gamblers. It's a great starting point. Ask Noah Schultz.
Yeah,
dude.
yep, that's the guy I
Ask Noah
think
Schultz.
Yeah, I'll say no. I used to have one.
But getting into a little subject matter here.
Yeah, we've just
Dancing
been
a little
blapping
bit.
this whole time.
Hey, whatever. It's good to see you boys as always.
It's fishing talk.
By the way, this podcast is brought to us by 3rd Street Brew House, Cold Spring
Two-fisted.
Brewery that's been around for well over 100 years. And what do we got for samples here tonight? I've got a Minnesota Gold Light, very refreshing, if I don't say so myself.
It's a very
I got the micro peach. Is that what it's called?
Yep,
Yep, I got the same one.
Anybody who knows me knows how picky I am.
totally.
And it's good. It's good.
Watch him bring a
Totally.
bait.
I can
once.
drink it. Yeah.
So we got 2 Minnesota Gold Lights, 2 micro vaginas, and what do you got?
What is this? Is this one like kind of like a McGoldie or no?
yeah,
Sugar
yeah,
Shack?
you would like that
Yeah.
one.
All right.
Then we got a
I'll get
Sugar
into
Shack.
one of them later.
That Sugar Shack is made with maple syrup from St. John's, so locally sourced.
You got to be a veteran to drink that one. I was not
light.
It's not
light.
for not for
Speaking
skinny
of
little
which,
boys like me.
You guys, if you don't know who I'm sitting next to right now, this is Johnston Westmoreland, the Wichita lineman. He's the most fertile man north of the Mason-Dixon.
He's got stories to back it.
Yep. A friend to most men and a father to most children, as Joe Panessa would say. And I'm just wondering, like, have you made the correct adjustments based on your past life? Like, are you strictly just doing anal now?
Yeah, that or you just go without. I used to always joke with the guy I worked with because he's like, I'm getting older. I'd sell that thing to science for the right price.
I didn't donate it. I donated.
I didn't used to understand. Now I'm like, give me a
Fishing's
house
good
and a boat
enough.
and a truck.
Good demeanor. I mean,
Take
you're
that-
going to get good demeanor out of that whale.
Yeah, give me a boathouse and a truck that I don't have to pay for. You take that thing.
Kind of
right
docile, good personality.
Good tickers too. Genetically, our family has just wonderful hearts.
Yep.
Both like emotionally and it's the last thing to go on us. So
Honestly, like the globalists have a plan to depopulate the earth, and I think the only way to combat that
It's more
is through
Johnston's.
population.
More
population
Johnston's.
control.
You hold one of the strongest weapons to save humanity. You understand that? You hold that in your scrotum. Do you understand that?
Like I said, science could use it. I'll let science use it.
All right, so maybe not the subject matter we wanted to start with, but
Yeah,
beer,
what
but
we
the
just-
beer is pretty good. We have to admit.
The
It is.
beer is
Okay,
It's going down easy.
so what I want to know is we've got ourselves Team Trail Team of the Year here, which to me is a really tough feat against that field.
It's the hardest thing to do.
And then we've also got guys who took down Gull Lake, champions at Gull Lake. So I do want to mention how much respect I have for you guys as anglers and friends. And
Likewise.
I think there's a lot to be learned here. There's a lot of knowledge that's been proven in the pudding over the course of last season. So I want to congratulate you guys, like, on the record. It's a fucking awesome season. But
I
all
don't know
four
if
of
I-
you, there's so many people here, all four of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And starting with Johnston and Harrison, like, you guys are fresh fishing together.
Yeah, how about that first
Like,
year? Just-
first year fishing together, and you guys cash a check at Cab, and you just have this killer season. You don't miss. You didn't miss this year. and to me,
we missed. We
but,
missed.
well,
But it took a while. It took a while to miss.
well, I guess walk me through
Tonka will
what that
do
was
that
like,
to a
and
guy.
like, I guess to me, there's a lot of chemistry, things to be learned about. Some things that went right. Obviously, a lot for you guys this year. So.
I
It's a
would
lot
say-
to talk, not a lot to unpack there, and I'll get more specific. But
So, like, if we just start with Card, so I met Harrison fishing the up north trail. I just remember him showing up with his boat and rolling my eyes at Fish Lake. Probably because we're at Fish Lake for no other reason than that. I really just cannot tell you how much I don't like that lake.
Going
which
back
is-
for a stop again this year.
Yeah,
for
which
up
is
north.
which is odd because the guys that do well there literally throw a jig, and you'd think I would just fall in love with the place, and it just treats me cruelly on regular occasion. R.I.P. to one lower unit for sure. And and then after, I think we obviously busted up a little bit there, and then I remember when you were at the parking lot at Birch too.
Yeah.
Sleeping, we had to wait out a little rainstorm because it was just miserable. That lake's got like 7 fish, but it's weird you and Kobe caught them all, so
It's got big ones.
it's got giants.
Yeah.
It just, they don't like riding in Vexuses apparently. They just like riding Tritons and Lunds. But and then fun fishing and stuff like that, and it wound up being perfect. I mean, he's super open-minded. Good fisherman. We look at things different, and sometimes I think it really helps.
I mean, honestly, you guys couldn't be more opposite.
Yeah, we
almost. If
definitely
you were a
have-
big time extrovert, I'm not gonna say a big time introvert, but he's more introverted than.
how do you get a word? in?
He doesn't.
Yeah, Johnston just talks
Only when
at
I'm-
him from the front deck all day.
He talks more than you'd think when we're in the boat.
Right. Well, yeah. Right. We
What's
all
the most
we all
savage
fish with
shit
him.
he did this year that you've seen?
Got to
I
go
know.
pregnant from the front
Savage.
deck.
Yeah, like what the fuck are you doing? Like, I know there was a moment of like, what are you doing?
Like him asking me what I was.
No, you
to
like,
him.
what are you doing? Like
I don't know. Can you think
grabbing
of a
the
time
trolling motor?
Just pushed
yeah,
Harrison in the water. So he could,
Anybody who's fished with
like
me
you're
knows that,
mid scoping a
if-
fish and
if you-
he's just
if
on you and
Oh,
now you're not scoping
that
the
happened.
fish no more.
Yeah.
Both.
how
of
many
us.
times?
yeah.
How many times did he make a cast where he started on one side of you, but they wanted to get to the other side, and his little T-Rex arms tried to pass his rod in front of you?
He's bigger than you, so it's harder for me to get around him. You know, when I do it to you, it's much easier.
So you guys have different personalities.
Different fishing styles for sure.
Walk me through the fishing style thing because I know a little bit of his, but I guess where the fuck did you come from?
Poplar
Yeah,
represent.
dude, it's epic. It's
Well,
awesome, dude. It's
Hey,
awesome. And you earned
Don't
it.
we always tease you because that hat beat Easton in the
I'm
high
just
school
teasing you
league?
too, bud.
No, okay. I grew up fishing at high school tournaments. I fished against some good competition like Easton and Jake Panici, some of those kids. But
From what high school? Represent, man.
Northwestern High School.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
We both went to Northwestern. Maple, Wisconsin.
So it's like the Grand Rapids of
Well,
northwestern Wisconsin.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I'm saying for pumping out fish and talent.
well,
I'm trying to throw you a couple.
I
flowers.
wouldn't go that far either. Yeah, we'll take it. Sure.
There you
Yeah.
go, there
Yep.
you go.
Grand
Good
Rapids
answer,
of
good
northern
answer.
Wisconsin. Sure.
So northern Wisconsin,
Yep.
fishing against Easton, Panici's really good young anglers.
For sure. Mhm.
And I guess developing your style, I know kind of just Hayden and I know each other quite a bit, so I'm pretty familiar with his style, but I guess
Very
we're very similar.
learned a lot from him. I'd
Got
say
it.
over the past, past 3 years we've been fishing together a lot more.
Well, we grew up fishing together
Yeah.
a lot. Not to get too sidetracked, but yeah, our dads are like best friends.
Right.
So we grew up fishing together a lot from the bank and
Yep.
doing a lot of that.
Well, I remember your first boat. That
Yeah,
Triton,
I
the
remember.
white one. That thing's
Remember
sick.
going on a ride with you, and you're like, "Oh, I gotta go check this hump real quick to see what I was on."
Test
A
driving
test
it?
ride. We took a test ride.
We
Yep.
had fun.
Had a lot of like that boat.
It was a good boat.
Mm-hmm.
Triton. Yeah,
Triton
they
gang.
don't make them like that no more.
No.
They don't make them.
They do make better motors, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They do that for sure. Because I
use
blew
one.
up that
Yeah.
motor.
So
Yeah, if anybody's selling a
so
four-stroke,
as far
I'm
as your
cheap.
style goes, like Johnston loves him some power finesse angling, but like chatterbait jig, power fishing's kind of his style. Hayden more Nico spinning rod a little bit, but also not afraid to use a bait caster. I guess. What are some how would you define your style, Harrison?
Nico drop shot.
Okay.
Head rig.
More finesse angler?
For sure.
Got it.
Definitely comfortable with the spinner rod.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And how did that develop? Or I guess what drew you to those kind of techniques, or why do you feel like that's more in your comfort zone or confidence area versus a chatterbait or a spinner buggy or a buzz bait or a flipping stick?
I think just back home, that's just what I got bit on. And
Yeah.
all the lakes by us are more weed line lakes. That's kind of stuff I grew up on doing. I remember first year I got 360 on the boat. I just go along the weed lines. All I threw was drop shot or Nico. My
Yeah.
favorite way to catch them. Not my
Catches
favorite
them.
way, but it catches the most fish.
I'd say
Right.
catches them for sure.
Absolutely.
Right, it's just efficient. I mean, it's not efficient in the maintenance factor with the drop shot, but it's efficient in like getting down and getting bit.
Right.
Haul it in, fix it up, throw it back out.
So there's style as far as like technique goes, but then there's also
Yeah.
like, how do you approach water? Do you fish fast? Do you fish slow? Do you hunker down in area, or are you running around scanning, or you offshore? You can do that shit in 2 feet of water, 30 feet of water, I guess.
I think I'd say I'm more of an offshore fisherman, like rotating spots. I fish them slow, but I try to fish them fast enough where I can have time to be able to go back to them later in the day.
Sure. That makes
Probably.
sense.
Well, I'll definitely say, like, how many times during practice when we're like talking back, how many times do we rotate the same spot?
Oh my god.
I
The
feel
four of us, yes. I mean, two different teams.
Yeah.
The amount
Like,
of times
me and Damien like basically shake hands and hug during the day
Yeah.
at different times.
Multiple
Yeah.
times a day.
And then
We're bumping
you two
into
go to
each-
the same spots
Yeah.
at different times. At the end of the day, we like kind of half talk
Well-
about it before.
well,
you
yeah,
know it,
exactly, 'cause
we're
you're-
pulling out the phones like.
Yeah, well, no, we get back to we're kind of like, oh, dude, I found this spot that I'm super excited about. And you're like kind of like briefly describing, but you don't want to say too much. And you're just like, and then all of a sudden you say one thing that Johnston's like, wait, You wait. So what'd you say about that spot again? You kind of were like,
Like,
well, so there's like this rock and it's right next to the weeds, and he's like, what?
Hey guys, Aaron Teal here with Vocelka Fishing and Customs here, and excited to talk to you about my new signature series rod, the Puppet Master. My #1 confidence technique is by far offshore power finesse fishing, so we've spent a lot of time and a lot of years creating the perfect bottom contact power finesse rod, specifically designed to fish 3/8 to 3/4 ounce football jigs, tubes, swing heads, dragging a swim bait on the bottom, and any bait that you need to manipulate with your hand and land that fish. This rod is perfect for it. The big thing that we found that was an issue with other rods is they were either too crisp and sensitive, where they were too fast, or they weren't quite sensitive enough and they had the right action. So what Dane built with this rod is the most sensitive bottom contact rod I've ever held in my hands. But the big thing is, on a long cast, it's got the power to drive that hook home, but more importantly, it's got a parabolic action that's going to bend deep down in the rod to make sure that, let's say, football jig or goby tube isn't popping that smallmouth's mouth open and keeping that bait in the back of their head where it belongs, allowing you to have increased leverage and landing more bass. You're going to have to pry this rod from my cold dead hands. This is the Puppet Master. You can find it on VocelkaFishing.com or at Waypoint Angler Supply. Check them out.
Wait, was it like an inside turn? You're like, maybe, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, all right, I won't go to your spot if you don't go to my spot, so just show it to me so we know, and then we show it, and it's like, yeah, it's the same spot. Dang it!
Or it's like 4 feet apart.
Yeah,
well, we even did it on the river too.
yeah, there's that one
multiple
bridge.
times.
the
times.
one area
brutal.
on the river where that, and then that guy from that other tournament fished both the spot you
right-
guys
right
Yeah,
in
that
front
bar
of us.
turn.
and me and Harrison came right up next to him later in the day
Yep.
on a spot that you guys had found it during practice too, and it's just like,
Right, you just happen to find it. One guy finds it at 10 a.m. The next guy finds it at 1 p.m. and
that was
yeah.
pretty funny.
We think alike in a lot of ways, but we do a lot of things different. Same time.
Yeah.
catching fish, how it binds us together.
It
Binds
does.
us together.
Fun
There's
part
a
about-
lot of similarities and differences, I think, between every angler.
Oh, it's crazy.
And
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and it overlaps differently with each angler, and
Yeah.
it's interesting.
That's why I really do love fishing with like different people, because fishing with you out on the bay, like there's little nuggets that you can take from almost every time you fish with somebody who fishes different or the same. You know, years of fishing with Al. I mean, you can't put a price tag on some of the things that like that man could show you that if you just, like we were talking about earlier, he won't reel it up. He might shake it though, but he'll leave that son of a bitch there forever. I remember me and Rob and Al were all in the same boat one day, and Al just took it upon himself to be the shaker, like just cast out, pick the backlash out, and just not move this thing. And he caught by far the biggest fish of the day. And I mean, we wrecked him that day, but it was just, you know, the patience that he shows there. And then fishing with Joe and Robbie, like it's so fun to. They're both such good anglers, and like the way they look at things, they're just a little. Like there's little differences, and then I jump in the boat with him, and it just, you know, different, but sometimes we wind up with the same conclusion, just
Right,
with
we'll
a different
think
bait.
about a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
And,
And then,
or we'll start at different spots and then kind of like meet in the middle, and we like
Yep.
both
Yep.
are like, oh yeah, that is kind of the deal.
I mean, or you know that fall one we won out there. I mean, how long did you peel on those fish with a spin pole? While I was trying to force him. I mean, we'd already whacked him on the casting rod, but then he sits there for another 30 minutes while I'm just like, I am tired of netting fish.
right, it's a spinning rod. So
yeah,
anything
and then
that's
weighing
like,
them to see if they're
anything's
an ounce
over
bigger.
3 pounds, you're like, we better net it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And then, you know, going for that ounce or same with, I mean,
Let's talk about that moving the bait thing. Like we were talking about that inside earlier. That is interesting. And to me, probably doesn't get talked about enough is like you were talking about how much your bait moves, and elaborate on that like you're talking about inside, because I think you spoke of it pretty
So
eloquently.
it was, I mean, just watching, there's videos out there if you want to check of like how much you move your rod versus how much the bait moves. And you were talking about rod slack, and that's where we were going back and forth.
Or line slack.
Yeah, line
Yes.
slack
Big bow
or,
in your
or line
line.
bow.
Yep.
Line
Yep.
bow, which is a super huge
Overlooked thing.
And then I feel like, to tackle on top of that, like shaking fluorocarbon versus shaking braid. When you shake braid, it doesn't, unless it's taut, it doesn't do a lot. Or if you shake fluorocarbon, it can't help it because of the rigidity. It's going to move a little bit.
Vibrates.
Yep.
Like a guitar string.
It took me forever to learn. I understand why people like fluor, because I used to just strictly be just a braid dude. Like,
I love straight fluoro
And,
for that reason, for the bow and the twang.
and I was
I'm
saying
that
the
way because
shake-
of you.
I was saying the shake is so much better. And then, but if you're gonna move a bait, then maybe the braid to leader is better. I mean, obviously the FG knot has changed how I think all of us fish.
Still can't tie that thing.
When you grow up, you'll learn.
I know, someday.
When you're older.
Yeah, you got to get old like me, and then
For sure.
Then it'll click one day. It's all on how you hold it, because everybody holds it different. Like watching Seth's videos on it, and then watching somebody else's, and then watching that tool, the line holding tool. Like I couldn't use that if I tried.
I know there's 100 different ways to tie it.
But I think, like, you think about how far you're moving your lure. Like, back to that.
Yep. Sidetracked already.
When you're dragging something, like the length of your rod, like you could do the same drag with a 6.6, a 7-foot, and a 7.6 and move the same amount of time, and that extra tip is going to move that lure
Right. Yeah. You
that
think
much further.
you're using a 7.5-foot rod, and you think you're doing this much, but you're actually doing a lot more.
Right.
Versus if you just used a 7-foot rod or a 610.
So it works the
whatever.
same way on a hook set, right?
Yeah.
So that longer rod is going to pick up more line quicker on a sweep. So it's like, but I
Trying to
just
find
think a
that
lot
happy
of people
medium.
don't think about that. Like, if you're getting into bass fishing, if you're, I think that's something that was probably one of the most, like, drilled in my head things that I'm fortunate to have learned, like, at a young age, that probably made a bigger difference in my fishing than a lot of things that we talk about. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, yeah. It's super important with almost any bait that's not maybe a hard bait. I guess it depends on what hard bait you're talking about. But as far as stuff that you're moving on the bottom, yeah, that's one of the most overlooked things, and it's super important.
How often do you think we overwork our bait versus underwork our bait? And what would you
60%
say
of the time?
percentage is? Because
Maybe even more than
Maybe
that.
more,
than
yeah.
that, for
I think there's
sure.
times where fish are just biting. It don't matter.
Yeah.
They'd bite it whether it's sitting there or moving, but then there's times where it does matter, and I'd say there's probably times where we had a tough day of fishing when in reality if we just slowed down a little bit more,
Right.
it probably would have been a lot better.
Lost a lot of money.
and it's so hard to do that when, oh shit, we have 3 dinks and one decent one, and we don't even have a baby thug right now, and there's 2 hours left.
But the winning fish are right there.
And
by
you
your
just
bait.
need to freaking
And you just need to adjust
and
how
you
you're
just can't
doing-
get
using
yourself
it.
to do it. But what you need to do is, you've seen it, like, calm down, slow down.
And that's where I think we're
Calm
good,
down.
because like I'll fish super fast, and like in a tournament we both listen to each other and slow down when you have to, and try to do some different things. Like
Yeah, I feel like Damien moves at an even more torrid pace than I do.
and I'm just like trying to hit as many spots in a day to get.
I'll say watching you on
to
your
get a
trolling
bite.
motor is I legitly do. I think you
cover.
want to move.
Well, let's
a
settle
lot.
it right
Only light bulb moments
Damien
change that.
is a 6 to
You know what I
7
mean?
trolling motor guy. I'm a 3 to 4.
Yeah.
On my trolling motor.
I'm a Hayden.
6 to 7
Yeah.
almost always.
What are you, Johnson?
I'm like a 5 to 6. on
Yeah,
the trolling
yeah.
motor.
Harrison.
Unless you're
3 to
scoping.
4.
3 to
Yeah.
4.
Yeah,
3 to
I'll
4 is
say
where you need to be.
Unless
Harry
you're-
loves
unless
it
you're
on
scoping the
straight
open.
Maybe 4.
Yeah, unless you're
even.
scoping the open water, you got to get it closer to 6.
MLX, I bet I didn't have my trolling motor under 8 after
Oh,
the
I'd say
first
it.
day of practice.
I remember you talking
You had a
about that.
reason.
I just remember watching you.
You had a reason for that,
Yeah,
though.
Harrison called me. He's like, dude, you are fishing so fast. I'm like, I know what I'm looking for. Like, I got, you get the clues in practice, and you're like, run with it.
Right, you don't
That's
need
what
to.
I
You
did.
can go faster in practice because you don't need to.
You don't need to
You
hook
don't need to
them,
catch
catch
everything.
everything. Right.
Yeah,
I should be, but yeah.
that's what I try to. That's what's so nice about fishing with him is you get to. Well, we being that we both do the opposite, not opposite, but do different things. We get to kind of feed off of what each other does better.
I condition my fish and practice on Mille Lacs, just looking for fives. The amount of 4 3/4 that I
Right.
conditioned that I could have definitely
Used?
used.
Oh, for
Say
sure.
there's
I mean,
left
I-
in there. Did
I
you,
know,
Did
I
you
should've,
win
and-
practice like I did on Big Stone?
No, but I absolutely
Johnston on Big Stone.
like 50 fish a day.
Did he call himself out?
50 fish a
He
day
did.
between 4 and 4 3/4 looking for fives, and only a couple over five.
Ask Easton's dad.
Caught 2 or
Oh,
3
man.
over five, and I'd leave that entire area.
Right.
But I want to make sure they were there because I want to win. Need fives.
It's always a double-edged sword, and sometimes in tournaments you just gotta go with your gut. You know, like you can run 30 spots in a day. Well, after the 10th one, I hope you maybe change up a little bit, different baits, soak a bait. It's
I would guarantee that
all about decision making. You know, it's just like
100%.
what a lot of time I feel like it's your gut.
Well, how them boys, some of them boys caught them on Mille Lacs tournament day, makes me frustrated. I didn't. Yeah, I programmed myself, and
Yeah,
I,
that's
yeah,
kind of what we did.
golly,
I know,
it's
it
frustrating.
sucks because I mean, I don't know. Straight up, like the four of us here, like we room together and we talk about our days sometimes, and just like we were saying, and
Bounce ideas off without waiting.
right, exactly. So we kind of the four of us.
We've ever traded waypoints.
No, definitely not traded waypoints, but like we clue each other in on what's going on if someone's having a tougher time or whatever. But it just sucks because we were both doing the same thing during the tournament or during practice leading up to the tournament and in the tournament. We just moved way faster. I remember Harris and I were talking about it after the fact because they took second at Mille Lacs. We took, I think, 36th.
We bombed.
Terrible.
Lost by an ounce.
But we both felt
the
the
ounce
same
I'll
going
never
into the
forgive.
tournament.
Because what'd you guys weigh? We had
18 something, which is just
we had
I mean,
21 or something. Or?
is awful because we didn't have anything less than
Lacs shelled
22
them
each
out
day
that
of
tournament.
practice, you know?
They didn't start biting for us till afternoon.
But let me just finish what I was saying. So,
Sorry.
so like, no, you're good. So it just, what it came down to, Harris and I were talking, is like, I'm like, how many like areas, because it was kind of a zone thing. It wasn't like a boulder or a spot. I mean, some of the areas were.
It was definitely an area thing.
It was
For
an
what
area.
we were
Get
doing.
into the right zone.
Yeah, I would say I feel like it was.
So I'm like, what? I was trying to figure out what we did different than them, and we just, I think it came down to they hit like half a dozen spots. We hit a dozen. We were moving so fast, and it didn't help because we had that
That
big fog
fog
delay.
delay.
So we were cut down to a
Stressed
6.5
us out
hour
so
day,
bad.
boom, right away. So we already we
did
started
the same
out.
thing. Now that you mention it,
We felt under the gun right off the bat.
That was another tournament
We
where
just
storm
needed
blew
to-
in too. We had flat
Yeah.
calm, bluebird skies, all of practice.
Yeah, that
we
day
waste
before
our
the
patience
tournament.
on our
was-
deep fish in the morning, and
That's
for
what
a
we
half hour in the
yeah.
afternoon, and we kind of milk run besides that, but needed to pick up the tube, baby.
Another thing I think we did differently is I literally, if I saw a fish and I knew it was a bass, I casted that thing as many times as I could.
Yeah, and we
I-
kept practicing because
Yeah.
in practice we were moving quick. Like he
Yeah.
was just saying, he was
Wish I
moving on
could.
8.
And
Moving on 8, making
Right.
casts. If you catch every 10th fish that you saw on scope, and we were moving quick, so it was like, oh, good enough, you know. You know it's a bass. You're just trying to confirm that there's bass in your areas. And so we kind of just kept that same mentality during the tournament. We're like, we'll just keep moving fast to keep, you know, because we'll just stay efficient. Why waste your time on a fish that ain't going to bite? But it all of a sudden it's 2:30 and we're
yeah,
like,
it
holy
bit us.
shit, we only
We
got.
found that you couldn't sit there and make it bite once we they get too close to the boat, following
Right.
my
Well, it
stuff,
depended,
or
right? You
There
know,
was a
like
little-
some fish would, you know,
we'd
wouldn't,
screw up
but
all our spots. Like I feel like you got a crack at that fish, and it's more conditioned because you fucked with them in
right.
practice.
You do got to convert,
B,
you know, you got to.
I'm sure everybody will say this. These really pressured smallmouth, like the first cast is the one you kind of
Matters so
gotta
much.
catch them on. Like that's your
Important,
best
for
chance.
sure.
So important.
I think if they don't bite, you might have 2 to 3 casts.
Yeah.
If they bite,
And
Especially
follow though.
you better
pressured
get 'em.
smallmouth.
6-pounder was on the 6th cast.
Right. No, I
that
remember.
boulder.
Yep, I remember. Well, but that was right after. How long did we work that fish on that other boulder that I wound up losing?
I don't want to talk about that
Yeah,
fish.
I know. So we
That
pull
was
up on this
that was
spot.
the winning fish.
You had
pull up
second,
on-
right?
Yeah, by an ounce. We pulled up on this spot, and I think that was the second time we stopped there, and the fish just it reacted a couple
Yeah.
times, and finally we just both throw at it, and it just and like got her. That's it.
That's all. That's what you always feel with a spinning rod. I feel.
Right. Well, and I wasn't
coming
like,
to the
putting
boat.
a bunch of pressure on or
Unless
anything.
they break
he,
off.
he literally just starts walking back to the net because at that point I don't think we had lost a fish that we had hooked.
No.
And it just, I mean, it's pulling hard, but not hard enough. And then it just no jump, no anything, just
pulled off.
Oh dear.
and I was just, my heart like sank. And because it was the second time we had approached that fish, I'm like, it's you're done.
Right. Yeah.
You're not only are you busted, but you just moved it.
I think that was before both our bigger ones. Before
It was.
6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the very next spot you said, well, now where are we gonna go? And I'm like, oh, I saw a really big one right over here.
Was one of those the big boulder you found last day of practice?
Last day of practice. That's where he
that
lost.
giant
that one.
one?
That's
Yeah.
where he lost.
That's
one.
where I.
Sure.
It was a big one.
That boulder.
Had
It's a
him.
good looking. It was a
And
good looking.
I-
Had grass around it.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
cool.
We fished that same area, and he told me he found it. I didn't look, but if you look on the map and where he was describing, it was perfect. It was
Right.
little deeper,
like I
still
said, it
grass.
only
There's
happened
grass all
year
over in
long,
that
so-
area.
And then we move over and he works on his fish for he's making. I'm just whipping the hair because there's moments where it's one guy's working a fish, you don't need two guys working.
Right.
A fish.
Yeah. Well, I think it hurts you if you got two guys bombing
It can.
baits
Yeah,
at them.
yeah, I'll say there's moments where it probably definitely.
If you got a multiple fish, it's one thing to have two baits falling down to them. But if you
What about how hard those fish fought?
Well, it's because they're
those things
Dude,
pull
that was
they're
so
thick
much.
like me and you, not thin like
Insane.
these
Bro, God, practice was so fun.
Oh,
Do you,
man.
do you
Relax
remember
and
the
fire this
spot
year.
we drove by you on tournament day?
South End.
Yes.
Yeah.
How? I don't think I ever got to fully talk to you about that. How many do you catch off that spot in practice? Because that's
Which one?
Because was it Torch tournament
that
day? He
deeper
caught them
one.
all, or
no,
what?
it was a
two. The deeper one.
yeah.
a lot.
Well, we never even got a chance
there
to
are-
fish
There are
it.
so many
And-
there.
Every cat.
Okay, you didn't. And yeah, and
Reem.
Way to hurt his feelings.
Jabbar. Like,
I wanted to fish that tournament day, but
No.
the only time we were over,
hurt his feelings. Fuck you. You hurt my feelings. You guys whooped our ass tournament day.
that spot.
I wish I would have hooked any and just pulled
So-
up there and done that.
Right.
Because
Hindsight, I wish we would have caught more in practice.
It would have been. You would have more fun.
We had a
It would have been
brutal
24
tournament.
pounds between where you saw me there and where you guys saw us tournament day.
Oh, well,
Sneaky.
you were out and we were
Sneaky.
in.
Yeah.
I broke off of
Yeah.
I seen it on scope and I
caught
caught a
five
five
and a
there in
half.
practice.
I caught a 5.5 inside, up shallow there. Yeah, I wasn't using that, but
No, I broke it off tournament day.
oh, that's right, I did.
No.
I remember you saying that.
Bit right away.
The spot we saw you on, I think, was a timing deal for sure. Because I hit it when I found it, I hit it, and I could see there was no fish on it. Had nothing following me. And that was the only time I fished it till the last day of practice, right before I went in. I stopped there right before I went in there, and I caught three casts in a row. They're all 4 pounds, and there's bigger ones with them. And that spot had them.
So that's the spot I didn't. That's my favorite pre-spawn spot.
I was wondering how good that'd be in the
Thank God
spring.
I work right next to that lake.
And what?
I work a mile from the lake.
Are we talking
So-
about?
So
No, I know, but I'm trying to not say the
so I
spot
took James
without-
there this spring and we
I want to know
caught
the
him
spot without
like
saying the
early,
spot.
early.
We'll go in the spring.
And then
Yeah.
Classic
We'll go
Bass
in the
Champs
spring.
Tour had the pro-am out there. I didn't even practice that end because I was practicing for the wind. Had a pretty tough day. Lost some bedfish, broke a fish off. Having a horseshit day, and have like a half hour left. Run down to the south end, just run to that spot, just out of desperation.
Yeah, I know where this
And James is sitting on it, and I'm like, God damn it! And I pull up, and I'm like, James. He's like, oh, did you take me here? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, I thought you took me on to that one over there. I was like, I don't care, dude. Like, I'm fucking struggling. Is there a bass here? He's like, yeah, dude, they're everywhere. I've been sitting here for an hour and I
Oh
can't
my-
catch one. He couldn't catch one. He's the best sight fisherman I know.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, fucking move over. And every 3 casts, I catch one 4+ pounds on this.
Really?
And I am not a better sight fisherman than James.
No,
But I made him look silly.
that's Shaw
And
Grigsby
it wasn't
of
me.
the team
I'm
trail.
just saying, like, it went down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
I don't know if I'm not a better fluke fisherman than James either. He
James is
Just overall,
deadly.
just I mean, anytime
So,
smallmouth.
no
are in play,
disrespect with what
but
I was
like
just
shallow
saying.
smallmouth,
Yeah.
dude. Oh man.
If they're shallow,
So-
he's a player.
Or if it's a grinder, dude. Remember Big Sandy?
So I hate that I showed him that that day.
or if James shows up late,
Yeah.
missing some
You could be in
clothing,
trouble.
you're all in trouble. He's going for the dub.
Whether he knows it or not.
Beer?
That one's full on good.
But I don't know.
But you can grab one for on the tap.
I will. Yeah, I'll take another one, Teal.
I'm good.
I don't think we got to tell anybody our heart wrenching catch of the day over by Bart
Yes.
on a public forum.
I think you
but-
should tell everybody how you caught him on the wax too while I'm grabbing these beers.
I mean-
both of you. Spill the beans.
I got-
All right,
a
we'll spill the beans.
You're all overthinking
Yeah,
it.
way over.
Big time.
Yeah, I'd say.
All doing the same exact thing.
Way
But,
overthinking
so
it.
we pull up and we can see Bart across the way, and it's a pretty common
be right
spot
back.
that we're fishing. And sure enough, he catches one, trying to call it for him. Being the supportive partner that I am, I have the exact damn thing tied on because we have it tied on.
Is
3
this
times.
still Mille Lacs?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so I hand him a Vocelka custom with a twin power, because But,
They're back heavy.
yeah, they are very back heavy. But I mean, oh man, I hand him the rod. And it's by far like my favorite. If you're gonna land if you told me $100,000, $1 million, whatever, if I have to hook a fish and they have to get into the boat, that is the rod I'm gonna use.
What rod that? I missed it.
It's a 7.2. It's a North Fork blank, but it's just. I mean, you can ask Harry. It's just got the right action to just load up on him and keep him. And so I hand him my rod. I call real quick.
Which rod
And
is this? Sorry.
It's a 7.2 that Dane built me. It's a spinning rod. It's
The spinning
blank.
pole?
Yeah, it's a it's a North Fork blank 7.2. It's like
a custom
medium
beauty from Vocelka.
light. Yeah, it's,
Okay.
yeah.
I think, yeah.
I'm
it's-
sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
And so I handed it up to Harrison. Harrison.
This was
Yeah,
was
so-
it after I already caught one? And
Yeah,
you were,
yeah, no,
you were-
it was literally. I called that one when. He
Oh yeah,
hooked that
gotcha.
one. So luckily the net's out. And
Yeah.
He hooks it, and you can tell it's a good one that we need. And we're sitting there fighting it right in front of the boat. Kneel down, go to net it, and he's got this fish hog-tied. Right, it must have barrel rolled once when he got it, so it's under its fin. And as soon as it gets close to the boat, it decides it no longer wants to be hog-tied, and rolls over. And now she's mad. She's a little upset. She starts yanking some drag, comes close, but I'm like, oh, God, she's right here. I'm going to just net her. Put the net down, full head of steam,
Dive bomb.
and just blew through the net.
Okay,
just blasted through the net.
I will admit my net was pretty janky. It was already tied together.
I'll take half the blame because I think the walleye I caught earlier in the day, I bet you
Oh,
that,
it definitely
I bet you
cut
that
it.
gill cut
It
that
definitely because it was already sticking its head.
Was
Right.
it one of the
Yeah.
rubber,
Yeah.
kind of like a rubber?
Yep.
net. Yeah. And so it blasts through the net.
Goes
and
under-
then I scream because I don't know what else to do. So I vocally,
There was a walleye fisherman
Nothing
next to
else
us.
to do.
Can you emulate the scream?
I can't. It was
It
was-
just imagine sheer panic.
Was it like
Yeah, no, that was
Yeah, that's exact.
no, but it was more like no, it was like no, it was like that.
Yeah.
And then this thing somehow decided. I mean, not only does it blast through the net, but then it goes between the trolling motor and the 360, and we're like
Battling.
So first thing I do is not. I hit the cancel button for the spot lock because the last thing we need is that thing to turn and just hack the line. And then I'm
we coulda
using the
used
net
that.
to push the line around the 360 and the trolling motor.
sounds chaotic?
Oh, it was.
Oh my god.
It was so bad.
I
And
swear
then-
I almost had a heart attack.
And then he finally gets her close. And I'm like, I don't know what to do, like, because you can't net it. It's just gonna fall back through the net. But she
Yeah,
came
now
close
it's,
to the
like,
net,
hooped
and I
through the
just
net.
spun it around, and it trapped her. And I just yanked the whole net, and it sat down on the floor. And
Wow.
then you're sitting there, you can't function.
we
You're
we
shaking.
literally sat there for a few minutes, like
Yeah.
probably 5 minutes. I
How
don't.
big
probably-
was that one again?
This was not
wasn't
even.
even a-
It wasn't
yeah, it was
even
like-
the
it was like
6
our
or
mid-
5. It was like a
High four.
4 and
Yeah, it was-
3/4.
Yeah, it was like
but
a
it,
high four, but it was just
at this
yeah.
point we needed it.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp.
Mental health is a strong issue in today's society, especially if you're a bass fisherman with a janky-ass net. Use BetterHelp today. Look out for your mental health and your tournament partner.
But
Carry on.
That fish called out. I mean, that was over a pound cull, so we really needed that fish. And oh man, you know, me and Rob had a similar incident. I think I described in the other podcast. Same thing where it was a net debacle with a ladder involved and
A
same
ladder?
thing.
What?
A dock ladder.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
Illegal.
it
Unless
just-
the boat safety ladder for the boat.
right. No, it was a ladder attached to somebody's dock.
Okay.
But I
Interesting.
just same exact feeling where like we're both sitting there. And the hook was solid in the fish's mouth, so that was nice. But we're trying to re-rig at this point because we have 2 rods down, and you can just see that the shaking hand. I'm like, oh, we're just gonna take a minute. We're just gonna take a minute here. Put it in the box. Luckily, the other one was easy to find. Just took it out, called it, and just sat there. And I don't think it was actually 5 minutes, but I bet you it was a couple minutes of
few,
just,
for
yeah,
sure.
just of
What was your pattern?
mid-depth fish.
Mid to shallow.
Yeah.
So
It's a great fucking pattern.
Yeah.
I
you
mean,
fish in the mid to shallow.
Well, it was just,
Yeah.
honestly, it was
It's kind of my favorite pattern.
We were all doing the same thing. I almost don't want any of us to say it because
Well,
it's
it's
so
so stupid.
simple.
It's
It was
so
so
simple.
simple that like nobody will. I don't
random.
think
I feel like
it
I mean,
was
I
go
don't
to
think
Mille Lacs like you've never been to Mille Lacs
Yes.
before and fish.
I
so
don't
like we
think
might
it's
be
random.
outing
Same
it by
thing the
saying
pro.
that,
I
but,
mean,
like
the pro
it's
am got one the same way.
yeah,
I
it
don't-
was just like right in front of
I
your
think
face.
you could
and it
go
was like
do
you
this
just
there
tried
whenever-
it, and it was like,
all the
oh
time.
wow, this worked.
I bet
If
you-
you're
I bet you
thinking,
find
you're
a
thinking
bait
too hard.
that depth
Yeah.
range.
That's where
That's
they are.
kinda where it
That's
was.
where they are.
I think it was the right time. They were
Right.
still a bunch of them up there,
Yeah.
They're eating though.
but you could definitely do that all summer long. But there's
think so.
definitely more of them at the time we were there.
Yeah.
Up.
Did you guys notice
Everybody's bite got fucked though. Like the amount of people that
The deep bite was
Like-
trash.
the last
they got
day
one
the
that
people
way,
that pulled in was
partially.
crazy.
I believe
Right,
Those
that.
they
guys-
know
you
the
said they
lake
had
like
no- they
nobody
knew where
else
they're going.
does.
the
So
difference
they had
between
so much better
Bliss
milk
and
run.
Barrett. Well, and I think they know they're fucking hammers on Mille Lacs.
Right,
Like,
they
they
know
know
favorite
not to
place to
fuck with their
fish.
fish.
Right.
Like I don't think they fucked
Right.
with their deep fish.
I know. I did hear him say that at weigh-in.
And
I
I
wouldn't-
fucked with my deep fish.
I don't think there were.
I only caught one. Fuck. I made one cast.
So
Caught 6.
Right.
I was like, oh my god,
We're-
they're here.
where we caught or
Way smarter than
when
we used
where
to be.
Harrison caught his PB in that 6. Me and Riley were like across from each other, and I had everything I could in my heart to not say like we were pre-fishing, and we were having a conversation when I saw it swim out, and I was just like, oh. And then thank God a little one just the hair jig, and I'm like, oh yeah, oh.
Haha, little ones here.
I think it really helped that that was basically my first time there. I'd spent maybe one other time when I was like a freshman or sophomore in high school, but I think being there for the first time and just like because we fished literally obvious stuff that everyone fishes, just I don't know.
Slightly different approach.
Yeah,
than
for
most
sure.
people
I've been to
maybe.
Mille Lacs before, but a lot of these 2 seasons on Team Trail have been all relatively new lakes to me, and like you're saying, I think that's a huge thing. Like you go in there
that.
open-minded, you fish your style, you fish how you want to. You know, there's a lot to be said about that.
But I mean, looking at that tournament, the mid to shallow pattern was really going down. But
Well,
like
I
to be
feel like
honest with you,
there was more fish there.
there was a weightless
Definitely.
there was a weightless deal and a strolling deal going in practice
Yep.
for me. And then talking to some guys, there was a chatterbait
Yeah,
deal
no,
going
there was
that
a
definitely
bunch of
died
things,
for some
actually.
How did I
guys.
miss that?
So
Yeah, it's crazy.
I
that
think
you missed
Duno
that.
said that he had something going really good in practice
He
doing
did.
that. They showed up tournament day, just got pike.
loser. I have my fuck pike hat in the truck. Should I get it? Anyone
Do
want
you-
to wear a fuck pike hat?
I mean,
So-
we could set it on the table for sure.
Yeah, we all agree.
The
With
strolling
those-
deal is definitely
was going.
Oh yeah,
In
big time.
practice.
Big time. Like
And
that's all I caught my fish on for the first couple days practice.
That's what I caught. on
It
my
didn't
first
go
day.
till the last 2 hours. We
Yeah.
did not catch all day
yeah.
doing it until the last 2 hours.
There's
the
some
weightless thing was the only thing.
and
we were
keeping
getting
your bait
bites
in
on.
front of them was the most important thing.
Yeah.
In
I got-
practice, I think catching like a small swim bait effed them in practice too.
That doesn't suck.
Hashtag raid the
So,
barrel, baby one.
Those
right.
Okay.
a lot of
Little
those
waypoint
fish
sneak.
were were
He
shallow.
doesn't
Did
have
you
to
guys
know,
notice
he's
the
sold out.
algae
It's sold
algae
out,
bloom
yeah.
that was going on? Like, do you
It was
think
darting for sure.
do you think that had anything to do with them being shallow? To
I
you
heard
know,
I think
talk
they're
8-inch
all
feet.
slow
I think
spawners.
there's enough food.
There's always going to be smallies shallow, but there was a lot of them.
Sun was out most of the time.
0
too,
to
I think
8
it helped.
feet.
I think there's less crawfish in that lake because usually by the time we were there,
As anglers, we develop special bonds with our equipment. There's something magical when you find that perfect jig rod and reel combo for a technique that elevates your confidence on the water. Whether it's a perfectly balanced, crisp, and sensitive jig rod that gives you the highest level of control over your bait, allows you to feel every grain of sand, every bite, and allows you to drive that hook clean, or a rod with the perfect action and taper that seems to keep your chatterbait, swim bait, or whatever it is in the back of the bass's head where it belongs no matter where you throw it, or a rod that allows you to effortlessly cast a lighter bait you used to cuss at on your old combo. These types of magical bonds are rare to find in a mass-produced sweatshop, which is why Vocelka Fishing and Customs came to existence, with the sole purpose of bringing you closer to your passion by enhancing the bond with you, your rod, and the bass. Confidence is everything in bass fishing, and there's no bigger boner buster than losing a big fish, not feeling like you can present your bait correctly. The list goes on and on. Mr. Vocelka is a full-blown artesian craftsman who can build you the perfect rod, no matter the size or action, custom, exactly the way you want it. He also has a wide variety to choose from right on his website, including fan favorites like the 8-foot hair jig rod, the drop shot rod, swim bait rod, the chatter chicken rod, the MH workhorse, and more. Even ice fishing. You do the whole frozen Swiss cheese thing, the ice fishing. Seen grumpy old men? Well, you can send that jiggle stick back to the antique store because Mr. Vocelka builds custom ice rods in all sizes and actions too. So head on over to his website, vocelkafishing.com. That's VOCELKA fishing.com to enhance your confidence on the water, feel your passion, and catch more bass, baby.
that deep craw deal is more, and like that deep deal is more, like it just seemed like there was like there's more minnows in the lake, and there's more stuff keeping those fish shallow for whatever reason than it seemed like there used to be. But I'm not the one to ask. Like there's guys who are a hell of a lot better out there than me, so I should I speak with caution there for sure. I need to be out there more. That lake showed out this year.
place
Like,
went
it has 'em.
crazy.
you
it is-
talk about your fish.
Yeah.
It is insane.
You had a fucking
think
bag.
I think I went 3 times this fall. You've seen all this stuff on social media. Everybody was catching 27 to 29 pound bags, it seemed like.
Oh yeah.
And I was, every week I'd look at the weather. You'd look for a wind that's like 0 to 7. Cause
Work a mile away. I never got to ride in Skeeter.
it balks when it gets out there. But yeah, I just went out there, put the scope down, fish. I was fishing how I like. Zoom it around in that 12 to 24 the first day I was out there, and then the second day I went back and I plugged it in the Tullibee were spawning, and I was starting out in that deeper stuff, and then that morning I slid in, and that all the fish were shallow in like 42-degree water. They were in like 6 to 10 foot most of the time.
I mean, that's the Tullibee spawn windows, 40 to 45.
Yeah.
45
There was-
full moons when it
There
starts.
was very few fish deeper than 16 feet that day I caught the 7.
You think about the biggest fish that live in Mille Lacs, I guarantee you don't probably see that fish very often most of the summer.
Everybody's
And
going up to eat.
yeah, Cisco fucking eater, baby.
That was it was because you'd see on the scope up in like 8 feet of water, you'd see like balls of bait, and you could tell they're like not bass, but they got a big return on them. And all of a sudden you'd see behind the bottom crawling, and then they'd start moving pretty fast, and all of a sudden you'd throw your minnow up there, and they'd raise up. And I'm sure
Give us a hook set. There it is.
I'm sure a lot of people were shaking a minnow out there this fall, but
Do
man,
people stroll in Minnesota?
I'll be honest. It seemed like they never seen it
crazy.
before when I fished Mille Lacs this year.
They were so
I don't
down
think,
to it.
That's
I
what
don't think
Bart
you
was saying
mentioned-
because he fucked him up on a jerk shed and just whacked him.
It was like they never seen it before in their life. And then tournament day, it was like, man, we've been seeing this shit all week.
Yeah, that's
fuck
about
you
it
too.
too.
Yeah.
About Damien's fish though, he didn't say how big it was. I don't think.
7-2 was the
7 yonder.
final tally
For
there.
those at home
Hey.
that were really curious there.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I do have to mention this. These cans are limited edition cans, 150-year anniversary cans for the 3rd Street Minnesota Gold Lager.
These are
So
pretty tasty.
with the loon on it, and yeah, I'm just gonna read the can quick. We are Minnesota, land of 10,000 lakes. If we've got anything up here, it's water, and we like our water. But more than that, we like to see our water put to good use. That's why our brewers made Minnesota Gold, to see real Minnesota water brewed into a classic, premium quality lager.
Can he
So
just
please,
narrate tournaments and
Go
that
ahead
voice?
and crack
That'd be
open a
nice.
can. Here in your hands is a clean taste of Minnesota. From us to you, boys.
Cheers.
Come on, Harry, get the chicken nugget over.
Hey,
here.
Real
here's
quick for the
Damien
record though.
7-2 and 150 years of brewing fine beer in Cold Spring, Minnesota, ladies and gentlemen. Hell yeah. It's a fucking magnum. I did not have a great year for big fish, so that is epic.
Me either. And I fished with him all the time.
Yeah.
He hogged them all.
I had to wait a few years though.
Yeah, he netted a couple of my
I put my
biggest fish.
put
so.
my time in chasing one of those.
Didn't-
Not so much a
didn't-
7, but
Didn't you catch a
6s.
30-pound bag this spring too, being another big fish hog?
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
dude. This
What jig head and what minnow did you catch it on?
the 30-pound bag, all 4 of them on a smeltinator and a spark shad. Shout out Northland. That's hands down the best
Swimbait head.
finesse swimbait head. You're just
Cold water.
cold water.
Yeah.
They got
How
they got
nice of
hook,
them
they got
boys,
all the
too.
hook sizes you want.
How nice are what? The private equity group?
Well, no, I'm
just
kidding.
Charlie and Jace,
Yeah,
love
say
you
Charlie,
boys.
Charlie and Jace are just.
Shout out Charlie and Jace.
Yeah, say
Chuck.
I had asked him.
Charlie.
I had asked him during Mille Lacs if.
Boys are
oh
hammers.
man, could I?
Quiet
For sure.
Quiet
You know,
hammer.
jokingly asked if I
Sneaky
could
up
borrow a
catcher.
couple hair jigs, but I actually desperately needed a couple hair jigs because I beated a few of them up on the lake.
And he wasn't
Free
getting
fishing.
any of mine.
I'll
Yeah,
bet you
yeah, and
a
I
few
wasn't
of your
getting any
head
either.
jigs up. I
And-
need a few more.
If you guys
And they were so nice to like just come over to the boat after weighing and just give me a handful. And then on Gull too, when we tied for big fish, instead of dividing the prize, those guys just were like, well, they both got big fish, and they gave us each the same prize, which was, I mean,
Wait, you weren't supposed to say that. Only you guys got that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know how.
well, I mean,
Should've.
in
Ours
you-
was smaller.
I would say in
so-
your eyes, ours was brown, so it counts more.
it does.
But-
So
I will
shallow
say I'll make
pattern.
that happen.
It was a stolen, weightless deal.
Yep.
Shallow boulders.
With or without weeds. I mean, some of them were just off of structure. Just
Wait, are we
being
back to Mille Lacs
small.
Back
now?
to my lats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Didn't-
Why did we skip cab? Oh. I don't know how many times I tell him I'm not a lineman.
It wouldn't be. Really? You quit?
No, I'm not a lineman. I'm a line clearance arborist.
That's the
But
same
you're a
thing to
lineman.
everybody else. Yeah,
But
you're a
but
lineman
still,
to everybody.
Every time I hear
else.
this song, I just think of Aaron. So, and I'm guessing
And every
it's
time
the
he
same.
hears the song, he thinks
Yeah, I'm
of
saying.
you.
I have like 30 seconds before they get me for copyright.
Yeah, yeah. I walk into the house today, that's what's playing, and then I snap a picture to the wife of Teal. Just he looks excited like a kid that's never hasn't seen his favorite uncle in forever.
That's how it felt.
Uncle
Yeah,
Johnston.
Yep. That's how it
I'm
felt.
sure Katie loved the picture. I mean, she loves him to death, and it just like you have this like shocked, smiled look on your face where it's so happy.
I sexy danced at your wedding down the aisle.
There's never been a
Okay.
flower
boy.
man doing better.
I did that for you guys, okay? I did that for you guys.
Like, the most epic flower man that has ever.
I was a flower man in your fucking wedding. You fuck.
Yeah.
God damn it, Katie.
Andy took me bass fishing the morning of my wedding, which
Do you know what
that's
Katie made me
gangster.
dance down the aisle to? Stroke Me. The song, it's called Stroke Me
Billy Idol.
by Billy. Nope, not Billy Idol.
Squire.
Billy
Squire.
Billy Squire.
Yep.
Squire.
So
She's setting you up for legendary status.
I got to be
once you put
honest.
That one on.
The thrusts were powerful
wedding?
going down that aisle.
No,
but it still wasn't enough for Johnston's sister.
The flipping of the drinks too was just priceless, and then the confetti. The photographer wasn't ready for the flare.
I got to be honest. It was one of my better performances.
It was legendary. Like, anybody wants to see it, just go scroll back on the book, and I made sure I shared it. My cousin actually took the video, and it was legendary.
No, I
can never thank him enough.
Those services are available. You can message me on Instagram for rates and fees. It's gonna cost you.
Worth every penny.
Worth every penny. Yep. You ain't seen a skinny man thrust like this down the aisle. It's a beautiful thing. Oh. It's a beautiful thing. If you're into that sort of thing, you know. But
hold on, wait. Now I think we've skipped over cab though. Can we backtrack?
Wait, were we
whooped your
trying
butt.
to go
I
in some
whooped your
kind of
ass
order?
on cab. I whooped all of your asses on cab, so I don't want to know nothing.
That's what
I want to know that river sneak. That's the one we skipped over.
I don't know if we can talk
I want
about
to know
that
how
one.
you patterned and bass on the river, because I thought that was cool.
Peanuts.
I mean, it was. Yeah, I would say. Yes, I would say the fact that you say you don't when I showed you in the parking lot.
You caught him on a little fucking chode wiggler.
A chode wiggler.
It didn't have to
top
be
water,
that.
basically.
You could throw anything on top. And
Peanut.
But they
Yeah,
like that. But
hashtag
that could.
peanut.
But could you throw 777 through some shit? No. You
weren't
can't throw
throwing-
777 through some shit.
The biggest fish I caught in practice, and I guess the biggest fish I caught tournament day too, were on peanuts. So, but and it was our biggest smallie. You know, our two biggest smallies though, on another side quest. How many times this year? And I think that's really the difference between like having one of those years like we were lucky enough to have. Did we do like a small thing, like a spot we didn't fish? Like on cab, it was. You drove to the wrong buoy, but then we looked over and like, oh, that looks.
It looks good.
Yeah, it looks
Looks
like we were
good.
catching them on. Boom! Literally called a fish that got us a check. On the river, we caught two fish that day. The one where the current flipped back and forth, and then we
Yep.
caught our second biggest smallie.
Yep.
And then the luck of us landing that largie that you caught because we just when they came up, they were just.
They were
And so we both whipped, and it just blasts his topwater lure, and then runs head first into mine. And I'm like, I know it wasn't trying to eat it. It just we threw that close to it, and by we I mean I threw that close to where he landed.
He does that.
Yeah,
Right after the arm wrap around.
Yeah,
He doesn't-
exactly.
He doesn't look at scope. He just looks at
I was
where you
trying to go to
cast
the right
it,
again.
and then lands right where you
He'll
did.
see. I'll look at.
I thought I was going to land on your right.
No. So and this fish coming to the boat, and I'm trying not to put any pressure, just make sure my stuff's not in his way, and then net this thing. But then a few minutes after that, we're standing there, and all of a sudden we're like, current switch, and we don't know what caught. Was it maybe the barge? I
There
don't
was
know.
a barge that drove through, but I don't know enough.
I would say I don't, but it
Something
switched.
happened.
Something did
something
happen.
happened.
Something happened.
And we looked over. I'm like, just throw over
The
there.
seam was gone,
Yep.
and the current literally was coming from the opposite direction it was supposed to be going.
Really?
Yes.
First cast.
So what? Okay, so you're throwing at the seam, right?
Yep.
Throwing at the seam. All of a sudden, seam's like, where'd the seam go?
It was
And then
gone.
all of a sudden, you're like, what'd you fucking?
30 feet down the bank, 30
Go straight
feet down
back?
the bank, I saw where there was you could see where it was twisted. And I'm like, throw over there. He throws top water there. Douche right away. I mean, just blasts it. And then later on in the day, same thing. We were like, oh, we should probably get closer to the weigh-in. Let's just because it was coming back was a little bumpy, and then plus running. I don't know. I'm just always nervous running around that river because there was so much floaters. I mean, we drove by a tree
Water
stump.
was so
Yeah.
high.
Yeah, log.
Where
Talk
we
about
at?
the one you almost smoked on the way there.
So we're driving through this thunderstorm, and he's like peeking at me like this while I'm just getting blasted.
And then I'm
with
hitting
rain.
him. I'm like,
Yeah, he's like, yeah. He looks up for a second. He's like,
do you see?
tree. I'm like, I see it.
Tree.
Last second turns all the way.
I didn't.
The Vexus is nimble. The Vexus is quick.
I just leaned
The
out.
Vexus might even be able to jump over a candlestick, but
I was waiting for it.
I would not recommend trying.
You know a guy who might try it though.
Vexus be nimble.
But,
Vexus be quick.
Nice
Late-
of the
late-
rain to start right in the morning before takeoff for that one.
I'm glad I wasn't driving.
That hurts so bad. That hurts so bad to drive. I mean, I just pinned her, and there was. I looked at him like for reassurance a couple times, and he's like, I'm like, do we turn off?
We had
Do
nowhere
we
else to
turn off?
go.
You were in the Vexus too, right?
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
The Harrison
Well,
having trim issues. with his mower
I
right
would say
there.
that the Triton has betrayed us more than one time.
He's like
It's
John
not the
Cox.
Triton,
You're
it's the
poster
Mercury.
child for the Vexus of the North. Like,
I'm just excited that you
Cox
guys
is running
signed.
one now.
One of my favorite conversations with John Cox at the Northwest Sports Show. He
didn't even
Robbie
think you
calls
were
me-
crazy.
No, he loved me. Like,
I
Robbie
believe it. I believe
walked
it.
by us and he's like, "You two look like
Your brothers.
yeah, like you guys are fucking related."
Yes, you do.
And I would
He's a little better fisherman than you are.
fair enough, but I would love to like sit in and there's always people like you'd like to fish with, and there's people that you would just sit down and hold court and drink beers
God.
with, and he's one of those guys for sure.
I mean-
A genuinely just like
I'd hold his beer for him. Like, I would.
hold his beer for him,
Like,
hold his
can I
tackle
get-
box. I'd hold all the Max
You want any
Generals he would
snacks?
hand me.
Like, yeah, whatever he needs.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of snacks, I mean, you do have a premium partner. Riggs Rods gives you make sure Crustables for us and Mr. Walls.
Hey, I got one of those.
Yeah, no, you did.
Hey,
you did.
I'm pretty good about getting the Uncrustables.
Yeah, you are. You are definitely. are.
Uncrustables is a cheat code.
Do you think
tournament day.
Probably
how
shouldn't
many
be talking
Uncrustables
about that.
Did you guys consume this year? Like, would you say?
100.
Like
All of them.
100?
100
Wow.
including practice.
Yeah, I ate them in practice.
Tournament
every
day, though. How many would you each eat tournament day? Would you
just
say?
just one for
the,
the.
the rally. You rally with an
Okay.
Uncrustable
It's like a mandatory boat snack.
Were you allowed to eat it? When were you allowed to eat it?
when you needed
When we
one.
felt like we needed one, this is when we
Really?
ate it.
One,
Yep.
That's when you pulled it out.
Yep.
Yep.
That's like your thing.
Didn't fail. Never let us down.
What are you gonna do when RFK bans them here? Like they're talking about that.
We'll have to start making.
You
specific-
voted for
Yeah, I'll
that.
say-
I know you voted for
I-
that.
yeah,
Don't
but
tell me you didn't.
Specifically, he's talking about banning
Uncrustables.
Uncrustables. What?
Uncrustables.
Well, then, okay, hey, then we got to just get this straight up Quick Trip brand.
Yeah.
Quick Trip has them.
Maybe unburdened by what has been isn't so bad.
Yeah, if they're not going to ban Uncrustables.
I mean, Uncrustables unburdened by what has been.
We just won't be able to talk about if we don't like it or not.
Well, you'll get a chance to get them back in 4 years, you know?
There you go.
Yeah.
And Fruity Pebbles.
White dudes for Harris.
Fruity Pebbles.
And Oreos.
But back to the river. Then we
Yeah,
we
back
got
to the
we got closer to weigh in, and actually the big fish of the tournament was caught right in front.
So the river
Damn
was
way.
post-spawn
It
deal,
was.
right? And you guys were on the lake.
Novak's caught that sucker.
You
right
guys
in
were on the
front.
lake, which to me is badass. Post-spawn. Usually, you ain't going to see a top 2 bag come out of the lake. And to me, the reason why I wanted to talk about the river is I'm curious, like, the pattern, because the water was a little high, right?
Yeah.
A little high.
This year.
Very.
Chill, Luchterhand.
Snoop Dogg.
Chill.
Snoop Dogg on the weekend.
High for a skeeter for sure. Fuck. But like, so to me, I didn't even think about it, but that probably creates a current and a positioning opportunity in Pepin that is lacking most years.
Who said we were in Pepin? I'm just kidding. I'm just.
It's a big lake.
Oh yeah,
It
no,
is a
you
big
locked
lake.
down to Unalaska where it was off limits. Just chill, buddy. It's a big lake. But my point is to me that was an opportunity that I missed or didn't think about, especially in our situation. That would have been perfect for me. Instead, I went and lost my keys and fucking wallet and Weaver Bottoms and broke Dane's truck.
You guys had a hell
Yeah.
of a
So
river
you guys had a
tournament.
That's
cursed
not what I want
derby
to talk
down
about.
there.
But what was the key in Pepin to patterning fish in Pepin? Like, what was?
Fishing every.
It was the current, obviously.
Yep.
But on tournament day, the wind was coming from the south, and I think in practice it was from the north. So if you look at Pepin, where it was coming from the south, it was going against the current.
Yep.
And it ruined the current seam. At least it seemed like on a lot of the points where I did get bites on. But then there was one that had no wind on it. It was out of the way of the wind. And there was two points, but one that I thought we were going to catch them on good, we didn't. We only caught 2. Then we went up to the other one, and that's where it basically all went down.
Yeah, I'll say it went down.
They were mixed in with white bass too.
Did you guys set up
Interesting.
up
Pretty
current
shallow.
and cast back, or were you
Yes,
down
So oddly
current,
enough,
casting up? Did that
oddly
matter?
enough, there was a boat up current from us.
So you were
Walleye
down
boat,
from the
right?
seam or whatever.
walleye.
Walleye boat sitting right on the point. We were casting
Right
right
on
at 'em.
right on
Just
the top
right
of the
at
So he's
'em.
just watching you pinwheel him.
Oh yeah. No, he destroyed the walleyes we were there though. I mean, and he caught a couple of smallies too. I mean, he was he was wrecking them the same time we were. He was just fishing something on the bottom, and we were.
He was just
You
fishing
guys
a
see
live fucking
shad or
crawler
anything?
Yeah, he was just dragging a minnow to its imminent death.
I'm not trying
Drowning
to pick
it.
and prod on you guys, but did you see like minnows come up, like what they were eating? Was it shad?
Oh, yeah.
Shad?
Oh, yeah.
That's
they
what
were-
I want to
they-
know. Are
yeah.
you looking for that on scope? Like, are you seeing that?
No, they'd show it.
Because
Yeah.
They'd
You
come
look-
right
see
to
it
the
for
surface where you could
busting?
see 'em.
Birds?
You didn't.
Nope, no birds.
No birds.
The whiteys would
Yeah,
key
you didn't.
off too.
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
You didn't need the
Because I
birds.
see in practice, I pulled
You
up
just
to
need
a
the
spot.
whites.
Oh,
You just need
Caught
some
plenty of
whites.
those.
yeah.
Just all we. So that was kind of like your clue. Once you figured out they were mixed there, you figured out them whites are like piranhas around these
Yeah.
damn
and-
shad. And if I find the whites, there's gonna be some browns
And
maybe some greens mixed
There was
in.
a couple greens.
Well, I'll say and
That's a good
Poppy
little
Haug
nugget.
told us if you're catching both, you're in a good spot. And as soon as we caught the first largie, and that one was like 2 3/4 pounds, and to mix in with the smallies and the whites, we're like, well, Corey says you find this, you're in a good spot. And then it got off.
They were nuts around that bait though. Like I pulled into a spot for the second time just to see if it was like a timing thing. And I pulled up, set my trolling motor down, and like a, I don't know, 3-4 inch shad busted. Next time it jumped, smallmouth grabbed it out of the air, and I was like, well,
I don't even know if they were 2 or 3
I don't.
inches.
I guess I don't have to
And I can
think
tell
this
you a
is
thing about
timing,
2
you
or
know.
3 inches.
So to me, like the most intimidating thing about like you're looking at a big body of water, whether it's a big reservoir, let's call it Kentucky Lake, let's call it Lake Pepin, let's call it Mille Lacs, let's call it whatever.
I can show you how to
Where
catch
are those
them
shad
drum.
and why are they there and when are they there? Right? There's migrations, there's die-offs, there's wind current, there's little zooplankton. Microscopic zooplankton that stuff moves around that pushes the shad around that the shad eat that then
Oh, really?
it's the circle of life, the chain of life. But like there's people who have absolute cheat codes to that when they look at a map, look at a river system, look at whatever, and are able to hack that a lot quicker than some of us Neanderthals, if you will. And I guess I'd like to dig into that. Like sometimes you don't realize it until after you found it, right? And Dane and I have had quite a few of those awesome light bulb moments. and
Right
that's
on the drive home.
one of the
every
most
time.
beautiful things about fishing is like you kind of like get in the dirt and immerse yourself, and you like, yeah, got bit here, yes, yeah, got bit here, caught one here, caught bit, and then you like look at it from like you get out of the trees and you're able to look at the whole forest for a change,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it's like, kung kung kung.
When it all
There's
starts
a
to
rhyme
make
to
sense.
this reason.
Yeah.
There is a pattern here, and I guess with shad, with bait fish, with what have you, to me, always curious about that because the shad is a forage we don't get the pleasure to get intimate with,
Only
where
boys.
we live, and we'll get into some other types of forage, but noticing what position those fish, I guess, without maybe giving the whole beans away, we like some snacks. To me, is there's some little snacks to be learned that can be taken, elsewhere, anywhere in the country, maybe.
Yeah, I mean the current just put that bait in an area, and you would see like a precursor if you'd swing the Mega Live over and look, and obviously any other forward facing sonar, you'd see the whiteys start to move, and I
Is
guarantee
this not like on bottom, or are they
just above the bottom,
Sure.
but you'd see them. I'm
Getting
guessing
excited?
they were herding them up because you'd see they'd start doing this and you'd see
Yeah.
them they'd push the bait to the surface because fish can't swim in the air.
right?
It's just another wall to
they
them.
can't?
And they pushed it right up.
Side note: Johnston had the most fun with white bass that whole
Oh,
practice.
for sure.
Oh man,
He couldn't resist himself.
Best white bass lure, go. Because you miss them.
peanut.
You were catching them on that?
Yes. You can't, that's the one thing they can
I feel
suck
like
down.
I would just like, I suppose.
Yeah, they literally just
It's the perfect size.
just
It-
grab
That's
it.
something that people also overlook.
It's
Is
the-
suck. Is the suck.
it's a small bait. It's the right size. It doesn't have much drag. So when they just it's haymaker
little
to the
chode
fucking snout.
muncher.
Yep.
Yeah.
it's haymaker to the snout.
Sometimes it's too big a cylinder.
Right. So later in the day, we're it's full circle actually. Luckily, just to the back to fish and stuff. We're going up this little side channel right close to weigh in, and we're looking. We're like, look at this. Look at this seam. Like the seam looks like we fished 20 miles away.
Seam.
And
That's what's
he throws up
cool
there,
about the river.
and this psycho comes up. He even hooks this fish.
Had it on a shower
Yeah,
blow for
yeah.
a couple seconds.
Then it just pulls off. Well, Peanut. And Peanut gets a little low in the water. All of a sudden, just Peanut's gone. You need the net? No. Just into the fucking. No, he netted it, but I mean,
Bye-bye,
just
Peanut.
to the haymaker to the
R.I.P.
snout. You could have. I could have thrown the rod in. We could have chased the rod down.
You guys are so respectful instead of just saying the lure, saying Peanut.
Well,
Saving me
because-
because some cuts. Like,
Well,
thank you. Because
Peanut's
I
a better
know
name.
if you would have said, stop
Peanut-
saying the word.
Well,
Peanut
like-
was
so like
such a
a
word.
Our
Like,
group
then I
of
gotta
like
cut it.
friends, like no.
Yeah,
Peanut,
I was
Peanut's a
saying-
better name
But-
for it, anyways.
The general
Peanut's the
public
perfect
doesn't
name.
I like
even
the
know what
chode
peanut
muncher.
is.
That's a
He calls it the chode wiggler when he calls me. It's a little chode wiggler you got there.
Yeah, dude. It's a little
Little
fucking,
chode wiggler.
Yeah, dude.
There's nothing worse than not knowing what people are talking about. So you guys can
Like when
Oh,
you
yeah,
were
it gets-
talking.
you
to-
guys can suck
Cut
it.
back
the
in.
gears rolling.
Yeah, you wish
Yeah.
you knew what we were talking about just there. Man.
Whenever you like when you were talking to like Walkie and Schultz, it I was just like spit it like he would.
Honestly, that was more for respect for who'd you guys stay with in Kentucky? I was out of like
Oh,
a lot of-
Roy.
Goatsy and Roy.
Yep, some of them cuts were out of respect for them and what they were doing on Tatanka, and then others were just.
Wait,
Fuck
I mean,
you.
we
are
knew
we
what
in
they
cut,
were doing
if we're
there
in cut
because
mode? What do you
We're
mean?
out of cut mode.
Oh.
Minus Harrison, the women our age, they're not putting in that much effort anymore. Let's be honest.
I
you
gotta
know?
be honest. We're cutting back into that statement, and why aren't? What is wrong? Like, let's talk about the transition of the dating scene of women. We've got ourselves a grown adult here. I'd like to consider myself an adult as well, and you guys are, Damien's my age. Yep. Okay.
Single. We're
And,
both single.
like,
single and ready to mingle.
So let's
for a
talk
while.
about dating. Okay, you're fucking
Here it
bass
goes off the
fisherman,
rails
tournament
right
bass fisherman, 1985. Okay, you see this girl, her name's Carol, right? You like Carol.
Carol
You're
Baskin?
like, this Carol is she's beautiful. Wow, I really like this Carol chick. What do I do now? Okay, so it's 1985. I'm like, yo, Carol, name's Aaron. Got 2 tickets to the Whitesnake concert next week. Not sure if you want to join me or not, but
In the still of the night.
in the still of the night, we could take my Pontiac GTO maybe over to that Whitesnake concert. You can bring your leather jacket and that fake titties you got. Just kidding, they're real. We're in Minnesota, not California, but California would be the fake ones, Minnesota would be the real ones.
For
But
sure.
then what? Okay, I'll pick you up at 8
Yeah,
o'clock.
because no cell phones, so you're like, hey, you gotta
Hey.
trust that they're gonna be there.
I might
Nobody's
even be
bailing
early.
in that era.
The GTO is fast and it starts every time.
Yeah.
Might even be early, right?
Wait 1 second. So you said you're a bass fisherman, and it was 19 what? 85. 85.
Yep. And you got a GTO.
What was Aaron Martin's mom's name? Wasn't it Carol?
She's
In California,
trying
right?
to get in the family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Freudian slip here, Carol. Freudian slip. I don't know if you're a psychologist or not. If you are, you know what that meant.
And your name's
but-
Aaron, so
Okay.
you're gonna make Aaron Jr.
Oh, named after
So
his
then,
dad.
Name dropping.
So then it's like this is the part I don't understand. So it's like, okay, perfect, Carol. We got this date. She said yes. Have to talk to her in person. Grab your balls. Everybody did in 1985. Everybody had to grab their balls, just so you know that, to get a date.
Okay.
Only about 5% of men have to grab their balls today to get a date. So we can blame the women all we want. Anyway, so like
I didn't. learn that
then
in
what? Do
social
you get her
studies.
number? So you get her number. So she's in high school, right? You get her home number. You're in high school. We're talking about kids dating.
Okay.
Let's say you're. How old are you?
22.
That's how old we are.
22.
So you're
the other day.
22.
Jeez, he forgot his own age.
I just turned 22.
So you're 22. Definitely don't have a college education. I'm just kidding. But then, do you get her home number? So is that her dad's
and
home
then
number?
Pa
right?
answers.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like,
You
okay.
better be respectful when that
So
phone
then,
answers.
so you're
Hello,
picking her
sir.
up somewhere for the Whitesnake concert. You just met her, and you maybe show up on time. Maybe the GTO blows a tire, or that officer finds. I heard cocaine was big in the 80s, so your stash or whatever you got then, whatever those guys did. Then what?
We got people we could ask.
Then what? Like, so now then, let's take it to today. No, let's go back to 85. You've got Carol. You pick her up. You take her to the Whitesnake concert. You have a good time. You bring her home. Then what? Who knows? I was born in 93. Okay.
I don't even know where we're going with this.
I feel like
Versus today. Okay.
I
today,
think I know where it's going. I do.
Okay.
Now describe to me dating today. That is what dating looked like.
So that was back in
you
the.
can describe us dating.
That was
today.
okay.
Yeah,
That
David.
real quick refresher. That was before any of our
I'm
times.
still in Teal's era. Not quite 1985, but it was still a little.
In the still of the
it was,
night?
It was it was still a little hard.
Such
even
a
when
good
we were in high
song.
school.
That little, yeah.
Now you text a girl and you're like, come over. Bada bing, bada boom.
What's up, bitch?
Yeah.
No, it's
My
fine.
parents aren't home.
No, but like, okay,
I'm in the car already.
dude, you don't even need to go
All those
find
memes.
her.
There's so
You don't
many
even
good
need to go
memes like
find her. Now
No.
it's like,
Swipe. Yeah.
yep. They all said no, but yep.
You in high school, me and you, Aaron, Johnston,
No.
you liked a girl from a different school. How do you get that girl's number? You gotta be like, you gotta grow some balls.
You gotta have some
grab
friends of
'em.
friends, or that's when you do
You
the
got to
DM.
throw quite a few touchdown
I
passes.
dated
in my
back to-
So way
experience.
back in high school,
Not
I
easy
dated
when-
a girl that was in my high school. I didn't even know she went to my high school.
Johnston, like, okay, here's what I want to dig into. I want to talk about your first dating experience, then I want to talk about Harrison's.
My first
Because I feel like they're so drastically different, you know? And that's maybe what makes you guys great tournament partners, and we don't even know that.
We might be getting to the root
Like,
of
I
the
think
of
that's,
everything right
yes.
I mean,
We'll go to childhood if we have to.
We're gonna break it all down.
One of my first dating experiences, I just, actually, you know what? I'll even throw my wife into this. I met her.
That's your last one,
like the
dude. It's
12th
gotta
or
be the
13th
first
one.
one, dude.
But
First.
I've always been
First.
about even with these modern times meeting people organically, right? So my first girlfriend obviously met her organically because this was like well, what I'm saying is
I love this term. I love that.
when you're working and you meet somebody or you're friends with somebody and
We
they,
used to date organically.
and they
I don't know
bring-
if you guys knew that.
and they bring a
Non-GMO.
friend in. Like
Used to go organic date.
the first girl I actually dated, she was a friend of a friend, and then wildly enough, my wife was a friend of a friend of a friend. So I feel like it's full circle. And then Damien's
One's a
outside-
fluke, two's a pattern.
right? Well, but I mean, so Damien, he knows baby mama numero dos. He gets to see her all the time. I met her organically. I just checked into the hotel.
You also
American Inn,
You also consummated that organically.
There's no way to falsify that, sir. Not
have
that I know
tests for
how.
that.
Yeah, I say that.
You ever get tested just to make sure?
Yes, been there. Damien, we're talking about. Has my daughter ever asked you to do math problems
Organic relationships.
before you knew it was my daughter?
We don't have organic relationships anymore, Damien.
It's not real. Love isn't real anymore, Aaron.
No, just a bunch of kids are eating Tide Pods.
Oh, not the Tide Pods.
Not the Tide Pods.
Okay, wait. Did anybody?
He met my youngest daughter before he realized it was my youngest daughter.
For a while.
Yeah, for a good portion of time.
It makes sense. She was going a little crazy in the hotel a couple times.
Give her a fishing pole.
I feel like there needs to be more backstory. Those people are gonna be
You
really
met?
confused.
Did you met?
About
did
a
you meet
hotel.
Spawn of Johnston 3 of 37.
Yeah.
Or?
Is she she's a receptionist at a hotel, right?
She's
Yeah,
she's a
yeah.
manager.
Or manager at a hotel where
I work
Damien
all the
works out of
time.
town a lot,
How
so
old
that's
is
how
she?
they met.
Not his daughter.
Oh,
No,
Not his-
everybody's
One-
second
baby
baby
one,
mama.
one
Yes.
baby
yeah,
mama.
yeah. So he's talking about baby mama too. I'm
He is
saying-
he's
I'm saying he
old
met
enough
my
to almost
daughter.
be my
Yeah.
dad if he had a kid in
No,
high school.
you could definitely be my son.
okay.
How
I'm just
old
gonna
are
throw
you?
that out there.
So you met her through a friend of a friend,
My wife, yes, a friend.
your wife,
and the first girl I ever
and
dated.
Friend of a
each
friend
baby
with a
mama
Classic playback.
and your wife you've met
all
through a friend-
organically.
through a friend of a friend.
My wife
a
didn't
good
even
way to
like
put
me when
it,
she
though.
first met me.
What's like your go-to opening line? Pre-fertilized.
Pre-fertilized? You know,
This man rivals Noah Schultz.
I should ask them.
Oh fuck yeah! The difference is Noah kept it with one.
I'll say Noah kept it under the same house.
Johnson's like you. I'd love it.
No, I know. I just, you know what? I did it to myself. You can't be mad
No,
when you did it
dude.
yourself.
Honestly, you're fucking hammer. I
But
love
yeah, I do like, you know, what are my keywords?
These
Hold on.
kids need advice.
No, the advice is.
He's married. He's pretty
Just
much
tell
married.
him
Yeah, I'll say he's
He was
pretty much
telling us on the
married.
way here.
He is married. I was at the wedding.
Yep.
And
was.
you know, I
Everybody here
mean,
was.
Pretty much.
I even
means
made the
that it's
family
not done
calendar
yet.
for the
Still
old
hope. Pretty much, he said.
for the Harrison
doesn't
squad.
mean
I
married.
made the family calendar this year. It was
He
a
did.
proud
Even
moment.
married.
That's a big accomplishment.
Yeah,
Even
that's
married
front-
is a
front-
60%
one of the front
chance
pictures.
of divorce.
60. Wow, thanks.
Just hey, dude.
I'm
Hey,
trying to
not
only
my
be married
numbers,
one
okay?
time.
I don't make the numbers. I just read them.
Fair.
Is it really over
Hey,
half?
how about you change that
Yeah.
and be fucking
bad.
the one that doesn't do that?
buck the curve,
yeah,
right?
Buck that curve.
Yeah, buck
yeah.
the curve.
Say, hey, I'm a traditionalist. I'm organic.
I'm organic.
I'm organic.
Old world style.
Yeah, old world style. You
put
go to
it-
war, you come home, you stay married.
You put it in, you don't pull out, you suffer the consequences.
Don't you
Damn
think that
right.
being organic would help you stay married? Don't you think?
Condoms
That's
are
what I'm saying.
Condoms
I've
are
only
for
been married-
progressives.
I've only been married one time. One time.
Hey, unburdened by what has been.
Unburdened by what has been.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
There you go.
Be honest, strolling a minnow, unburdened by what has
Shaking a
been.
minnow.
Where were we?
Dating.
Okay.
Okay, so versus new dating.
still
How
trying to
did-
get back
so
on.
There we go.
this girl you're pretty much married to, how did you two meet?
They're high school sweethearts. It's the same story. It's
Uh,
organic as fuck.
We didn't go to the same high school, but
Okay.
we've been. I was a sophomore in high school and we started dating. It's been like 5 years.
Heck yeah.
I actually the first time I talked to her was over Snapchat. So, dude,
So
organic as fuck. So organic
That's
as
who
hell.
my wife, who I've been with for almost 9 years. That's how we started talking to a Snapchat.
Well, and side story.
See,
they're-
these are the parallels I wanted to
his
draw.
future wife and his wife are like bestest of
yeah,
friends.
this is very
Yeah.
good friend.
When
friend of
we were
a
in
friend
that-
through Snapchat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Still a friend of a friend. So
It's just not organic, man.
it's close. It's
Good
close.
for them too, though. They can fish a little more and send the ladies on their way.
Yeah.
Well, I think
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
it does
How
work
much does that
out
cost?
pretty
You
well.
stay busy with Emma.
I think today in
And I
today's
will go
dating world,
fishing.
you need to be resourceful technologically to thrive. Okay, in today's dating world, okay. If you want
All you
cash
need to know-
checks in today's dating world tournaments,
You just need to know
you're gonna need to
Snapchat
be
and live scope.
technologically savvy.
Yep, Snapchat live scope's all you need.
You're gonna need to know how to
it.
point your camera
Cheat codes.
down, pull the pants down. You need to know how to send a dick pic. That's not something we used to need to know how to do.
I don't
Well, I won't say
I
that.
don't know if that's
That's
a
not
thing.
where I was going with Snapchat.
Oh, you guys, okay?
Oh, you don't do that?
No,
Hey, real quick.
fucking old school, man.
To
I'm
circle
organic.
to circle it back towards more angling. What if in the future here we're gonna be able to you can just Snapchat a video of something to somebody? What if you can without having to Snapchat a video of
mean
your
screen
screen of live
record?
scope? What if you can just through your Garmin you can just send a Snapchat to your buddy?
Why is it gotta
Look
be
what I
Garmin?
just saw
Why has it got to be a Garmin, bud?
because I like Garmin.
I gotta be honest. That new hummingbird stuff.
That-
It is. It does look really good.
Yeah, I'll
is
say,
really
how
really
nice will it
good.
be when I can go like this on a new unit and put it in my phone and send it to Harrison
It's
instead
not
of...
even that, like, strictly live scope. Like, it's...
I didn't get. any
I'm
feedback.
biased to Garmin because that's what I got, but it's...
I'll say,
I'm wondering-
It's
He's-
legit,
I'll say
but I
he's seen the
haven't
Mega
used
Live,
it
too.
in all
in the boat or nothing,
aspects,
no.
right?
Do you think there's a time where robots will be good enough where we just don't pick women anymore and we just choose robots?
what is the
instead?
fun in that?
Well, I'm married,
Like,
so
think about how good of cooks they're gonna be, and as soon as they make
Whip
them
up your
bodies right-
favorite meal whenever you want.
that would be
saying.
nice.
Ooh.
My wife doesn't cook.
Think
much,
about
right?
think about a robot that can
Egg
make you a good
sandwiches.
meal and
Yeah, she
tie your
does
FG
cook.
knots for you
She
to
does
better
cook some egg
perfection
sandwich.
than you can tie them. I will start using FG knots on a baitcaster as soon as I got a fucking robot that can give me a hand job.
Anti-FG.
Write that down.
Write
Write
it down,
that down.
so you don't forget.
Yeah, put it in stone.
Sorry, I've been savage tonight.
You
Should
have
take it
been.
down a notch. Fuck, I'm a Christian.
Easy. Easy.
I'm a little shorter. It's easier for me.
At least JP's in this spirit here.
JP Weisers. That's Tuma. Tuma brought that bottle for me. I made a light out of it, so I never lost it. When he was top 10 in the opens,
Yeah.
before each tournament, I turn that light on.
There you go.
Nice.
Left the light
So-
on
That,
for him.
that's I think me and you talked about this on that other podcast we did with Rob, but like that's a wild example of or not wild, but it's an example of people like doing different. Like I love a chatterbait. Keith loves a chatterbait.
Keith is a
he's a
beauty. Love you, Keith.
and
Fucking
how
beauty.
fucking funny is he? Like
I love that dude.
he's pretty good.
That dude is just
We have definitely
one
swapped
of the most genuine
Uncrustables.
human beings you'll ever meet.
Him
Keith
and,
Tuma.
him and Walls are actually they
Walls
were
is
like
another one.
they were like the
He's a
Love
good
that
dude.
dude.
I like.
they were
him.
my
love
drive
Walls.
for the Uncrustable fucking phase. I traded
Started
an
with me and you.
Uncrustable for a Black Rifle energy drink from Tuma. That's what we did on Big Stone, and then he proceeded to like.
Wallace
catch a
told
six-
me about your Uncrustable deal.
Oh yeah,
And
oh yeah. So
they
now,
stole our. We need they.
so
Your Uncrustable took our dagger from us. That was
Kyle
the
and
fish we needed. We pull in. That's our adjustment. We pull in. They're sitting there netting it.
I'll say Kyle and
Who Walls?
Kyle and Andy.
Right after
we-
they
we-
ate
we-
your fucking Uncrustable.
Yeah, well, they told it.
They
told
stole the
us first
power
tournament
from
of
us
the year.
that day.
I'm not worried. RFK is gonna fix that this year. No
Well, even-
more of that shit. Your time is done.
They caught their biggest one on cab after because we exchanged Uncrustables on cab. They caught their biggest one.
It's
right
a,
after they
it's
ate
a
over
cheat
the-
code.
I'm telling you, it's wild, and you know me and Hayden that.
Yeah, didn't we start it with them at
Yeah,
Kegum
we-
on that fall brawl? We
Yeah,
gave them.
I mean that was part of the story for
thought
sure.
that's
is
where it kinda
we
started, but-
were Keith and Andy and swapping some Uncrustable action, and
Yeah.
boom, I catch a 6-pounder, you catch a big ass 4, and we finally get out of third place.
Yeah, that was good.
I didn't realize how big that fish was until you caught that other big one. And then
Did you
we
catch
put the
2
mixers
that
on.
day?
No, I caught 2
He caught a
giants in practice.
Practice. That's what it was.
And then I caught old Dot Cheek and
I don't want to call you out, but man, you catch some big fish in practice. And
it's like it's my toxic
disclaimer.
trait.
It's not a
Oh
lie.
my god, dude.
I know
It's not a lie.
Well, I didn't catch
As you
very
know.
many fish. I just happened to catch that 1-7.
that fish you caught.
Right.
But your
we haven't
big
caught
stout,
that
confirmed.
everybody knows it was on your other podcast, I
Yeah.
think. And
Well,
whoever
even
talks
if they
to you,
didn't,
but
I
You had-
won the fuck out of
sounded
practice.
phenomenal.
And I fucking
Yeah, you did.
schlubbed the fucking derby.
I'm not like shitting on you. It's
no,
just-
it's
I am.
I would say
Same.
I would say I'm a grown adult. I understand. I mean, I feel bad for
this year.
24,
We're gonna get you to
25
not
a
use
day.
a hook. This is the year.
Mille Lacs. I did my best to use very little hook action. I did take my buddy out day 2 of practice, and he whacked him. Benny just.
I'd take one teal.
I'll take one too.
I'm
too.
glad
So-
you didn't stab one of the smallies on goal. No,
I
I
couldn't do it.
I want.
Yeah.
If we're getting on Gull, like you guys were so close. We were really lucky. You guys were sharing water.
Oh my god, yeah.
If
we
we're
were.
being
Oh no!
honest, you know,
I'm well aware. We watched the Peterson guys. If we catch one of those two,
because you guys were third.
fourth. I
Fourth.
think. We
Just
we were
barely?
fourth.
Thank
by
you.
like, same thing about now.
Yeah,
But
it was
yeah,
tight.
If we catch one of those other 2 fish,
Oh,
Thank you,
yeah.
sir.
then we're like hugging each other trying to figure out how to tie break that.
That was
because-
another.
We would have been
lake-
calling out a. I don't even know. Like,
That was another
well,
lake last
both those
year
ones that
where-
Peterson's caught were over 4.
Yeah.
And we'd have been calling a 3-7-ish, right? I think.
something like that.
I don't.
Mr.
I don't
Oh, I
remember.
think it's a bluegill.
Never
Dude,
happened.
Yeah,
I had-
there's no
Yeah, but
bluegills
like
on this
that,
spot.
I had that happen same tournament Gull. The biggest fish we hooked that day. Unfortunately, I broke it off, which is extremely uncharacteristic of me.
Uncharacteristic.
But
don't-
I think
don't
a
know if I've ever
zebra.
seen
I think
you
a
break
zebra.
it.
I think it was a zebra mussel in the grass. I'd only made 10 casts at this rod that day.
We broke off the biggest bluegill.
But yeah, right.
No
So
bluegill.
what I will say. So I got bit. It was a Nico rig. I got bit, and it was just like that.
Giving up the juice? No.
Wow. I mean, Nico rig. Good luck.
Yeah.
We're talking Gull.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it
Big
was,
win.
Yeah. So it was.
Exciting times.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this bite.
How
We
unexcited
thought
the
we-
fish
year.
came off.
Oh, dude, it feels so good when it goes. I'm so happy for you guys. I know you guys. That one had to feel extra good because
Got a little-
nobody saw that coming from you guys.
Right.
Cab, probably saw it coming.
Mille Lacs.
Mille Lacs, you know,
I thought-
Smalley.
I thought
you
you guys
guys
were
come
gonna
from
absolutely-
Smelton,
I
did-
Smalley, and yeah.
We got a little largy cred.
Yeah. We got largy cred on the street now.
But
proud of you.
Thank you.
We Dane and I knew you had it. No one
I don't
else
know, there's
did,
a lot
but
of
we knew the
spinning
whole
rods,
time
so-
that. Well, you guys are like Dane and I know not like
That wasn't.
you guys can win any tournament. So can you. Like
Oh,
we know
yeah.
who's good.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dane and I.
It doesn't surprise you when certain people win.
Here's
No.
the deal. Like my best finishes are lakes I've never been to. Like looking back
Yeah.
on this year,
feel like
Cav
it's a real
and
thing.
That was my
Boji were
first
my
time at
best two
Gull.
finishes. So exactly.
First time at Gull.
When they don't expect you to go in.
No, it
and
was
do
that caught us by
you do
surprise
that.
so much because I mean we had a good enough practice where we thought like okay we should be, we're gonna do fine.
Yeah.
Like top 20, we felt very
Well,
confident
I
in
don't-
having that happen.
I
But
don't
we also
think we
had
more than one over 4 pounds in practice.
I only caught one in practice. Did you?
I fished docks for a
Right,
whole
he
day.
kind of
Like,
took.
I
He took one for the
deleted
team,
water in
and
that
he took one
tournament.
for the team and practiced docks,
Yeah.
which no hook. I mean, he just kind of checked out where fish were, but it was whatever
I had 2 docks that I thought we could
because it can
go
play.
catch a 3.5 plus.
That can
on.
play big
Right.
time on Gull,
Well,
but
let's talk about taking one for the team like that. That's like teamwork you need to have. Like
Right.
Dane and
Right.
I do that. Like I'm
Right.
sacrifices.
Little side tangent, like we usually kind of spit up lakes on like direction or like pool 4 and 5, however whatever what it was this year on team trail, and then like Mille Lacs we did east and west, and we'd flip flop. So you both get you get different eyes on the spots you're fishing and different mind on what spots you're fishing. But that's why I did the docks. Like it took a whole day to make sure that wasn't a thing, because you never know when a big dumb one's coming off a dock.
well, if there's everybody knows there's magic docks. You could have stumbled across a do nothing stretch
Right.
that didn't look like much, but all of a sudden you roll up to a dock where it's like, holy smokes, I got bit 12 times on this dock.
On a
That's kind of
stretch.
extreme, but
Right.
Or yeah, you have a stretch where there's 2-3 docks in a stretch where it's like, wow, there was weeds along this whole stretch, but all of a sudden this patch was just sand, and they were all under these docks.
Right.
Whatever the case may be, that wasn't the case during Gull, but
But we deleted
he
that
was
water.
checking that so that we could feel confident that we didn't need to look at them during the
You
tournament.
didn't. We didn't need to go down like 100-yard stretch of them. I kind of had it dialed into like 2 or 3 docks in an area.
Well, here's what's funny about Gull, I thought. And so, to get back to a little bit of what I was saying right before this, is we felt confident we were going to have a good finish. Didn't expect to win it, but we knew we had a lot of pressure going into it because we needed to do good. Otherwise, we were probably going to miss the championship because
We bombed the smallmouth lake.
we bombed Gull really
how
bad.
terrified were you guys to get like?
You didn't bomb
Let me
Gull.
just keep track of what
Yeah,
I'm trying to
bomb
say
Gull.
real quick.
Mille Lacs, the
Mille Lacs.
smallmouth lake.
So we bombed Gull, and we knew we needed
No,
to
you
catch him
bombed
good.
Lax.
What
You
did I? Oh
didn't
yeah,
bomb
that's right.
Gull.
yeah.
I'm losing
You
track.
won on Gull.
We bombed Mille Lacs.
You won. You were first place
Yeah.
on Gull. Just so you know.
Yeah, we just. I don't know if you remember. But.
Hey, he was probably blackout after the win.
I love you guys. That's awesome.
So, thanks, guys. Lost my train of thought. That's great.
Well, at least you maybe when you get it back, maybe just get your fucking words right.
You were talking
Cut
about.
off 7 times.
You said we bombed on Gull 3 times in a row.
We were talking
Because
about
I kept getting
pressure.
cut off.
We were talking about pressure.
It's okay, Hayden.
Okay.
You were on a roll. I'm sorry that I corrected you. I just didn't want people to
No,
think you bombed
I
on
got-
Gull.
Anyways.
Pressure. We
Yeah,
were
we
on
felt some pressure. going
After
into it.
bombing on Mille Lacs, you felt
had
pressure
pressure
going
on
into
Gull.
Gull.
Right. So, yeah, we needed to do good.
And not
And-
like 20.
Right, we didn't need to
better.
win,
We
but
didn't
we
need to
just
win,
needed
but
to-
we needed to catch fish to get to the championship.
Right. We needed to have a top 20. We felt like we were going to do that. And I guess so he was fishing these docks, and he did have a few that we wanted to go back to, but wanted to go to during the tournament. We never did end up getting to them because once we got to our second zone, we didn't leave for 6 hours, which the zone was 300-400 yards, but we got
That
there
was-
and quickly realized we could just
That was another.
stay here the
down
entire
the grind.
day,
How
slow
many
down.
boats were in that
I
zone?
was gonna say I was
A lot.
pressure on the juice. The
Right.
on the spot on
There
the
was
spot.
juice, and I mean, those who saw us fishing there know what the juice was.
How many boats
But it
pulled up
just-
throughout the day?
I mean,
15 to
yeah,
20.
a bunch.
Pretty easy.
Yeah.
So there
like,
was this juice that people had found, right?
Yes, there
This
were
is cool.
specific
This is
little-
the cool part
little
to me.
clump.
yeah, little clumps
Couple
of weeds
little
that
clumps.
Yep.
yeah, people were like, oh, I didn't think that many people were gonna find it when I was there in practice. I
I didn't see. The only person I bumped into was Corey Hauk, and I kind of like we bumped into each other, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I already knew what was kind of there, and he kind of was like, "Whatever." Yeah, he's kind of like,
Remember that story.
He's like, "All right, I'll."
You
He
need
goes,
to tell
"Oh."
this story.
Yeah, so he left. And I'm
No,
like,
but what
"Okay."
did you? Okay,
Huh?
this story's good because so Corey wanted to come fish that spot. You were there. You realized he wanted to come fish that spot, and the way he told the story is
In practice.
In practice,
Yeah.
you realized he wanted to be there, and
It was
you didn't want him to be there.
No,
so
because I
what
knew
did
how
you
good
do?
it. All of a sudden, after I
What
talked
did you
to him,
do?
well, I guess I don't know
You-
exactly what you're getting
You
at, but
chilled and rigged
Oh.
and made sure.
oh yeah, I stayed.
couldn't practice.
Yeah, once I found out what was there, I was like, well, I got a handful of rods
And
to
he
rig up
joked
here,
about
so I
that.
just kind of hit spot lock and lingered for a while.
If,
and
if-
just,
if anybody's ever watched this man rig, it is
It's
a
so monotonous.
It is a
Or, I don't know if
minimum
that's the right
2-hour
word.
process.
the most.
It's a different level of tism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me
It's
a
a touch
T,
of
give
the
me a
tism
S,
for
give me an M, tism.
We all
Tism
got it, baby.
shades.
We all got it in some way.
Yeah, but anyway, so that same zone, we show up to it tournament day about 9:30, and we didn't leave till
On the C spot, we started at the C spot on the juice.
Yeah, because we showed up to the zone.
There was already people.
and there was
on the-
3 boats on the 3 best portions of this zone, and we showed up, and it was like, oh man, there's somebody on each one. So I'm like, well, I got this one waypoint, kind of off to the side that I didn't fish it in practice because it wasn't the best looking, but it kind of went along with what I found. So I'm like, let's just pull up to it and see if somebody leaves, So we pull up to this waypoint that I didn't fish in practice, and we catch 2 3.5 pounders right off the bat.
right.
And we're like,
Instantly.
holy smokes, like, this isn't even the good stuff. We're like, wow, all right. So,
Yeah.
like, that was huge, that
Yeah.
big confidence booster. We look at each other like, hey, like, I think we might be in the championship now. We got,
Yeah.
like, because we were like, we already are over the hurdle of, whatever, like,
Getting
16
one or
pounds
two
or
nice
whatever.
bites, like-
Yeah, we had those. We already caught a decent one on the first spot and had some decent fillers to go with it. So we were sitting at, like, maybe 16 pounds after those 2.
Yeah.
So we were feeling good. And so one of the boats leaves the spot, one of the really good, little spots on the zone, the juice. And I'm like, well, let's start, working towards that. And so we're maybe 75 yards away from it, and we start working towards it. And
This is a grass flat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's call it.
grass
Yeah,
flat.
big
With
grass
different
flat.
types of grass
Correct.
and different.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that.
Yep. Big break
Nope,
line.
you're good.
Yep.
Flat.
Yep.
And on our way to what we thought was the juice, or it was the juice in practice before it got a lot of pressure, while we're on our way to it, Damien all of a sudden hooks up on a 4-pounder.
Yeah.
Before
Just
you get to the
before we
like,
get to the
finally we
juice.
get to the juice and
Yeah.
not even before you get there.
Yeah, so we were between spots, I guess, and all of a sudden he hooks up on, at the time, our biggest fish of the day. We're like,
Yeah.
holy smokes. And we're like looking around, we're very observant of our electronics, looking at scope 360 and everything, and it was like,
Grass was
there was not much there. Like, we're
Kind
like,
of shitty looking.
It was
we were like just kind of
Compared
casting
to
at,
the good stuff. It was only like 3 feet off bottom. Where
Yeah.
the good stuff was damn near topped out.
Right,
so
so
there
we're-
was shit grass like
Yeah.
inside, right?
yeah. But so we're just casting at like the best thing available on our way to the juice, because there was like, it was close enough where you didn't need to get the big motor.
Yeah.
casting at cabbage. Oh, there's a cabbage
Yeah.
stack.
Right. So
we joke about this. We were kind of just fishing along this break line grass flat thing. We were just cast it out, shake it, move it, shake it, let it sit.
So that was kind of like the beginning of our light bulb
Yeah.
that day. And let's call this maybe like 10 o'clock or 10:15. And, but we still think like we got to get to the juice, We just thought that was kind of a fluke maybe.
Yeah.
And so we're heading towards this,
One of the
big clump.
Big
Yeah. So we
clumps.
get there.
Good clump grass.
Right.
Coontail or milfoil?
It was foil.
Foil.
Yep. 8 or probably like 8-10 foot.
Yeah.
And
How high was it up?
the
wasn't
middle
topped
of
out.
it was almost topped out though.
Yeah, it wasn't like
But, like,
topped out where it was sitting flat on the surface,
I
but
don't
it
know,
was
2 feet?
within. I was gonna say some of it might
Right
have
up
been
to
within a
top.
foot or
It was
6 inches.
it was tall
but
enough where if it wasn't windy, that top would have been
Yep.
almost
Just
it
tickling
was
the
just-
surface.
Yeah.
How'd you catch him in practice there?
Flipping a jig.
Flipping a jig?
Yeah, just half-ounce jig right in it. Didn't And that's how I caught those first 2-3 pounders when we showed up to the.
Vocelka.
Yeah, dude, 7.3 medium heavy.
Yep.
And then, but anyway, so we get to
Anyway.
that spot and we think like, oh, we need to start flipping now, because this is how we did it in practice, blah, blah,
Thicker
blah.
grass.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yep,
So
we
we're
flip
like,
now.
Yeah.
and we get there, and it was like, which a boat had just left maybe 15, 20 minutes before, and it wasn't that good. So we're like, all right, maybe I'm sure we caught a couple out of it, but
I think
nothing
we
that
caught
we,
one out of that.
nothing that we culled or weighed in. So we're like, well, the next clump is, I don't know, for example, we'll say another 75 yards away. So we're like, well, we'll just keep the trolling. We just caught our biggest one, in between. So we'll just troll over to this next spot and cast along the way. And same thing,
Caught
cast
another 4 on that pass.
Yeah, another exactly 4 or like a 3-9
We were
or something
fishing, like,
big.
Really slow, like.
Well, it was. I don't know if we started like fishing super slow until
not at that
after
point, the next clump.
It was like it just. Long story short, it started to become evident that
This
the
was
fish were not in the juice
area.
anymore. They were
Off the edge.
off the edge because I think
Pressure had-
All those
throughout
boats would
practice
come
and
in.
then right, everybody
All the
would
lures were
gone.
hitting the juice and
Yes.
nowhere else.
Nobody was
Gone.
hitting the in between stuff, and so we were like, screw it. We're like, all right, if we kept setting these like time
Timers,
limits, just
yeah.
like probably everybody does. Like, all right, if we don't have, if we don't catch another or get another cull by 1 o'clock, we're gonna go fish these docks because Damien.
Yep.
This is how we kind of got. Damien's like, oh, there's these docks, we could see
Fuck
them.
that, I gotta catch one.
And then
Well,
we'd be
within
like,
sight,
we'd be like 10
the
minutes
hell we
from our
are.
timer, and you'd catch
all of a sudden we'd
a
cull.
3 3/4 or a 4. And we're like, wow.
So we-
now we got to keep going.
We're like, well, thank God. Yeah, exactly. We kept, because he kept like, oh, these docks are pretty good. Like, we should go check these docks,
Yeah, I'm trying to keep something on.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, we
But
wanted
Good
to
to give the man a threat.
Yeah.
Right. We did. we did want to go hit these docks, but it was like every time we threatened leaving, just like this happens probably to everybody. Boom, we'd catch one of them. We're like,
Soink.
Yeah.
and then it got to be about probably 2 o'clock, and we're like, no, we are. I don't care if we don't catch another call the rest of the day. Like, we've made.
We'll just stay here.
We just have to stay here now. Like, and we
Milk
did
it.
that the rest of the day. We milked our stuff,
And like I mean, I love fishing fast, so it was
pretty. I could see the gears
relatively
turning in his
painful
head.
for me. Relatively
Yeah.
painful.
I could see the gears turning in his head all day, but we'd catch one. He's like,
Well, gotta keep
Bearded
going.
dragon, no Jimmy? Man.
You don't like, yeah. But I'm right in my wheelhouse. I love. Like,
Oh, yeah, me too.
oh, yeah. Which
Mm.
I think growing up,
Yeah.
being real young,
I want to touch every inch of that.
yeah, I'm like,
I know, and I haven't fished with you that much, but you're like,
yeah,
Too slow.
methodical.
It's a blessing and a curse. Every
Yeah, it is.
sword has two
It
edges.
is.
Exactly.
This is a
What
tournament
can kill
where,
the man can kill yourself.
That
yeah.
would-
right? This is a tournament where, like, if you happen to be sitting there, like, it would have been bad news for us because you would have been catching
yeah,
them too.
you would have done the same.
You know,
damage.
We didn't practice at all. But I want to know like what your 1-2 punch was tournament day, because like some of the better years Dane and I've had, and I want to dig into this with Johnston and Harrison a little bit too. But like looking at like some of the better years Dane and I've had, looking back, maybe not realizing it at the time, but that 1-2 punch, throwing different things. One
Yeah.
guy, our best year, I will say this, and this is something that I think is more overlooked in team tournament fishing than I could ever speak of, is the 1-2 punch of a reactionary bait and a soaking / finesse style bait, and mixing those in on each spot, engaging the fish's mood, and also adjusting the fish's mood quicker because of that, right? And I think we can all relate to some light bulb moments with that. But to me, like, establishing in your mind with your tournament partner kind of like, and figuring out a vibe, a good vibe, a positive vibe with a 1-2 punch is something that's tough to force, right? Because sometimes, like Dane and I, we've found this, I think this is maybe cost us in later years, is we both want to throw like
same relative
yeah,
stuff.
we fish where our styles are like, I'm trying maybe more lures than him, but our styles are very similar, and one of us needs to be doing something way different, and I feel like I should probably be that guy sometimes, and I wasn't, but
So for this day,
rambling again, but
right? No, so on Gull, it was textbook, simple as it gets. Weed line, largemouth fishing.
Yeah.
I pretty much locked an eco rig in my hand.
And-
he was throwing drop shot.
And like
drop shot
Johnston
worm.
said earlier, there's always like one catch throughout the day where you're like, good decision or whatever. And we pulled up to one of our last grass clumps before we made our way to Ernie's. and I hadn't. We were flipping like 3/8 and half, pretty much.
Texas
Texas rig
5/8
and
to
jig.
3/4
Yeah.
almost, I'd say.
So you had a flip and deal, jig
Yeah.
and a Texas
Yep.
rig, and then a drop shot and
Well,
a
so I'd
Nico,
say
right?
very
Kinda?
in practice, it was way more flipping stuff.
Yeah.
By tournament day,
Like-
just given the pressure, I think it.
You have one of these
started
catches
to-
throughout every tournament if you do
Yeah.
well. It feels like
Absolutely.
pulled up to a clump and I hadn't thrown a 3/4 all day craw tube. Flip in, first flip.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Right, and it was on one of the. This was like one of the 5 that we caught that actually was on the juice. Like
Yeah.
he just, it was, and everybody had fished it that day already. He
I
just
don't
happened to.
get
Timing.
Yeah,
timing.
it was probably a
I'm
timing.
sure a lot of
yeah.
people were
You
throwing
guys have probably scared it
3/4,
back
but
to the juice.
We might
scared
have.
them back to the juice. At
Very
that
well
point.
may have. Yeah.
there's a catch
How
like
much
that
noise do
every
you make
year.
down there? Like, how much noise are they hearing when there's that many fish on
Yeah.
a flat?
Right.
Like, you ever think about that? Like,
many
how
trolling
many
motors?
fish do we move around? Like, that's something I don't think about, but it's something that's a factor,
And that's-
for sure.
That's why I feel that in between stuff was so good.
So you feel like literally the
About-
pressure around
Totally.
you moved
Throughout
those fish
practice and a
off
lot,
the
a lot more
goods
people
into
found
the-
that.
Well, right. It was like it's not like it's I'm obviously not gonna say where it was, but like it's not like it was a very like sneaky
Yeah.
spot. Like
It
or
wasn't
the,
on
the
a
flat,
stupid
the flat
Brady
itself.
line
obvious
or-
flat. If I
Yeah, very
remember right.
obvious. I mean, it's got a name and everything,
We
but
probably
it
all
wasn't.
fished it.
Yeah,
Right,
we
I'm
all
sure we
fished.
all
Well,
did,
there
but
was
it didn't.
people that
There was
fished it.
half of our house found it. Matt and Bart found it.
It's not an area that's not known. It just
Right.
doesn't look that good compared to
Until you
other
got
areas.
up close.
I don't know.
When you got up close to it.
I don't know
you've
if
been
I
like,
should
"Holy
say this,
smokes."
but like that in between stuff, like the juice was milfoil,
Yeah.
like tall
Right,
milfoil.
If there wasn't
I
boat
think-
pressure, that was the juice.
Yeah,
but there
I
was boat
think with the
so-
pressure and what I think those weeds were on the in between, it was just like young of the year milfoil.
Yeah.
It wasn't grown
When you
up
would
and
snag
bushy and nice.
it was chunks of milfoil.
but it was milfoil, so they still wanted to be there, you know.
Yeah, it's tall. Like
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Good luck out there.
I don't eat Luxor.
But
No, that's interesting, and I think those days where it all comes together are.
Well, I mean, it was.
I haven't felt
here's
it
one
in a
cool,
while, but it's
one
it's
cool
one of the best
moment
feelings
for
in the world.
one cool moment for the two of us was just like we kept going. We kept like I guess I don't know if grading is the right word, but like throughout the
Grading.
day, no grading the day, like
Oh.
how like all of a sudden we're like, boom, like we'd catch one, we'd get to a certain benchmark weight and we'd go, all right, we're in the championship.
yep,
And then we'd make another call. We're like,
little goals.
oh hell yeah, we got now we're
I think we're in the championship.
well because dude we were
that fish just put us in the championship,
Yeah, I don't-
I don't
think
because
it
we
really
were-
did.
we were close to like not making it. So it was like that was a big thing. But then it was like boom, we catch another and we're like, oh dude, that might be like top 15. Then we call again, we're like, holy smokes, that's the top 10, like no doubt. We just knew Gull, what it's gonna take to kind of get
Relative,
there.
20,
Yep.
We're not just making the
All of a
championship,
sudden-
Damien. We might just win this thing.
But then then we got to a point where it was like, boom, that's a top 5 weight. Boom, top 3.
One more.
And then I break off the biggest fish we hooked that day. Shit. Now
By
we're
far, we
now
got to
we're
see it and everything.
yeah, now we're like, well, we can't win with that's the mistake you can't
Yep.
make to win. So we
Yeah.
thought we
Yeah.
thought we shot
Doubt-
ourselves in the foot.
I know
starts
that feeling.
creeping in a little bit.
This was like 11 o'clock. We're like, we screwed it,
what if we had that one? You know,
If we had
You
yeah, we
could
kept
feel
thinking,
your deadbeat cousin just breathing down your neck at that point, I bet.
but we kept
I
like
feel bad calling you a deadbeat like that, Harrison.
But then it was like we just kind of kept having these things happen throughout the day that we were like eventually we got to the point where like we actually might win. Like this is what it feels like I think for everything to click and
Yeah.
win a tournament because other than the breaking off that fish, everything went perfect that day. It's just crazy.
It was
Crazy when
an
everything
unreal
finally
deal, for
everybody
real.
says it who wins a big tournament, but it's just like it's just crazy
You
when
just-
it all finally
Especially when
happens.
you're fishing like Wisconsin and Minnesota tournaments. All these guys have fished these lakes. It's
Right.
not easy to
that was
get a
another
win.
cool
It don't
thing for us. Yeah,
It don't
it
happen
was
every
cool to
year.
get
A lot of
definitely really
times.
cool to get a win on such a like famed lake. Like that's kind of like it's almost like a Gunnersville of Minnesota, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean like
I mean,
Minnetonka would be that, but
Outlander.
I guess what would you call a Gull of Minnesota? Like
That's
like
a
a
staple
Pickwick or
Minnesota
a-
lake. for
No.
sure.
a Smithwick of Minnesota? I don't
No.
know. Or a Smith.
No.
Smithwick is a brand.
Tonka's basically, I would just call it
I don't know. It's such a famous lake of Minnesota. Like it's a largemouth factory.
Based on the
Is that a
based on the
shake
people who
one?
take it in second, I would say it's a little more largemouth heavy Champlain like.
Sure, I guess. I'm not like trying to compare its like fishing style.
It's
I'm just
getting
saying
a lot
like,
more like Champagne with those
I want to
smallmouth.
dig into that
No,
because
well, let's not talk about those.
No, we got to.
is this where you guys don't want to talk as much?
No, I don't.
No,
Let's
I
talk
don't
more
care.
about that river.
No, I
No,
don't.
let's
it's
talk
fine.
about Gull.
Yeah, no, we
That's
can talk
enough.
about
I'm
Did
not
you have
trying to out
company
you
on
guys.
that stuff? The Smalley stuff?
On tournament.
Gull?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys-
the Petersons were. We
Really?
we held
Charlie
a
and Jay?
no. The father-son guys in the Lund.
Oh no! Thank God! Never let a Lund
Troy
beat
and
you.
something or other. Troy and
They,
Mike.
Ever.
they beat us.
Kobe
Troy, I
beats
think
us
it
all
was.
the
I think
time.
Troy's the son.
they
Mike's
took-
the dad.
Wait,
I thought
were
they
second.
No, you had.
They
what
flipped.
you
Yeah,
guys
they
have,
had second.
third?
We were
Can-
fourth.
We were fourth.
Oh.
Can we prerequisite with these Gull Lake Smallies?
Why'd
Like,
you let a
when did
Lund
that
beat you?
start
That is
becoming a thing?
unacceptable.
Were you going?
What about the?
Sorry, I didn't. hear.
Prerequisite these Smallies on
What is-
Gull because
Hell,
that's not like
prerequisite the Smalley.
a normal thing.
What do you mean?
Like the Smallies on Gull, that wasn't always a player, was it?
No,
Jesus.
not a while back. No.
How about that packaging?
What?
Come on.
Wait, what?
Show that to the camera.
Is that
Show
real?
that to the camera.
Is that real?
Yeah,
yeah.
Japanese baby.
The Smallies on Gull, like it used to, everybody was like, oh, you got to go over to Round to get them.
Right. Yep. That was what I always.
That was
heard.
one of the
And
connecting
then all of a
lakes.
sudden, people started catching them in Wilson, and then they started catching them in the main lake.
Because so are most of the derbies on
Harrison, you
Gull
can't
out of
look at
Ernie's? Like
I would
old
imagine.
enough.
Ernie's
Sorry,
really
Emma.
likes to host that stuff.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's always been a great spot to host. I don't
So-
I don't know that I've ever weighed fish in anywhere besides Ernie's at Gull.
Okay. So whenever the smallmouth started becoming popular, they were all getting released at
but-
Ernie's for the
so
most
if
part.
you look at studies, a lot of them go back, like a huge
Sure.
portion of them. So I honestly think, because I remember years
What are
and years
these
ago.
studies and where do you find these studies?
Just jump down YouTube wormholes or internet wormholes when you're bored, sitting in the chair.
I know you've been out
Having
a
a glass
couple
of whiskey.
wormholes. I
Yeah.
know you have.
a few.
As he's holding a great big
Yeah,
bait.
he's just got this meat flapper right here of something.
Is that a
Lord.
fucking? That is a fucking beef curtain bass
Look at
killer.
those
Yeah, exactly.
That is the beef curtain, baby.
The way back in the day,
You call
me
that the beef
Me and
curtain?
Al would have paid multiple dollars to have a big flipping bait like this.
The curtain of Angus.
Yeah.
Angus
That's-
beef
that's
curtain, baby.
It's a slug curtain.
That's a mop jig trailer I've seen.
That's
one.
something. But those smallies, even honestly, the
Harrison, you
amount
still
of
looking at that package?
Heck yeah.
Staring at the booty cheeks, buddy.
the amount of fish that were.
Oh,
I feel like that area that us and the Petersons were at. I don't think I don't think there's a lot of fish there. I think that's probably why it was as good as it was, as far as like
No,
the
but yeah,
size.
people.
Did you see other people
It wasn't-
besides them fishing it?
No, there was nobody else.
So it was
Well,
you
next
two.
time
I
we go, I'm
stumbled
gonna be
upon
fishing
it
it.
looking for something else for largemouth,
Yep.
and
That's how a good story starts.
I caught a smallmouth. My first one I caught off the spot was a 5.3 or
Instead of a
something.
big one.
And then I didn't have a scale, and I'm like, was curious. Called Johnston over because he was heading up that direction. Yeah,
I was kinda heading that way.
You're heading that direction. And while he was there, I stuck another one. Shouldn't have.
Oops.
5.1.
At this point, I'm ready to jump over into his boat and whap him in the head.
But you're like, it's nothing I wouldn't have done.
Well, maybe that's why I wanted to whap him in the head.
Can't be mad at him for long.
Did you catch an extra one, Johnston?
No, not on that spot.
He wanted to.
I wanted to.
He wanted
so
to
I put the
really
trolling
bad.
motor down, and I saw another one, and I had to just pull the trolling motor back up because I was going to make the cast.
Wait,
Were these bottom fish or were they?
So,
No, they were where you could see
in
'em.
practice, there was always a few of them grouped up. Few of
Wiggle
them
jig.
grouped up. They were off the bottom in practice, moving around
Sure.
a lot.
Wait, you guys weren't using the cheater box, were you?
No.
Was it the sun was out in practice? It was
Yes.
pretty
Yes.
cloudy.
Yep, they were
tournament
moving
day.
around. As soon as you cast a minnow over them, there.
Already
Oh, yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Tournament
That's
day.
what I like.
Not
Well,
the
Floors
case.
for the
it's
minnow.
not the case
Yeah,
at all.
tournament day, not the
I
case.
cast-
Never seen it.
I casted at a lot more fish on tournament day without anything.
Yeah, but how
And
many of those do you think were walleye and suckers?
Yeah, it was hard to tell.
Oh,
'Cause
the
there were-
walleyes on Gull Lake.
we pulled up tournament morning.
Healthy.
Tournament morning, pull up.
Like right away,
Walleye.
first.
First two fish I caught.
Lake is a
walleye.
fire walleye lake.
Yeah,
Oh,
shout out Hayes Baldwin for the Gull Lake walleyes.
Hop on bow
They're-
ties.
like you were saying,
head
they're
for the
so,
water and
so
just-
healthy too.
Did you just drink that with? Oh my god! That is.
I got a hair in my
It's
mouth.
great. Nice.
We're all taking piss breaks like it's our job. Now.
I know.
This break is brought to you by 3rd Street Brewhouse. Mike's over there. Can't hear it, but hey.
He's
Third-
getting
Third
takes a
Street
sip of
Brewhouse.
his drink and gets
that
gets to do a motorboat while he does
This
it.
break is brought to you by 3rd Street Brewhouse.
Yeah. This was brought to you by 3rd Street Brewhouse. 150 years brewing quality in Minnesota.
That's a radio voice right there too.
Yeah, if I ever. It's a radio.
You-
face,
you-
too.
I got a
You
face
and
for radio,
Teal.
too.
You and Teal.
Yeah, but he's more
Hey,
handsome
careful,
than I am.
ladies. He'll knock your girl up.
Just with a quick hug.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. I don't even know if you need to be erect. I think you could soft.
Soft push one.
I don't even. Yeah, I feel like you could soft push one. I feel like you could have a kid soft.
Yeah, you know.
There's few people on this earth that I think could make a kid soft, and I think
I want to know
Yeah,
the
I'll say
story
it.
behind
Yep.
this
I
one.
appreciate the utter confidence of
I
your
feel
voice.
like like you need to have like as far as pregnancy goes, you need to have like Dr. Fauci rules: 6 feet.
It's 6 feet of
Mask.
distance, no closed
Like,
doors, no
no.
closed doors.
Yeah.
But so those Gull Lakes, because there was a handful of teams that really, I mean, they had some quality bags off them.
There
And
were so many nice smallies
So
caught during
We
that
got our
tournament.
dicks kicked in.
That was the weird part. So going into Gull, my biggest fear was to get stuck at 16 pounds because I knew that would land us.
Easily could have happened. That was a big fear
Yeah.
of ours as well. Yeah.
Well, because yeah, I mean, because those are still nice fish. They're good fish to catch, and you easily could have. I mean, it would have
get one
taken
more beer,
2
Teal?
seconds to get stuck into that.
Yeah.
And I mean, at 10 o'clock, that's where we were at. I mean,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
We were catching 3-pounders, and we weren't catching anything bigger. We'd had a couple same as you guys. We had a couple stretches of docks that are what. So the first spot we went to, walleyes. So we left. We go to another spot where we had found them in practice doing a certain thing where fish were on bait, and largies even that were on like bluegills and bait.
We sat next to each other and
Yeah, no.
shook a minnow and blasted some little largies.
Yeah.
That was
Speaking
fun.
of shaking a minnow, I want to hear your best like settings or electronics tricks. If you could give somebody a tip,
Okay.
each person.
Yeah, well, why don't you start over here then? Because I'm not that guy.
Johnson's like,
I don't
look at the dock. Skip a chatterbait or a jig. 100% dock.
I mean, to my defense,
I don't.
one of the few times I've had to solely shake a minnow all day, I did beat Harry on Trout Lake.
Harry.
That doesn't count.
And I won't even give him the satisfaction of saying he shook a minnow on Wabana. I shook a minnow to catch my fish. You didn't, jerk.
Hey.
Well,
before
where I was, the
Harry-
big ones are on the bottom. So
Before Harry ever picked up a Vocelka, you set the hook, and Harry's like, "What is that?" And you're like, "That's not just any broomstick, Harry. That's a Vocelka fishing in custom.
That's the broomstick song.
That's a Nimbus 2000."
Come along.
Hey, Hayden, you guys don't have Harry Potter?
I'm a Harry
Potter
Potter nerd.
Thank you.
Yeah, they
We're-
don't.
I
yeah.
got it.
never
Are you
read
kidding
it
me?
or
If you're
watched
30
it.
to 35 years old, you know what I'm
We
talking
aren't
about.
fishing tournament. I need
Harry
tournament
Potter
partner
nerd.
applications. I found out
That's
my
not just
partner
any
is a
broomstick,
Harry Potter
It's a
nerd.
Vocelka fishing in custom.
Nerds.
Well, that same rod that gave us an absolute heart attack on Mille Lacs, Harry decided to just stomp to death
Oh yeah.
on
that Gull?
You
Yeah.
broke a Vocelka for
Oh,
fun?
He
should
well,
go to
Not
jail
for
for that.
fun.
It wasn't for fun. It's just he's not a little
passionate.
kid, and I've never understood running in the boat.
Oh,
And he
it
took
was an accident.
some very
Zach walked
brisk
backwards.
steps. Let's
He's
say.
a runner. He's a
I was
and
gonna
just
say
bashed, and partially my fault.
we
I
will
did,
press charges
ask
for an
him.
intentional Vocelka break.
Ask where he had the rod
We will
sitting.
press
It was
charges.
up against the passenger seat, but it was out away from the gunnel.
No, it
And
was
he-
over the middle between the seats, leaning up.
Oh, that's
there.
the death
Don't
zone
let
now.
facts get in the
Yes.
way of a good
Trust
story
me,
here.
after. No. I know how this went down. It's like, oh, hold on. I was trying to go to your right there.
No. So we pull
Okay,
up
fish
on,
it in. Oh, I want to use this one now.
we pull up on a very, very community spot, or and I throw out there, stab one, and this long, skinny, black,
I'm good for now.
smallmouth just erupts from the water. I mean, this thing.
It jumped like 6
best
feet in the air. I
description.
swear.
It was
Johnston Westmoreland.
ridiculous.
Yep.
I mean, it was like Shaka Khan coming out of the water, and I told him but he probably didn't hear me because of the splash and the noise this thing was making. But I'm like, not gonna help because I mean I knew it was.
What
a
was the
3-pounder.
bite like? Describe that.
You don't even know who Shaka Khan is.
Butthole. Was it like clubbing a baby seal?
My
It
dad
was like
loved
clubbing.
Shaka Khan.
It buttholed an elastomer.
Yes.
And
It's Shaka Khan, that elastomer, dude.
yeah, Shaka Khan.
Is it just a couple of
That is,
Johnston's
like,
favorite
the best
words?
fucking line from like I'm gonna use this, dude. I Shaka Khan'd like 45 bats today. They were Shaka Khanning my motherfucking jig.
Do you remember
Like
when
Shaka Khan on Shaka Khan?
Do you remember when DK Metcalf
Khan is? I have
chased
no
down
clue.
Buda Baker?
Oh,
Oh
man.
yeah, from 10 yards back.
Hell yeah.
And ran him down.
You don't know who Shaka Khan
Me
is?
and Harrison have no clue.
That's what
idea.
I'm imagining. That's
No
what
idea.
Smalley did to my bait. But
I've heard it before. I just don't know think who I
Oh,
the
have
hell
too.
that is.
We're gonna play Hayden Shaka Khan.
so he's going back for the net,
How do you spell
and the rod was just in harm's way, and he blows this thing into. I mean,
I
steps on
just
the strongest
stomped
part
it.
of the
Just stomped it.
into the floor, and I'm like, oh.
We
well.
We got to end the podcast with Johnston phrases.
Yes.
But I mean, he just blows this thing in half, and then doesn't. It winds up. I knew it wasn't gonna help right away. And I mean, it was a nice smallie, but it was on a weed flat with a bunch of.
Sure, is he a
lines.
musician?
Shaka Khan.
Is he a musician?
Shaka Khan. Oh,
What
look
is
at
going
Shaka Khan.
It's a girl?
Yeah. Not even spelled like you think it was.
I didn't know it was a woman. How should we know what this is?
Shaka Khan.
I assumed this was like. I assumed it was like a movie or like. So there's a lot of movies I've never seen.
Never heard Shaka Khan?
See, Damien,
When does the song
I-
copyright?
yeah.
Copyright.
Good stuff.
Ain't nobody. Shaka Khan in them
Yeah,
ass,
he
baby.
The best
definitely-
description.
He blasted that rod, and then I even tried to use it on the next spot with the butt just hanging there all
All limp and flaccid like.
Yeah. I would have had to push one in on that one.
Flaccid.
Yeah,
All limping.
straight soft.
Soft serve, yep.
Hey,
But,
man. Soft
whatever you
works
gotta
for
do.
you. Not for anyone else. But
luckily, we
some of us have to get hard.
we made a couple of adjustments. Went and talked to the Petersons. Well, they caught 2 4-pounders, but luckily we caught a 5 and change.
Yeah, that helped.
That helped a lot.
Shaka Khan.
The fish were definitely less like. They were much harder
That
to
was-
see.
I've said it a couple times. That's another tournament where we had not windy, sunny
No.
bluebird days. Tournament day, cloudy,
Yep.
front blowing in. There was a lot of that this year. and,
How
like,
fun? How fun was practice on Gull?
Man, you could catch them at will. That
It
place
wasn't that I wasn't trying to win practice. I
so
can tell you
healthy,
that.
and I know
Where?
a lot of people have said that, but
I was
But,
the
like,
only
planning
guy
for
that
change
didn't
in a
smash on the
tournament, like, to
largemouth.
me,
So I was
that-
looking
that's
for
something like-
some stuff.
Like some of the better tournament years I've had has been anticipating change,
Adjustments,
right? And
yeah. And everybody's gonna say that.
adjustments. Like I remember fishing against Shane Raveling as a kid, and like it'd be like you'd talk to him after the tournament and be like, "Oh, it's fucking cold in the morning," and like it's warm the last couple mornings, and I figured we're gonna pull up like they have been, and like just anticipating those things is something I think when you guys do that and when people do that, you deserve a lot of credit for that.
Yeah.
Because I think you could try to do it and fail, like a lot of people do that, like and it's not as easy as it is
Gull was
saying it on a
definitely-
podcast.
Gull was definitely an adjustment because, like, our main largemouth pattern evaporated.
It was
It
gone.
was gone.
were you guys throwing the chicken at all? That in practice
In
was
practice
no,
in
but
the
I bet you we
morning.
could have
Really
caught the
good.
fish you're fishing
In the
for.
mornings
chicken.
from, I would say, till you got out
Before
there
that
till about
sun got up
9:30,
above
10
the
o'clock.
treetops.
Well,
Yep.
The chicken bite in practice was good all year, but chicken bite tournament day?
trash.
The opposite
They
of
follow
Chaka
it.
Khan.
And then they follow it. Well, are you taking that fish off? You could have caught with a drop shot or a
100%.
or a
Right.
jig
You're
worm.
fucking it
they're-
up, probably.
They want to eat, but they swam out after your
Moving
big-
baits
When me and you
did
ran
not
each other
play
down
for
the
me.
It's like an
steamboat.
A rig with smallmouth. Like if they're not on it, they're just gonna follow it, and you're kind of screwing yourself
It's a
on that
nugget,
spot.
dude. That's a
Yeah.
nugget.
Yeah,
Like,
everybody
you're
throws A rig
100%
first all the time.
No, but that
Throw an A rig first on every spot all the time, or
No,
a deep
dude.
diving crankbait just right away.
First thing you throw.
Burn it. Yeah.
you're such a bitch. Like no,
Well, everybody knows sarcasm. They know what I'm saying.
I
right
obviously don't. But I
Okay.
do know Shaka Conning some bass. That's a good
and I
feeling.
don't. And I don't. Me and Harrison
Don't
are
know
like,
who that
"What?"
is.
Nope.
You know, swipe right, Snapchat, swipe left.
We're too young.
I'd have put $500 on the fact that Shaka Khan was a woman
But
or
so-
a dude. I
so
would
you-
have.
Davey just
I
loved
love
every
it.
minute of
Great.
it.
That's Johnston.
But back to it. You caught him good on the chicken in practice too.
I didn't practice for goal.
You didn't? Were you guys
in the
throwing
practice
it?
for chance
didn't
tour,
throw it at all.
The tournament
You didn't
before,
throw it at all?
month before that.
Me
Colorado
and
chicken.
Corn Dog, shout out Corey Hauk. We pulled up on the same spot a couple times,
Yep.
and we were both picked it up and looked at each other like, and you'd catch fish on it.
Look
Like,
at each other
in
like,
practice,
"Ah."
it was great. Cover water, see bass, but tournament day, whatever the weather was, it changed.
Bagging. That's what we're gonna call it next year. You know, we got peanut and then.
How many did you
We'll
bag
just-
today?
I'll say we'll just look at each other. You bagging them? Yeah, you bagging them.
Bagged a couple.
Yeah, I'm bagging them.
Oral?
It's it's kind of like fucking around and finding out, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Hey,
Bagging
Nobody
'em.
knows what that means.
oral?
We gotta keep it that
Oral.
way.
Oral.
Well, you guys probably know what.
The close people know that
Yeah.
one.
Scrotum?
Yeah.
Dicking
No. What?
You
when
dicking them?
Oh,
fuck around and find out
Oh, yeah.
means a certain bait.
does. I don't know what that is. I think so I do, but I forgot.
You probably do.
Back here.
I don't know what he's doing there.
Some
is
some
he-
hand signals
Is he
going on
seizuring
here.
behind me? Is he
Johnston
okay?
knows. Well, we just need to
Yeah.
be able to say that in front of
Yeah.
anybody, and
I mean,
The
you know, only
masturbate.
the people who know the inside joke
The
know what you're
masturbate.
talking about.
The
You can talk
masturbate.
about.
you could talk
The
about it.
masturbate.
Yeah, you can talk about the
'cause
pattern.
This guy, he fishes it just different than everybody,
No.
and everybody,
Now he digging.
everybody who's like,
Yeah, now everybody who knows
Knows
Johnston
him?
knows what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
So, right, we all have autism.
you
Hayden
probably
is
still aren't
rigging.
gonna do it.
We all have autism.
Yeah.
Hayden is rigging.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yours is speed trolling.
speed,
Speed
Mine's
trolling.
speed.
Trolling with a reef runner.
covering water.
Harrison, what is your autism?
sure.
Would you say?
I don't know. The thing Johnson always gets mad at me about is casting at something when I'm just miles away still. I'll just barely see it on scope, and I'm
That's
like,
120 feet out.
yeah, yes.
What do you say, Johnston? Bark at him. Harrison just cast it at something too far away.
Harrison has an offensive coordinator. Coach, we're going to throw the Hail Mary. Dude, we just threw that.
We gotta. He goes.
It catches me
Favre on him
fish
right away.
sometimes, though.
He just throws that fucker as far as he can. Every time.
What do you say under your
Triple
breath?
coverage.
Just, everybody quiet.
Take the ball deep, take the top
Harrison.
off the defense. Straight
Harrison
cash
makes
only.
the cast into triple coverage. What do you think?
I'm trying to
I don't
think.
say anything. I think he just hears.
Because you know you cast it and you're like, oh, it's far enough for sure.
Yep.
No way, dude.
Well, 'cause,
no
like,
way.
With a spinning rod, like a far cast is like 90 feet.
Okay, I have it set at
well, right, but I'm not talking about a hair jig.
I have it
Shout
set
out
at
to Southern
100,
Fishing
Yes,
Customs
sir.
hair
and I
jig rod,
cast it when I
120
can
feet.
see it.
Set up
Yeah,
properly.
he does. He'll rip him off right.
Dude,
So
it's 'cause
that's-
I used to catch.
that's your
I would
autism.
get-
The beam at that length is so
Yes.
wide too. It's tough. Like you could be.
Harrison,
on
what were
him,
you
but
thinking
you're-
casting that far?
Well,
dude?
that's
That
why
is
Johnston
unbelievable.
throws through.
I grew up fishing
That's why they both
cribs,
throw.
and you can hit a crib at 100 feet.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
And that's what I would do. As soon
When
as
he
I see
misses,
it, I'd freaking.
I adjust my.
You don't need
my
to
thing
see
by
your
his
bait
splash.
hold over a
Johnston could
crib.
hit a
You
new
could
kid
just-
at 100 feet.
No, it's
So-
gotta be a little closer.
Since we're on that, what's your magic distance if you're using live scope at a piece,
60.
piece of structure?
45 feet. I
Oh,
feel
you mean
is
like So what are you asking? Where you cast at
45 is
something?
such like
Where
an
you
efficient
cast at
number.
something.
6-0.
Oh yeah,
60 to 70.
Yeah,
I'd
60.
say-
Yeah.
Actually, I'd say 70 to
70 to
80 for
80.
me.
But I don't
70
want
to
to
80.
interact with them.
Target 60, lure 70. It's kind of my.
I'm a 70 to 80 guy.
Target
for
70,
my baits
lure
around
80.
that
Because
zone.
as
Okay.
long as it's not, kind of ripping
Right.
out there, you can whip a 1/8 ounce pretty good.
Yeah.
And your beam's still not crazy wide at 80. Like
Well, I mean, you
Sure.
can tell when you pan it back
Yeah.
and forth.
You
when
can
you
make
get the
those
bright,
micro
Yeah,
pans.
you get the bright return. You know that's
You
dead
guys
on.
use more PS3 or Xbox? Fucking fags.
I grew
grew up
up
on
in
a
the
farm.
good time
Come on.
Xbox,
Cut.
buddy.
God damn it.
Gonna get canceled.
I've said it before he left it.
What?
Fag.
Oh,
You
yeah,
said
dude.
it, I didn't even catch
say
it.
I did.
I'm full support for that. I love that word.
Bag of sticks. Or a stick.
Cigarette.
Yeah.
You want to hack a
Dude,
hoon or
oh,
what?
man.
I think gay's a good word too. Happy. You guys are so gay and married today. You gay and married bastards.
I love all the worst words.
Yeah.
I'm a comedy fan, so those words
that's
don't
true,
offend me.
that's true.
I think it's funny.
Do you, yeah, people are too offended nowadays.
Dude, it's terrible. But it's coming back.
But I want to get in depth. I want to
Thanks to
dig
comedy,
into
it's
your
coming
inner
back.
autism on a chatterbait.
Well, that's
I just if
is
they
a
were-
different world.
off
that-
reservation.
I was honestly a little upset at Mille Lacs that I totally missed that because like me and him went out there once and I had a little bit of fun on it and I've had fun on it out
On
there
the
in
effort
the
on Find
past.
Out.
Yep.
Yep.
And it I mean if I can catch him on it that I don't
What, one Mille Lacs or what we were doing?
no just the fact that Duno was
Oh,
mashing him on it,
okay.
and
okay.
a couple other people that we talked to were
Duno was
mashing him.
excited.
Yeah.
He was pumped up.
The fact that I didn't even
Silent killer.
He's a silent killer.
like I
One of the funniest
missed
dudes.
it. Oh,
that
dude.
guy.
Chapman can one line you to death.
Yep.
Duno can
those
also
those two
come right in.
Those two together
have
you
the
don't have-
most fun times too
I would-
on the trail or in Minnesota when
If
they
I could
fish
share a
tournaments.
spot with anybody during a tournament, it'd be those guys.
Dino is. I'm so happy he doesn't fish Champs Tour.
Oh,
He'd be good at
He's
that.
the fishiest dude I know.
Yeah.
He's
He
the,
is,
He's
dude.
the best.
And he's rolling down the lake in that
Besides
badass
Johnston,
Phoenix.
Yeah,
he's the
that
best
purple
fisherman no
Phoenix.
one knows about.
He is, really is.
He
Yeah,
is.
man.
He-
He's
he's-
very
he's-
quiet. Like he's one of those guys that's not on like Facebook, Instagram. He's very
Yep.
quiet.
No, he lets his
reserved.
rod do the talking.
For
and he
sure,
just-
dude.
He
Oh,
catches them
catches them.
everywhere he
Yeah.
goes. Yeah.
When
He like, you know, he
such a
reminds me
nice
of a
guy,
young
too.
Harrison
Best, dude.
Nelson and just aged. You know? Like, just catches them everywhere he goes. You know.
I miss him.
A
Call
young
me, call me
Harry.
when you hear this.
I don't
Dino.
catch him
Yeah,
at
I miss your voice.
I'm only human, Harry.
I'm excited. I feel like the one of the first times I met Duno was probably not a.
You got
good look
arrested.
on me. No, not a good look on me.
He's
no,
a cop. He's a
I,
cop.
I was cutting him and Chappie off on a rock.
famous bowler
Robbie
story.
wouldn't even make eye contact with
You
him.
brought that up.
I can.
I thought we were past that.
No, I still get pride for it.
Oh, yeah.
And you know
that was
I
a
deserve it.
cold-blooded move.
That
I'm
was
glad I
cold
didn't
blood.
have to deal
You
with
gotta
that.
have
this year.
one of them.
So-
You
once
heard
in
about
a
it,
while.
though?
So
Oh,
if,
yeah.
if
Oh, yeah,
somebody's
everybody's
fishing a boulder,
And there's another boulder.
A
that
singular
means,
boulder.
that
right?
means you can't fish it.
I didn't. I didn't fish his, but the other one was not far enough away to justify.
What is that distance? Just so me and Hayden know.
I could have
Oh.
probably fucking poked Tyler in the ear when I
Oh.
drove by his boat.
Hey,
Ours wasn't
hey,
that
hey,
close, but it wasn't much
When
further.
you were pulling up, though, you were playing this.
And Duno got pregnant after.
You know what?
He did have a kid shortly after.
At least he took a plan B after we drove.
You
by
didn't
him.
hug his wife or anything, did
No,
you?
I
Dude,
don't think so.
thank God Dino had that kid. He fished like less tournaments.
Yeah.
He'd take our money in.
He did.
I remember on Big Stone,
Silent killer.
he was on the same patterns, and we got inevitably bit by the same bug tournament day.
On what lake?
Big Stone.
Oh.
We crossed each other, and we blatantly saw what each other was throwing. I was like, yeah.
Was it the
You're
FNL?
fu-
and
oh
Find
yeah.
Out? Yeah.
And
it
I was
the
like,
FNL
"Are you
Find Out.
fucking him up?" And he's like, "I am wrecking him."
He usually is.
And he's
always-
good
and
about
I-
no
I
very
hook,
much
but he's
believe he
always
was.
catching them.
Yeah,
he's,
yeah, he
he's
is.
good about no hook, but he's always catching them.
He was.
He so at Tatanka Cicada, I was in the same area as him, and I was idling away, and all of a sudden my motor started shaking. I'm like, whatever. Threw it in reverse, thought it was weeds. It's still shaking, after I did the.
And I
Fucking Skeeter.
I'm like, what in the hell is going on? You know, shut my key off, look back. I got a big old
Lot of shit.
dock rope or whatever. I'm like, I know I can't move my motor, so I'm trolling over to Dino. And I'm like, I don't know, 30 yards from him. And all of a sudden I watch his rod go boink. And I could see him. He's like hiding it, you know, and I'm trolling up to him because he's the only guy I know in the area. And he's like, did you just watch that? After he realized who I was, he's like, you just watched that? I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, that wasn't a small one. And then he just got the rope out of my boat, but he's always catching them.
So-
He's
Sneaky.
sneaky.
Another one of those nice dudes too.
It's not rigged straight enough.
Yeah, you've never met. somebody
There's
who's
the
just
anal
so-
in him.
Yeah.
Hey, that's my Skywalker.
That was
I remember that kid met me at a seminar. That kid watched me
Do
skip.
we need to run it back real quick
that,
for everybody
that
to
kid
know?
watched me skip under a willow tree for 20 minutes straight.
I
I've
did.
heard
Yeah,
that story
I
a
did.
few
Yeah, I
times.
was saying.
Yeah, that reminds me of your flat deal just on like a shallow or microscopic level.
It was totally.
But like the general thought process, like I was so proud. Hear that?
I that's under a tree or under like a cast thing, like to let something
Hayden and I never
soak that
fished-
long.
But you wouldn't do that every day. But it
No.
was just, why did that feel right? And I
On
guess
Gull?
I admit no that day.
Oh,
we
to me
fished-
it didn't feel right. You did it all.
No, it felt
But
right. It needed to happen.
No, for you it felt right. I didn't know nothing about it, so I was
At
sitting
the
there
time-
like, when are we gonna leave this?
at the time.
like,
Don't even
we
look
pull up
at
to that
it.
tree and I'm like, okay,
I'm
we
throwing
made
a weightless Texas rig bait, and this willow
Yep.
tree is the size of this thing,
Good
right?
side story after
And
this.
we need to catch a. Then there's one 4-pounder that lives in this willow tree, and
and he knew it, but I didn't. So I'm like,
they're on him, and we need to put that worm in front of its mouth. Mm-hmm. And that can take a lot longer than people
right.
think.
And I'm like,
Like
I think
it's
I was
dirty water, and you're using a ribbed worm.
Right. And I'm like, I think I'm 17 at the time, so I didn't know much, but I'm just like, what are we like? We made 5 casts under this tree. What are we doing still?
That's what I'd be like. I'd be like,
so I'm
"Come
like,
outta
like,
here."
when are we gonna go to the next tree? There's nothing under here. Well, 15 minutes later, he sets the hook, and I'm like, holy smokes, I gotta get the net. And sure enough,
4-pounder.
4-pounder, and we tied for first that tournament. Lost the big fish tiebreaker, but
Oh, weird. I've done that with somebody on the stage.
yeah,
But-
it was me. He lost to me.
I got a question here, and this will get Hayden going. But how do you guys fish a Senko? I know how you do now,
Oh, this
Teal,
is actually really
but
fun.
I gotta know, how do you fish a Senko? Am I doing it wrong, or
He's doing it wrong. He's not doing it wrong because he catches.
so
the
Are you
tally?
taking a minute with your fucking?
Johnston has to answer last.
The tally says I'm
because-
doing it wrong.
Johnston has to answer
Except-
last because he
except
doesn't
for-
fish a Senko.
If you're doing
Docks.
if you're doing it fast, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, hold up here.
90% of the
make-
time.
Are you talking spinning rod or casting?
Spinning rod,
Yeah.
like
So we're
you're
gonna
just
go
trying
one-
to catch
one-
bass.
One after the other here,
On a
real quick.
Senko.
Starting with Teal here. How do you like make your cast
Wacky
to
or
a
Texas?
wacky rig?
Throw it. Open your bail. Wait a lot longer than you typically would to close your bail.
Sure.
Set your fucking rod down.
Okay. Now Harrison, how do you
Pick it up when you feel like it. But it depends how
I've
shallow it
seen Harry
is.
fish the
But it
Senko
depends how
before.
shallow it is.
Yep. And then Harrison.
Depends where we're at, but
It depends how
Well,
shallow
but just
it is.
day in and day out,
Day
if you're
in,
throwing
day
out.
out.
I'll
Senko,
cast it out. Let
wacky
it
rig.
make sure it hits bottom. You
Yep.
better freaking make sure.
It takes longer than you think.
Yep.
Yep.
And you let it sit there for
Yep.
a little while.
Yep.
At least 5 seconds. Like you have to make sure it's on the
Yeah.
bottom, and then
Shake it, lift
do
it up.
you?
on the
shake it,
bottom,
lift
yeah.
it, shake,
Do
shake
you
it.
want a shaka
Like
Khan one?
give it a couple shakes, let it fall back down. Maybe do that a few more times and reel it in.
Yeah. And then so to
And then you
Confirm.
shaka.
so I do the same thing.
'Kay.
Johnston doesn't fish a Senko.
So, but when I have fished a Senko, I'll throw it out there, and when I think it's like mid, I'll shake.
Okay, so we're
And
starting.
then
No
it's,
way.
Let's
flowing.
go.
That's what-
What kid do you make fish a Senko? First, second, first, or 37?
So I don't know about a Senko, but my daughter, my oldest daughter, if you put
it's like I don't fish a Senko. I
it-
make one of my 37 kids fish a Senko.
if you put a Maxent General on a drop shot, she will
Underrated Senko.
She
Sorry.
will
Not wrong.
she will eat a snack, grab a little bit of juice, and then just
bow up on one.
I got one.
Yeah, Dad, I got
See?
one.
But so what we're
That's
so
how
we're
you
getting
fish a
at is
Senko.
so we're
That's how you
mid.
fish a Senko, dude.
We're mid Mille Lacs tournament.
Well, now you just outed what we were just the whole thing we were avoiding
Sorry.
earlier. Cut
Well.
that brief moment.
No,
We're
I'm
mid
leaving
blank
that,
turn.
you
Cut,
fuck.
cut.
It's fine.
Please
like,
cut.
The Senko.
Well, we worked
No
really
cut.
hard to
Yeah,
avoid
we
that
did.
earlier.
I'm sorry.
Nobody's
worked
gonna
really
believe you
hard.
anyway.
But
I'm
so
leaving
we're
that.
mid.
Really?
Fuck it, whatever. I don't
Yeah,
care.
we're and that's a timing
6
thing
inch
too.
Senko is
Whatever, yeah.
really
Yeah, yep,
overloaded.
7, 8 inch even.
Yep.
6-7 inch
I've caught a
Senko.
lot of fish on a sink.
Like the
Smallmouth?
big minnow thing's
We-
getting popular. What a lot of people don't understand
Hey,
is how big a
yeah, stick-
Senko these smallmouth are eating.
10 inch.
Stick on stomach for a second.
Yeah.
We're mid tournament.
Yep.
Yes, good
We're
story.
both fishing this
How do
wacky
you
rig.
fish a Senko?
We just went through that.
Shakes the fuck out of it. He shakes that thing like a beetle.
Go.
Teal
Mid-tournament.
knows the worst thing for me is to just cut me off mid-story, and it just drives me fucking bonkers.
Did you guys
So-
notice a pattern?
Yes,
with this
dude, I was.
podcast?
Holy
yeah.
smokes!
Didn't
But
you
anyway,
say
No,
we
but
shouldn't
this
cut
is
each other
this
off?
is a good one. This is
So
a
we're
great
mid.
one.
We're mid tournament. We're both fishing a Senko, and I'm watching him, and I'm like, dude. He would sink like 2 feet, and he just starts shaking it. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah,
Here's
but
the
he's
thing.
catching fish all throughout practice. Like, we both like.
I'd start throwing just fruit at him.
Well, it was just hilarious because it was like I was throwing it, let it hit bottom, lift it up, let it hit bottom,
exactly.
let it up, let it hit
Most
bottom.
Johnston did
Right.
it a little bit different, but
But majority
let
of
it hit
people,
bottom, and I mean I do that like under docks, but like day in and day out, I don't
I'm
let
gonna
that
take your man card for throwing a fucking Senko on.
I don't I don't throw that
gonna
Senko
cut
and let
his
it
beard.
get more than 2 or 3 feet deep. Day in and day out since I was 12 years old.
I'm gonna out something,
Yeah.
and you're not expecting this from me right now. But when I was a kid,
You like a butt plug?
when I no, never tried it, so I couldn't tell you if I like it or not.
Sure.
Never
So
tried
you're
it.
gonna assume no though.
Like
A pretty good assumption.
no, not necessarily. You know, I'm adventurous. Not that adventurous typically though.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, there was a trick Sean Hagg had, one of my mentors, and he called it the stupid Senko trick.
Does this story get good?
It's called the SST. You're not going to appreciate this, Hayden. I'm sorry. This is my sympathizing story to Damien. The trick is you throw the Senko out, you don't even let it sink,
Yuck.
and you just
I've caught a lot
you
of
just
fish like
twitch
that.
it on top.
How many times in
Well,
shallow water
I believe
and you
it,
keep
but-
it
I know
on
what you're
top.
about to say.
Like
Yeah,
that
I-
before.
How many times in
And-
shallow water in the spring have you had one as soon as it hits the water?
No, but then you'd fucking keep working it, and it just
Yep.
ooze on top.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the
And
same
it's like
thing it
that
does
floating
2
worm.
or 3 feet down.
That's why I do the mid shake.
And
Especially
then
Especially
like if they're looking at it, you give it a.
Especially
And he would catch
smallmouth, they're
fish
so
doing it.
fucking. They're so.
Well,
and
like,
Mark Shirley and I, we were kids. We'd be like, "Yo, did you catch him on the SST? Stupid Senko trick." And like, it was a sneaky thing. Like
Yeah.
at the time, and I cannot tell you the last time I've even tried it. But
right. But it makes you
Damien's
think you
not
want to-
wrong. It's just a matter of there's not a wrong
No,
way to
that's
fish a
just it.
Senko.
No,
It's just what are the
absolutely.
Well, that's what we.
percentages?
That's what
the
we figured out
percentages-
that day. Is like
In my mind, the percentages, the way I fish a Senko, I will catch them more often than
right.
Hayden, do
your
you
average
remember
bear,
talking
because
about it?
the
There was a
Senko catches
certain way
fish
I
on
was
its own
I was
without
kind of
any-
working it.
So you kind of
like
rip it away
wacky
from them,
style,
right?
Like
Yeah.
a little bit of shake.
Make 'em
yeah.
chase
So you
it.
could see them on scope up
Yeah,
shallow.
you had to
and
make
would-
them chase it.
Because there was a lot of times where you would.
Scoping is to me
Yes.
the situation.
Well, because you'd be done with your cast, you'd go to reel it in, but they'd chase it right to the boat, and you're like,
vibrating
holy,
back.
exactly. So
That's
you
those
quit,
little
and then they'd
clues
eat
that
it.
might go
So there was
unnoticed
little
throughout
things
a
you
day.
could notice.
That's juicy, dude.
You would notice those things where you kind of like pull
That's
it away
a-
from them.
I
It was
would
like you
rip it
restarted your cast.
That day they
yeah.
liked it ripping it away from them. I'd let it get
Really?
down right next to them.
So scope would tell you that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Take
Think
that,
about
Randy
the vibration
Blockett.
when
you don't know
pull
that.
it. Wacky though. Like that's a good amount of. That's like a fucking.
It's like a ball sack.
Like you,
Good.
it's going
That's a
like
Vic
this.
slap. That's a
Yeah.
freaking
Go.
mushroom stamp. If I've ever seen it.
Where'd our toy go?
I threw it to Hayden. He lost it.
If they didn't eat it on the first drop,
that
Money.
that was the deal.
We've said that a couple
New one
times
to play
tonight. That
with.
first cast
like
is
that
so
color. It's
huge.
important.
Yeah, it's green pumpkin.
No,
Why don't I have this?
it's Kushaburi. Because you didn't grab it. And
Is
I
it in
couldn't
the box?
There's 2 boxes, and it's in the.
How much are these?
There's 1 box that's green pumpkin black and 1 not. That's the twerking lure. I got that from Beck. Shout out Kyle Becker. Beck got me that. I put it on the back of a chatterbait. Didn't catch a bass, but my God.
I bet you.
I bet. So anybody who says like, oh yeah, Japanese lures are dumb. No, I tried the twerking lure. If dumb lures are supposed to catch them, I'd have caught them on the twerking
This
lure.
could catch fish
Threw
though
that dumb bass.
in the spring.
Oh,
You put this.
yeah.
You put this on the back of chatterbait in the spring around us.
You
they
could
are,
catch a bass.
You can catch anything on a chatterbait in the spring.
I caught one with 3 strands on it, no trailer this spring.
How fun is
They
it to just
didn't
have a
care.
Z-Man with like no skirt material left?
It's vibrating.
Mm-hmm.
Which way would you rig this though?
Legs
through
legs
there,
in the back.
for sure.
Oh no,
Legs in the back.
legs in the back.
Pulling the legs
Just
towards
kicking,
you.
like-
You want to make eye contact with that back end.
Man, what a thickie. Super dick.
Here we go.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Johnston, what's some
Head
life
first.
advice you'd offer like
scissoring.
the general public?
Life advice.
Yeah, general life advice, like philosophies to live by.
Oh boy, we are too many beers deep in for this.
This is when you get the best advice.
That's one of the best advice.
Yeah, that's true.
This is
That's
how you
true.
know
The
it's
advice I
pure
just got about
honesty,
Senko
speaking from the
fishing
heart.
was-
So
pretty good.
the best advice I've ever received, and it was actually really funny, was my old fishing partner Al. As a couple of friends of ours had stopped at the garage. We were pre-rigging for a tournament, and there were some young, very class act gentlemen, and I mean that with the absolute soul of my heart. But they were about to do some debaucherous things. Did I slide that one in there? Good, debaucherous.
Yeah, I think that's at
It's a
least
favorite.
close.
It's a famous
Yeah.
Johnston word.
And
Barbaric.
Yes,
That's the one.
Al had told them a story that's very inappropriate for a podcast. And but we were
Not
oh
this
no,
one.
Oh no, it's
Oh,
that bad. It's,
Okay.
that bad.
This might be
But
illegal.
he's like, you know
never
what?
mind.
You know what? If you do something stupid, if you do something this, that, or the other way, fucking own it. Just own it. Like what? You can't change it. You might as well fucking own it.
Right.
You know, it's saying like you guys earlier were like, oh, you know, you're ousting yourself for winning practice on Big Stone. Yep, I fucking did it.
I want to think
I
that
want the
doesn't matter,
shit
but
out of fucking.
with so much social media around there, I mean, you got something to yourself for a couple weeks or until you
Yep.
tell. It's
I hate
eventually
social
going to
media.
get out there. I mean,
Social media is really
it's
dampered
good and
fishing.
My
bad.
best day
Good
of
and
fishing
bad. It's
this
how we
summer,
met.
I didn't
Yeah,
post on
you know?
social media.
Yep.
No
It's-
one will see the pictures. It was the best day I had.
We'd like to see the picture.
I have some, but I don't. Is that what it's about?
It's good and
Like,
bad.
is that what it's about?
No,
it's
no,
not what
no,
it's
no.
about to me, man.
No.
Like, I'm
It's-
not. I'm making this
but, like-
podcast because it's fun, but I'm not like.
Damien,
When
quit
I
posting
caught a
pictures. of
fucking
your
almost
7-pounder.
30-pound bag this year. Didn't post a
stop
fucking lick
I'm just
about it.
kidding.
We
got
still
one
had
more
fun.
down
No,
the
I had
Shit
fun.
No,
out
I'm
of it, yep.
joking.
I don't want like because it's a. You have to pay money to fish the lake.
Look at
So
that
it's
guy
like, I don't
behind
have
you.
pride in it.
Look at the guy behind you. How much stuff did he have
Kevin.
to himself in secret for
Kevin
for more than a year? Yeah.
before live.
guy was-
His prime was before
that was-
Bassmaster Live. Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the best.
Yeah.
And I think he just did a podcast with Zona and said something about that. Like
I was thinking about
before social media, like how much stuff did he had for more than a year or two?
I was listening to a podcast with KVD today, going to the Dollar General to get us snacks earlier, and he was talking about, man, I remember the first Bassmaster Live. It was the classic on Lake Hartwell. It was the first classic I didn't make.
This is the one I
It was
saw.
the first classic I didn't make, and I just remember seeing, wow,
Nothing's secret anymore.
no, and come to find out, we all thought he won all that money on,
On a
a
6XD,
and it was a hair
hair
jig.
jig.
Oh, actually?
A
Yeah.
lot of it.
He had,
Funny. I
dude,
didn't
he had
know
so,
that. I didn't
like,
listen to that.
He's
a
the
big hair jig.
best natural fisherman ever,
So,
probably. Natural.
Like
No
that's so
electronics.
gangster.
Go out and figure it out.
Yep.
Well, he had electronics.
Yeah, yeah.
Side
but
imaging.
not like
So
what
he was
we
one of the
have.
first people
He
that
was the
360.
waypoint guy. Like
Yeah.
the way
I
Dave
thought he
and I
was-
did good was the KVD
when he
style
won that one
dot,
down in Louisiana.
casting
Yeah.
angle.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
360.
like pull up, throw here. Like this is my angle. Dots. He would have 100 dots on a reef as.
But he
boat,
knew what each one meant,
And I
and
throw
it was
from
all
here to
boat
here.
position.
And well, Yep. And he was a
And
wizard
at that
with
time,
that.
it was probably hit as many of the dots as you can for the most part.
Right.
Like,
Bump
you-
a 6XD, second pass through, bump
Yeah.
like that hair jig. So. Got him.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about fishing. Like, you can do it any way you want. Like me, it's cover water, hit as many spots as you can.
Well, not to mention, Kevin Van Dam, talk about divorce rates, loyal to his wife.
Oh,
Harrison? Yep. You can aspire to be anything. That chick you met in 5th grade or whatever, like fucking whoever that chick is, like you could, like Kevin married that chick, so
Yep.
and never left her
Yep. He did.
ever.
Hopefully that's
Even
same
like,
with me.
House might have burnt down. She might have even cheated on him.
Okay, that.
Too far.
While he was away at war, the Bassmaster Classic.
Too far. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry, dude.
he's
I didn't
old,
mean that.
He's old school though.
Oh man. Harry's a good boy. I remember we were even in Kentucky.
Harry.
Well, Harry.
What was nationals? Yeah, like I think maybe you guys
Oh,
talked
man.
about that before I got here, but
No, we didn't because it's it was tough. Like we weren't on the winning fish at all, but we were
No.
definitely on the fish to make a check. And
You guys had a good first day.
the
Like,
wheels,
200
just-
boats.
Yeah, the wheels fell off though. I mean, so we didn't realize it was the first spot that we found, like when we got to the lake, and we just didn't realize it had that many. Because I mean, we caught a mixed bag, and we were there for 10 minutes, and Harrison caught a nice smallie on it, and wound up being almost the only spot we caught fish on that we
Yeah.
got to weigh in. And then day 2, it was just one of those instances where it's out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it. And
That stuff happens when you're
Yep,
fishing.
the one that's like
Eventually.
I was bummed because I really feel like we had one spot closer to the ramp where I really feel like it would have sucked, but we would have weighed 3 to 5 fish off of it because they
Small
were,
fish.
Yeah, they'd have been small, but we'd have got a check.
Yeah.
And I hate to punt anyway. I really do. And I mean, I tell you what, if you guys want to get on a solid drum pattern, we
You're
got
out.
them.
You're
yeah.
always on the
I'll give
rough
you
fish.
waypoints
We
for
we
that.
got them
Love
fuckers.
it.
We got them dialed.
That's one thing I really struggled with is how many
Yeah.
rough fish are down there.
Is that like
It-
looking at scope?
Oh,
That's your difference.
insane.
Like, could
The way they act.
The
They
way-
act
you
like-
Dude.
tell after a while, or did it take like?
What's that?
Could you tell after a while?
No.
Like down there.
There
Like,
was
compared to what
instances
we
where
do.
it got to the point where I'd started to it felt like I'm like, okay, that's probably not it depended on the type of fish, obviously.
Yeah.
There was
Size.
drum the size of bass chasing bait, giant schools of shad,
And
giant.
You, and you couldn't tell
it
it was,
was
a
hard.
bass.
It was
Sure, 'cause
hard to
they're
tell.
And
tall,
that's-
they're just the same.
That's got to be somewhat what's going on down there. Like scoping, they get to see all those rough fish. Like up in Minnesota, like most lakes, maybe
Yep.
you see carp or drum.
Well,
or
everything that's-
suckers. Suckers are a
most
big one
things
around
that aren't
us.
a bass aren't considered a rough fish either.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's a game fish.
Well,
Like-
the
like-
biggest thing is this: if they react to your bait, most
Yeah,
of
I
them-
was just
Well,
gonna say,
right. So like a
how much-
majority
walleye-
of the time, bass are going to react to
in
some way
Minnesota,
to
you
your
make a
bait.
cast at a fish, it's gonna.
Yeah.
usually
A
get
bass
a-
is probably gonna come up and at least inspect it.
Yep.
Don't you say?
And that's what some of these drum are doing. Like
Yeah.
the second day, we pulled up to our starting area. Before we even got there, we saw a big cloud of bait.
Yeah.
Spun the troll motor over.
Yep.
Throw the minnow at her.
Like
And I'm like, oh, we're about to fucking wreck things. Not the case.
and like
Drum.
a lot of these guys that fish down there, they can probably tell what bait
I
it
think
is.
there's areas of the lake that have more bass, obviously, and
yeah,
you
I
just
was saying, I
know
don't
when
think
you
the
find
area
bait
we were
in
at-
that area,
But
you are gonna be around bass.
Yeah.
Even like we don't have a lot of those rough fish, but look at us. Like we can.
Yeah.
And maybe not size, but like what's a bass? What's a walleye?
Well, that was the problem. with
What's
drum
a
is
pike?
They're all this tall.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Those guys down there that can look at it all the time, like we look at smallmouth up here or whatever.
Yeah.
I've never even
That's
caught
a
a drum
huge
before
advantage.
till then. And
You caught them.
I did
You
catch
caught 'em.
You didn't get one at the river?
not drum, no, just white bass.
I think I caught.
I got
one
a drum.
Yeah, I think I caught one.
Me and you at the river were kind of doing the same thing, except you did it a lot more like main river. I feel.
Yeah.
I did like-
I was trying to stay close to the current.
Well, I found a bridge with hella white bass on it.
No, you found a neck down.
Yeah.
With the mother load of white bass.
You want
Which-
white bass waypoints called Johnston.
The one way back in the way back in the
Something in the eye.
next.
Well,
to
that
the
one
deep
had
spot.
smallmouth.
It did, but it had
White
the
bass
mother
also?
load of white bass.
Oh, really? I didn't catch any.
We
white
talked
bass.
about it
You didn't
earlier,
try
but
hard
like, how many times did we meet up with each other like on spots
all the time.
throughout Team
All the
Trail
time.
last year,
Yeah, all the time.
or even if we didn't meet up like at the house bouncing ideas off each other, we're like, this place, and you're like, well, was it?
I was
here?
mentioning that earlier.
Yeah.
You bump into.
Oh, don't
each
worry.
other.
I wildly waved at. There's another guy that runs a Skeeter like yours that has seen the most little kid wild wave
Well, it's Corey.
multiple times.
There's someone
No,
else
it's not
too.
So a third guy then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, there's one
Corey
more.
has a spitting image boat of. his
Yeah,
name.
it's not Corey because Corey would wildly.
Well,
wave
right.
that.
So yeah. So there's
Yeah.
a third one then.
I got
Yeah.
that. I got that one going.
He
last
probably looks
year.
at me like that boy's got to touch the. that guy in the Vexus.
It's not as bad as that. Wasn't there a story of Matt doing something that he thought it was
Yeah.
us, me and you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
on Gull.
What did he do?
He was waving like an idiot.
No.
Yeah,
I always
he
wave
was
like
doing a
this.
dumb kid wave.
Oh, was
So
it?
we do rolling, ripping down
I
the
thought
leg
he
all the
did
time.
something else. Where
I
it was
always
just-
throw it over my head.
Oh yeah, I get wild with it.
No, wasn't he doing something with his pole?
Oh,
and-
yeah.
Oh, that was Carl. That was Carl.
No,
wasn't
no.
it?
It was
Matt.
Matt.
Was it
He was
Matt?
talking.
Yeah.
I think he started.
He
like,
was
thrusting.
inappropriately gesturing.
Yes,
another
I think
boat.
he started like thrusting in the boat, and the other boat was like.
What did he think it was?
like waved back.
I thought it. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
he thought it was-
he thought it was me and you, and
Yeah.
it was not us.
No, I would. That'd be hilarious.
That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's good stuff. Trying to think of a good savage moment because Teal had asked that question earlier, and I'm just trying to think. I don't think we had
No,
any
In the
real
boat, the two of you.
we keep each other pretty
Gotten more
tame.
docile and peaceful
Well,
over time.
hey, nah, I don't. Maybe we can say this. We can cut it if you want, but at Cabotogama, we started on our B spot,
Oh,
and then the other one. Like I said, we can cut this. The other one opened up.
we won't say the name of who it was, but they'll know who it is if they
So
listen.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
got
We'll
there.
leave it.
Yeah, it's.
We
funny.
got there, and they're 250 away yards.
Well, so let me just set the
ish.
stage quick. So we wanted there was a one spot the day before that was loaded with fish. That was where we wanted to start. Well, with our boat draw, we didn't get it. Somebody else was
Yeah,
there.
we started on our B
so
spot,
we
just
we
down the
started.
way.
Yeah, so we started a little ways away. Then that boat left. We let it sit for 15, 20 minutes. Then we looped in to start fishing this spot. I'll let you take over.
And the boat was down the way,
Well, I
150,
I
250
pulled
yards.
it up on Navionics because they were on like a little bend of this part of the shoreline, and on Navionics I mapped how far away it was. It was almost a quarter mile away. It was a long ways away.
Yeah, it was a good ways. Like, if he wanted to be there, he should have been there, you know? And we're fishing, and his trolling motor's on high at this point, and he's fishing up to us.
Because he's like, oh, they're gonna get to the point.
Yeah.
I need to get there now.
Yeah.
So he like quick put it on 10.
And we're just fishing, and now it's getting a little awkward. We're close, and he's making casts over us at this point, and Hayden reels up. He's like, "You want to talk about it?"
I just can't.
I'm
I wish this was on video so
anti-
bad. I wish this was on video
I think
so
they
bad.
had a GoPro running.
They
actually.
probably did. Yeah,
Oh,
they
you
did.
should, you should just ask them, see if they have it on video.
It's
Well, no,
cool
because
now, but
It is cool now.
Hayden
but
said that,
it
and
just-
I like hook up, and he's like, "Well, if you want to be on the juice, you should be on the juice." They're
I
talk-
straight up
you know,
said
they're
it. That's a
talking
Seth
it-
Fighter
Seth
quote.
Fighter.
I
Yeah.
hit him with it. I'm like, dude,
That
if you
was-
want to
hit
be
him
on the
with the
juice,
old
be on
Seth.
the juice.
That was a
Because,
little
dude, he was
savage
a
moment,
long.
but
He was okay. So like, it's evident he was working towards it, but he was a long ways away
Yeah.
from it. So when we pulled up to it, he put it on 10, just like anybody would, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to get to it. Well, sorry, we got here before you did, and you were a respectable distance away.
What if
He was pissed.
the person on leech said that to you?
Holy smokes!
we had a couple of those. But like, man, it don't matter. But that's a
No.
good learning experience.
That what
like,
he did was downright dirty, dude.
We don't got to get into that one.
No. But yeah, it was. I mean, it's whatever we talked.
That
about
was
the
a little
doc.
bit
It
of
was-
a
it's cool after
savage
the
moment,
fact.
though. Like,
It's. I mean, it's.
just you want to talk
It's
about
savage
it?
in the way that it was like a confrontation, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like,
it.
we. we didn't
the
like.
Hayden, like
Well, dude, he
I
was
like
this.
the Hayden chirp.
Usually
Well,
Hayden
dude, he
keeps
was
it to
he was
himself.
pissed off, like glaring at
Yeah,
me as
he
he
was-
would cast, and I'm like, all right,
He
you
was
want to talk
upset.
about it? You're pissed. I'm not. Like,
Yeah.
what's the scoop? And
Here's the deal,
he's like,
buddy.
You cut us off. I'm
It's
like,
all
no,
good now though.
It
I
is
I
good.
went fishing with him later in the year.
Right. He might not like the
So-
story, but it's just him that would know about it. So
Or not saying
I'm sorry,
names,
sir.
So
Yeah.
doesn't
we didn't say.
Oh, yeah,
it.
we're not
We didn't say
talking
anything.
dirt, but that's a good learning.
But that's our
experience
side of
for
the
everybody.
story.
Like that
So,
stuff
Speaking
happens
of
when
good
you're
learning
fishing
experiences,
big tournaments.
let's talk about choosing the right rod. Hayden, you've designed a masterpiece for Vocelka Fishing
Some
Customs
might say that. Yeah.
that I broke in a door.
Oh,
I
no.
mine in a
Oh,
door.
You have to go to jail.
I did. And
Well, you
Dana
didn't
was
do it
right
in-
there. We were
Really?
at, yeah. We were at.
At least you know it, guy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have a new one this year, but
handsome bastard.
the Spin Boss signature series from Vocelka Fishing and Customs, designed by Hayden Anderson.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about like favorite rod and why. To me,
Like why I chose that to make it, or I
you
didn't make it. Dane did.
spent a lot of time on that rod, and that rod is truly special.
Well, it's like my favorite technique. That's what I like. Well, that like type of fishing, I guess I would say. So like
Which is
like
Quarter ounce.
yeah, kind of like your I
slow
would say
finesse.
eighth to 3/8 ounce, single hook bottom contact type baits on a spinning
a
rod.
strong spinning rod.
Yep, like a spinning rod, a stronger spinning rod. You kind of do. It's a very versatile rod where you
Yeah.
can do a lot with it. So,
Finesse wise.
but like
Yep.
not a
Great
so like
eco rod.
like I'm a spinning rod guy, but I like to party too.
Yeah, I like to do a
Yeah.
lot of different stuff.
yeah. So like it's just like primarily I really like to throw a baby tube, a Ned rig, a little micro finesse jig on a spinning rod kind of stuff. I'll use it for throwing like a smelt nader with a jerk shad on it, or some kind of minnow bait that's not like you're not like trying to get it to roll or nothing like that.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah, it's just you. And what I like with a rod is like to have something that's not like a super extra fast. So that rod I feel like is it's a powerful rod for a spinning rod, but it's not extra fast where the blank doesn't break. I like it. It has a deep flex to it when you're.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a pound and a half, or you set the hook on a 3-pounder,
Yep.
rod flexes over where you're not gonna like lose fish because it's too stiff. Or
Keeps her
anything like
pinned.
that. And it's super sensitive. I think everybody
Yeah.
would vouch for
that's-
that.
The
to
tip,
me
the
is-
tip is nice.
It's
Yep.
so nice.
Everybody
Especially
who's
with,
used
like,
it knows how sensitive it is, and for like fishing in cold water, as much as all of us like to do, it's really important when fish aren't biting.
a spinny rod
Hard.
when they're biting, it's just like it's
When
just,
it's just
weight.
mush.
That tip checks it, and then you still have that backbone to get into it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, I've used up to a 3/8 ounce tube on it.
So it's
before.
got the power.
It's
for-
like that. It's like that last spinning rod you would use before you would think, okay, now I need to go to a bait caster.
So Spectrum. So you're throwing up to a 3/8 ounce tube on it, and then
Or
like
3/8 ounce, almost anything that's a single hook. Like I wouldn't throw, like I'll throw like a 3/8 ounce finesse swimmer on it too. Like if I'm fishing in 20-25 foot of water, I'm trying to crawl a finesse swim bait on bottom, I would use that rod also.
Yep.
You
So 3/8 ounce tube, finesse swim bait, Ned rig.
Yep. Ned rig. Up to a,
small
even
jig,
I've-
any small jig.
Right.
Are you Nico rigging with that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's so. We should mention it because that was the same rod I was using on Gull when we won. We were
That-
throwing.
I was curious
yes.
about that.
Yep. Good. Yeah, that's which I didn't intend for it to be like a good like Nico rig rod, but when I was like kind of converting my arsenal over to stuff, I'm like, oh man, well, what am I gonna throw a Nico on? So I grabbed that and start throwing that, and it's like, oh, this is like the perfect rod for that too. It's got the good tip, and then also like you get a fish that's kind of buried into some grass. Boom, you got a rod with some backbone to yank them out.
Well, it seems like spinning rods. It seems like you need less spinning rod, like less variations of spinning rods.
You really-
almost
Yeah, you really
like
don't
for
need
your
a lot.
core stuff, right?
You need
So
a hair
that's-
jig rod.
You need your
You can make it
specialty items.
complicated.
You
Right.
need your
You definitely
specialty
need a hair jig.
items.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't. And we've seen specialty items come
Right.
out: strolling rod, hair jig rod.
Right.
You know,
100%.
specialty items. But as far as your like bread
Meat
and butter,
potatoes.
meat and potatoes.
This is a meat and potatoes rod.
sack
That's
of
what-
potatoes. When you're hauling
Yeah.
around a sack of potatoes, like most of us do most days, hauling around that sack of potatoes, you need a I would say a heavier spectrum and a lighter spectrum, and that Spin Boss to me
Right.
is the
And it's-
perfect like heavier spectrum. Like anything eighth and over, is going to
Perfect.
cover.
Right, and I've gone lighter
That
even yet. Like I've thrown
spectrum.
like a 16th ounce Ned, and it's like it does fine, right? Because like you get the weight of the plastic also. So like as long as you're like good with the spinning rod, you can, and it's not
Tipping
blowing
that rod
wind.
so
You can make
nice
that
for
cast.
casting. Like you said, you can still cast little baits.
Yep.
You got the tip to check the fish if you don't know it's a bite or whatever. But that tip is huge on that rod. That's a fantastic rod.
And like personally, I love the grip that it comes with. You can customize it because that's the beauty of it being a custom rod is you can put whatever grip you want on it. But I like that it's got like a very minimalistic type grip where it's very Johnston's a big
I
fan
caught
of his
it.
grip.
I caught it.
What makes
But
this
it's,
rod like worth its money compared to other rods, and where you've seen the difference? Like
It's
because
like
you're
it's components
picky,
on
and
it.
I remember
Right.
how much time
it was.
spent
Honestly,
on that.
it was because I like high end equipment, and so it was kind of took me a while to be like totally fall in love with something, and finally we came up with everything that's on this rod, and it's got high end high end guides and components on it.
If you're fishing in the
Good
cold,
wear, good
you can
reel
flick
seat,
off the
good
ice.
Really good
balance.
Fuji reel seat. It's got all the guides on it. Like there's recoil guides towards the tip, so it really lightens up the blank. The blank itself is lightweight in itself.
All of Dane's spinning rods are pretty light.
Right, they are
and
very
that's
light
nice.
to begin with.
The sensitivity, there's a lot of time spent with the sensitivity, and I think that's my favorite part about working with Dane on
Right.
some of that stuff is just, and I know Johnston's worked on quite a few projects with Dane, and I think Harrison, I don't know if you're smart enough yet to work with Dane or not, but I guess we haven't talked enough, but I think that's something that's really, I think, overlooked is some of that stuff that you put into that spin boss is.
Well, I remember when we were trying to achieve the right blank, he definitely ordered we sat down and looked at specs on different
I remember
ones
the
and-
struggle was real.
Yes, it was tough to find what I wanted, and I think we went through 4, 5, 6 blanks before it was like we finally
least,
got
yeah.
one where it was like, oh wow, this is, he showed it
is
to me
it.
and he's like, I think you're gonna like this one, and I'm like, okay, we'll see what it is, and it was like right away, loved it. That was, the one that we currently are using. That's the one that I finally fell in love with, and we're using now.
That plus a puppet master,
Dude, it's kind of
plus maybe a blade bait rod is all you need in the fall.
right. Yeah, right. It totally is. It's
You
kind
use
of
a puppet
the
master. You've used that blank.
I've used the blank. Yeah.
the spin boss is kind of a puppet master junior almost. We were talking when we were going through the naming process. We kind of wanted to separate it so it wasn't like there was direct I don't know, name crossover, I guess, between the two rods, so it wasn't confused. But it's essentially it's a Puppet Master Junior because it's the spinning rod version of what a Puppet Master is.
So to me, the Puppet Master Spin Boss is it's a series, right?
It is.
And that to me is one step lighter than the Puppet Master. Mm-hmm. Like a few steps heavier than the Spin Boss, and there's, I think that series could get developed in a guy who was into that shit.
Yeah.
But that's But that's a bait casting rod I can use 12-pound test, and that's what I like.
That's a
for
tough rod to find.
It's a light, medium, heavy, and so it's good for that 12-pound test light finesse jig, and then 16-pound test stupid tube on the river.
Yep.
I need you to be
And-
the fish.
Be the fish. He wants you to pull.
Oh, you want
Yeah,
I
dude.
want you to be the fish.
We've done this all summer. We
And the
practiced.
action is so good on
Oh,
it.
that's perfect.
Yeah. And that to me is the next rod he needs to come out with. That's the 736 MB, not SJ. So you were talking to SJ for that blade bait.
Yep.
This is more moderate.
A little bit more moderate. Well, I thought that the one I
The
have I
SJ
thought was
is
more
faster.
moderate.
But
the one I have
this
is
to me
always
should be the Puppet Master Junior or something like that. Or
Reel up, little buddy.
that is to me the ultimate finesse. The Puppet Master's really good in that 3/8 to half. This is really good in that 3/16
Yeah.
to 3/8.
I'm all right.
So it's like a
take one,
baitcaster
David.
version now of yeah.
It's pretty much. I feel like he can
'Cause,
put it on.
that's kind of
It's a touch heavier than yours, but
right.
yeah. Boys, we're at 3 hours 7 minutes.
Feels like it was 10
We
minutes.
keep rolling.
Yeah, I like it.
We keep rolling.
Have a good time.
That's the JP walking in.
Yep.
The one, the only.
Spielberg himself.
So are we gonna arm wrestle so I can take this home? Is that what we're gonna do?
Dude, that I have 2 of those. That rod is. I have 2 of those and 2 puppet masters. And in my mind, a guy needs 2 spin bosses, 2 puppet masters, and 2
It is,
puppet
dude.
master juniors.
I had 3 to start the season, and I had a buddy of mine that was like, "Oh, dude, I love this rod. I want to buy one." So I sold him one. So then I spent the rest of the year with 2 of them, and I'm like, "This isn't enough. I need more," because it's so versatile. So you can use it for, you know, if you're during the weekday when you're bouncing around on different lakes after work or something, you kind of have one stay rigged up for like largemouth stuff.
Yeah.
You can have another one rigged up with, you know, a smallmouth thing, and then it's like you need a third one. Certain like spring and fall of the year, you need to have one where it's you can have a baby tube, a Ned rig, a little finesse jig, or a
I
swim
feel like
bait.
all of us here are like that.
So hard.
13
I
to
just-
15 rods
You gotta
rigged
have
for
it.
every tournament.
You just
What I can't describe is that bend right there, and that's what you need.
So the puppet master is that just at a bigger level.
Yep.
This just has a thinner tip than the puppet master. So that half-ounce goby tube or half-ounce football jig the puppet master handles with ease. That lighter 1/4 to 3/8, this is about
That's the
as
jam.
yeah. And Dane, this is a custom build from Dane, but I've been trying to tell him
to get it
that
in the-
you need puppet master, like, and this puppet. What should be the second puppet master name? Like, what would you call it? Puppet Master Slim, Puppet Master Junior.
I mean,
Puppet
Junior.
Ma-
I feel like by just saying Puppet Master Junior, I feel like everybody gets the point right off the bat.
Puppet
probably.
Master Shaka Khan.
Yeah.
Puppet Master Shaka Khan.
You could just call it Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan. Okay, so you've got Puppet Master, Shaka Khan, and the Spin Boss. I like that, actually. What do you guys think? Shoot us an Instagram message or a comment.
You should, you know what? You should do a podcast, like, let's say contest, best name,
Podcast contest. Flash podcast contest.
best name for that rod.
Best name for that rod. This rod. It's the 736 MB from Vocelka Fishing and Customs.
Call it the Flex.
Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan, baby. Shaka Khan.
When they buy it, they have to listen to at least 30 seconds of the song.
But, dude, I'm happy for Dane.
Dude, he's crushing
He's
it.
doing it.
Crushing it, dude. I think he's busier than he ever expected to be, but he's going all in on it.
I don't know if there's a
And
a
he's-
human male in this planet that's cost me more money than that man.
Yeah, that's true. He's always got something that you're like, oh,
Oh, he's either got a rod I need, a tattoo I need, or God knows.
How many of your baby mamas has he tramp stamps?
I mean, I know at least one baby mom, and then my wife has got a lot of dollars of ink on her body, and she needs to go get a little more to finish out her one tattoo, and it's.
There's
I
been
mean-
few people who've touched your wife probably as much as
I don't know if anybody's touched her more than him. We went down there to get her last tattoo, and
congrats, Dane.
because it's because of
What
where
a
it's
dog.
at. She had to cut the old undies because of where it was at.
Oh,
the old undercut.
Yeah, the old undie cut.
dang.
Well, it's like a side hip piece.
Got to
but
see the
it's-
security cam footage of this
yeah,
tattoo.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
I overstepped.
Undercut.
Undie cut.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Dane, you
she always says
Unbelievable.
she's always like
Unbelievable.
he's the only one that puts his hands there besides you.
Wait, we talking about booty tat? She got booty
Side
tat?
hit.
Side hit? Side hit?
Side butt.
Side
butt.
booty?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
She's gonna hate me for this. But
Side
that
booty? Little side booty?
She ain't gonna listen this far.
Katie, if you made it this far,
You're in
I'd be
this deep. You're on the
honestly
spectrum.
surprised.
Yeah, it's back here far enough.
If you're into the pod this
Katie,
far,
if you're
a
listening this
degenerate.
far, just so you know, your horse is slow.
Well, you're gonna hear about it. If she listens this far in, she'll reach out to you.
Yeah, your
You'll
horse
know.
is fucking slow, Katie.
She already knows it's slow.
Fucking
He's
get
like
on your horse.
25 years old.
Fucking get that horse moving. Yeah, it's fucking old ass.
Yeah,
slow
get on your horse and get that horse moving.
Get that horse moving.
I didn't mean it, Katie. I'm sorry.
But yeah, as far as
You know, we try to always circle back a little bit back to the fishing. I don't know if I don't know if I was ever happier for somebody else to win than like when we came back. Like I could see it on Damien's face because I saw him before I saw you. Like I knew you guys.
Cried.
You did.
I thank God he said it. I've been holding it in.
And,
you could have said it any time.
But when like we got back and you're like, yeah, you know, we fucked him up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
really? And then
I mean, 21 pounds on
yeah,
Gull Lake.
and then I was like,
that's- you did
large-
something.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was genuinely happy, and there's not a lot of times when
don't-
somebody else wins and I'm happy.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the
And I
people
think
that
Harrison
like,
literally said the same thing while we were getting. He's like, I'm happy it's them guys.
We appreciate
you know,
that, boys.
thank you.
That's how we feel when we see the other boys do good.
Whenever I see one of the guys in the house, even just guys I know, like,
Yeah.
what do you got?
Well, you just
Like,
gotta be happy for good people, right?
And you could
You're
could
not-
tell when people are excited,
Some
except for
people-
maybe Corey. Corey's pretty good at keeping that stuff under
He's very
wraps, so-
competitive.
Corn dog.
Yes.
Corn dog.
Shout out to corn dog.
Shout out to Corn Dog. Call me
Shout
when
out
you
to
hear
Corn
this.
Dog.
Hey, have you
Hey,
showed? have you
I enjoy
showed
our phone
Corn Dog
calls.
the magic room?
No, but
You should probably
virtually.
show him.
He made a big order. He told me
Hey.
about.
Have you shown Johnston the big rig?
No, but
I
you
saw
would-
one over sitting on your wall over there.
That's a big-
I'll play with the old big rig.
It's a
good
underrated.
rod.
People are missing
Nice
the
rod.
deal on that. boat.
People
They're
are
not-
sleeping on the big rig.
Yes.
That might be something. I mean, as far as Shaka conning some bass,
That's the rod.
that's
really,
probably the Vocelka.
You wanna hear my
that's gonna
favorite part
Shaka
about it?
con the
Is
most
that-
bass.
is
My
that-
favorite
is that
part about it-
Shaka
conning?
motherfucking con.
Or is that like
Some
Shaquille
bass,
O'Neal in it?
maybe.
My favorite
No,
part.
Shaka Khan. You invented this.
I-
too. You invented this.
Yeah, you tell us what it means.
Shaka
Shaka
Khan.
Khan.
But no,
Oh,
my
I
favorite
just-
part about that rod is it's a heavy action rod, but when you bow up on a fish, dude, that thing breaks down. It's not like a
It's not a broomstick.
it's not a
What do
broomstick
you
of a
put on
rod,
that
correct?
rod?
It
It's
folds.
not just any broomstick, Harry.
It's got power, but when you load up on one, dude, you own that fish. So
mop jig trailer.
shout out to the
I would- so
to
I-
the big rig.
it would- I-
Mop-
it is
talk about
big.
mop jig.
Yes, it's a mop jig.
So
rod.
it's a rod that you can either do braid or
Yeah.
fluoro. So like 20 to 25 fluoro,
Yep.
or 40, 50 pound braid,
Right.
like quarter to 3/4 ounce.
Yes.
Well, probably 3/8.
Yeah, I would say
3/4 ounce.
Ideally,
yeah.
I would say half to an ounce.
half to an ounce. Yep.
Yeah, I like that half ounce mop jig on it.
Honestly,
Awesome.
you hold that rod in the store just by itself, doesn't feel that
Don't
good.
think much of it
when
until
you
you get
put
a reel on it.
like that's what
Yeah.
sold me on it is when
Yes.
you put the whole combo in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I feel like I could take on the world and Shaka Khan
Right.
some bass today.
Some motherfucking bass.
I've known Ron for a long time, so I mean it doesn't shock me. He really
Ron's a stick, dude.
Dude,
they
shout out Outdoors America.
Did he get mentioned on that
Mayor.
Bass Heads?
America.
Somebody did he get mentioned on that Bass Heads?
probably not. They're asking
He-
legends, and he's kind of. I mean, when I picture Ron, he's kind of young to.
Sure.
like, but he is an absolute fucking gem.
Yeah.
He is. He's cost me some fucking money over the years.
That rod has cost you some money. He's fucking. That's Ron's bread and butter. That's Ron's sack of potatoes right there.
It's got a nice balance for a
It's Ron's.
7.4 too.
I mean, it is fucking mop jig magic, flipping Texas rig
I would say,
magic.
I bet you.
And it pairs
I bet you
great with
there's
like a
thousands
200
of
size
crop
reel,
dudes
I
that
would
lost
say
their
too.
life on this.
And I gotta be honest, Ron's a lot more vertically challenged than me, and
That's one thing people. I
it
don't think-
works. He's more your like.
Yep, he's my height.
I'll be honest. You need
Oh, he's your
that.
height?
That's gonna fucking.
That's your height too,
Johnston,
buddy.
You're gonna.
I know.
So yeah, that's one thing I think people don't understand when they go and look at rods, and maybe something they should utilize when they buy something from Dane too. When Hayden uses the Spin Boss versus when I use a Spin Boss, it's almost like a different rod sometimes.
just by changing the line.
Well, I'm not saying change.
He's
I'm saying
saying by
changing
height.
by height.
Yeah.
You and I
Right.
are probably better off with a 7.1 with the same exact action as he is with a 7.3 because he's just longer. You know,
Yep.
I remember
That's-
fishing with Connor.
Because you skip with it sometimes.
Oh yeah,
You
I'll
did
skip
this
under
summer?
docks with like a
Yep.
Senko or something with
Us
it too.
with a 7.3.
Right. It
You want
doesn't
like
make as
a
much sense.
7.1 at the most.
And that's the beauty with Dane is you can tell him I want the spin boss, but cut it 2 inches shorter
Yeah.
from the butt. It's
Yep.
the same rod,
And-
but it's
Yep.
to your preferred length. So you
Yep.
can have a spin boss, but it doesn't have to be a 7.3.
Same with like
Completely custom. I feel like people don't
Even-
utilize
I want
that
the
enough.
spin boss,
Didn't
but I'm
you-
vertically challenged.
Yes.
Maybe this is.
But I
another-
I'm a
didn't-
short-tempered boy.
Didn't you cut down the hair jig rod like 5 inches for a swim bait rod?
Yeah. I have a
That's
hair
a-
jig blank, but I have it
that's
as a 7. Oh no, I cut it like 7.3. So you got that
7.3?
same. It's more
Well,
of
you
a
still got that
compact.
huge
Yes.
parabolic bend.
That rod's awesome for like a
what
screw
you want for
head
a
or
single hook
What are
lightweight
we doing
finesse
to
deal.
Teal
swim
over
baits.
here? He's just
He's on there.
he's blasting.
We've
us.
lost him.
A little trick I
Like-
learned from Chad Smith.
Oh, is
Wash your
it
boat with one of
the
these.
soap in it? Gets the
Yeah.
LG
Gets the
off
bubble
the
off.
top.
Let people know you're for real.
But well, even like when Harrison uses a rod too, it's just obviously me and Damien are closer to the same height. Me and Ron are closer to the same height, and just when I fished with Connor a couple times too, because he's tall and lanky.
COC.
too. Yeah, COC. You get just different sized people prefer a little different length rod. Like you're never gonna catch me skipping docks with a 7.6 or even a 7.3. Like I'm not about that life.
Yeah, he's gonna be using an 8-footer.
I did that for a year and then realized that I'm an absolute moron, and then dialed it back.
Yeah.
And so actually, I mean, one of my
7 foot.
well, I would say one of my favorite bait casting rod that Dane ever built me it's like a 7-foot MBR heavy. It's just, I mean, and people are laugh because I throw a peanut on it. And they're like, that's so heavy. And I'm like, I get it, but it casts fine. So, and when,
You threw that more than anybody, anyways.
yeah. Well, and I'll probably throw it. I have a 7-foot medium heavy MBR that Dane built me to. That's probably what I'll throw that on from now on. But in the pinch that it has enough tip, and it's my favorite dock rod, like braid to fluoro. You're talking, 30, 40 pound fluoro, whatever you prefer, 1-3-1 super soft. If you guys haven't like stacked an FG on it, Aaron could even tie one on that. And then heavier fluoro, let's say 18 to up to 25, skipping a jig with it just whacks fish in the face.
Do you do that tape trick?
Tape trick.
Like the black tape, cut a
He
slit?
doesn't need to. He's the best
Well,
dock
yeah.
skipper I know.
Yeah,
He
it's
doesn't need to do
for
the.
us, but like,
He doesn't need
that
to do
was
the
a
electrical
huge,
tape.
Like that.
that,
helped
that
a
was
so
lot
that's
this
a
year.
cheat code. Like if anybody watching this, what
Yeah.
he just said was take a cast length out, probably take another 20 feet past that, put a piece of tape.
Because you're gonna break off, you're gonna retie,
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Well, and an overrun, it's all right if it goes a couple pulls deeper than
right.
You don't want to make that one cast where you're like, oh, and your tape
If you're
stopped
skipping
you.
40 to 50 pound, you can take a couple backlashes before you're like, eh.
So if you're skipping docks with 40 to 50 pound, knock it the fuck off.
Well, I'm doing braid to leader.
Even
but-
braid to leader, knock it off.
It
show
just
me the
it
rod?
pulls out better.
It's tough in this
I
setting
think.
right here.
It might, but I think if you,
I'm not an OG dock guy by any means, but
I just castability wise, you're gonna get more distance and more whatever if you just lighten up your braid a little bit. And your braid, if you're going braid to fluoro, it's never being in harm's way.
Yeah.
So you could probably even cheat and go to, I mean, you could go to. I would never do it because I don't have confidence in it. But you could probably go down to 20.
That's interesting. So you lighten your braid a touch when you're using a leader?
So actually, Seth talking about it gave me like, because he's a 30 pound. He'll frog with 30 pound, which
That's interesting. It cuts
Um,
grass better.
I bet it does. It doesn't make
There's
me
something
feel any better
to
about it.
the braid cutting things.
some of it's to the sound of it too. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
has to do with cutting
Well,
through
that's
White
that.
Snake sing a song that's cuts like a knife. Sing that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe.
Cuts like a knife. Maybe.
It's in that same song. Cuts like a knife, still knife. Yeah, I bet you it's in the same song.
Oh,
It
no,
is.
it's
That-
not.
yeah,
It is. I'm gonna
Maybe-
look it
maybe
up.
might
one
be.
way.
You guys keep talking. I'm gonna Google
This
it.
is gonna haunt Hayden if he doesn't look
Right.
it up for sure.
But yeah, I mean,
Big classic rocker.
lighter braid to fluoro because it. Well, I mean, even on spinning rods, I won't lie. Until just last year, because braid has gotten better, I didn't use more than 6 pound test on a spinning rod.
yeah,
And I would go all the way
Yeah.
up to a 12 to 14 pound leader, and
Do you-
my braid never broke.
So it's the braid's smaller. Maybe this is just a debate, but like, is there a noticeable difference between 6 pound braid, 8
Brian
pound braid,
Adams.
10 pound
Not
braid?
still.
Because I'm like,
Between
I'm like,
6 and 10, yes.
I dropped down to 8, but I was 10 for the longest time.
I haven't found a 8-pound braid that I liked.
Overwatch.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Right, and you were saying that, but
Overwatch
how
is
many
badass.
bad 8-pound braids have you found to get
Oh,
to that?
so many.
Right.
I will say my
never-
standard is
Power
always
Pro.
been Power Pro.
The loudest
Standard.
fucking
It's
line.
loud.
Right, it's
but-
loud, but dude, when you're tying a leader, it's not as important. I don't
Right.
think
No.
it is. But
And
it's
you
not
can
as-
get it in high
That's
vis
always been my
easily,
standard.
Right.
Easily.
But
Yep.
Overwatch is slick. It ties a good knot. It doesn't win knot as bad as other lines. Every once in a while you get one.
Yeah. Well, you.
But I will say
when you use
Overwatch
an
has
egg
been
beater,
a
you're gonna
great
get a win
line.
out of it.
Yeah.
Really, right.
You try.
I
hard
really, you get a lot of line twist. That's when it happens, right? Because you get a little slacker on that stripper guide on your rod, and just, if the wind's blowing just right, boom, it's gonna just wrap quick around that guide. So, but Overwatch has been one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was a good find last year.
was.
We lost Teal over there.
Heels Kareem Abdul-Jabbaring some.
He's trying to shock a
Tupperware.
hook con.
Oh, he finally got
Oh
it.
no way, dude!
He got it.
He's gonna fall down in like 20 minutes.
Fist pumping. I think I might have fist pumped when you caught that 5 on Gull.
Fist pumped a few times this year.
I
think there's
definitely.
a few
Give us a
fist
Johnston
pumps.
fist pump, Harrison. What's it
A
look
6
like?
pounder.
It's a
I
very
hope you
short.
What's a
fist
Johnston
It's a
fist
very
pump
short,
look like?
vicious stroke.
Yeah,
You gotta
little
cut
T-Rex
a
arm.
little bit of your
Yeah.
arm off.
I don't even. Yeah.
What's he do?
No, Damien.
Damien.
I know it.
That, yeah.
That was it.
It's like the lesbian.
Everybody,
She's watching like a football. No, listen. She's watching like a football game, and she's like, I don't know if they score a touchdown or a field goal.
goes,
She's like, yeah, it's the lesbian fist pump. Yes. Yes, that's what she says.
Yeah. That
She's
video's
trying so
hilarious.
hard to be a dude, and it's just terrible. Oh my god! Everybody knows that video.
I know what you're talking about.
So,
It's so funny.
I'm certain when we netted that big one on Gull, that was it. I know when Peanut landed our big smallie in the river, I know that was a let's go. That was a fist pump and a let's go.
Yeah, it was.
Lesbian Johnson,
Dude,
let's go.
Let's go.
I think the 6-pounder Mille Lacs we were more in like shock of that.
the
fish.
thing is, for that
you
one,
were on
you
another planet.
I
because
literally
you realized it was just an absolute
I didn't.
gorilla.
Oh my god.
You didn't call it, but right before the tournament, you were like,
Yeah,
I've
we were
never caught a
talking about-
6-pounder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we all said, well, could be in a tournament tomorrow, pretty much.
Dude, straight up, we did. We sat on that basement couch,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harrison, and he fucking did it.
Sipping a little whiskey on the basement couch.
We did
Well, that was
Should
the
we-
world's comfiest couch I've
Should
ever
we fire
slept
up
on.
one whiskey pull?
I think it's
Oh,
time.
we better do one whiskey pull.
I think it's time.
And then
we're
we can
checking
shut
in,
her
checking
down.
It's out. It's outside. It's outside.
Oh,
No,
we
no,
gotta
no,
do.
no,
We,
we
gotta
got
do
a
stuff
cold
you
one
bought.
outside.
I might need that one.
We-
I don't know if I like
we
the
got a
chocolate
sissy.
one.
I would say we got a sissy one outside. I'll yank that pecan one just fine. But
I've been hammering these.
By the door,
150
maybe.
Look on the
years of
grill.
tradition.
look on the grill.
Cold Springs, Minnesota.
It's good. It's been good stuff.
Yeah.
Straight
Look-
up. I'm
look-
not even paid to say this. It's good
The
stuff.
lager and the light has been very tasty.
The old Smoky is really coming clutch through the tournament
People
season.
sleep on 3rd Street, dude. It's good beer.
Everybody in the
It's-
tournament scene
this
and our
is- this
crew
is
knows
really
what the
good.
old smoky whiskey does to
3
you.
fingers, six digits.
To the gang.
Someday they'll learn. Get you a Vocelka Fishing Custom, a case of 3rd Street lager.
And mud pie cream.
Old
What is
Smoky
what do we
to
got
wash
here?
it down.
Old Smoky
Oh, mud pie.
Cream.
Mud pie
Are we
cream?
talking about the
You're
mud
scared
pie?
of mud pie cream?
Cream.
No, he doesn't like chocolate.
Well, it's
Oh,
because
I don't-
chicken nuggets and
like
twisted
chocolate.
teas. That's
I'm
where he's
more of
at.
a
That'll be
vanilla guy.
good.
I'm more of a vanilla guy myself, dude. I'm
No.
sorry.
he got COVID.
I don't need to go
Don't
into
say
all
the-
this,
Don't taste
but-
the same to him anymore, chocolate.
COVID messed up my taste pretty
Yeah.
bad.
That's fair.
Did you get the Delta or Beta? Or wait.
I don't know what the
Or zebra.
strain
Different
was.
ones.
The strains.
Yes.
I don't know. I didn't get tested.
I
I
think
Teal has
zebra
it.
was
You got
one
tested,
that
you're a
opened it.
pussy.
You think I got tested?
We might as well just do polls at this point.
Come on,
Smells
man.
good, doesn't it?
Loser. Loser.
Oh no, I'm gonna full mouth that thing. So if you don't want it, that's not on me.
No full mouth.
I'll
that thing.
I'll take a sip of that one though.
Ooh,
That was fair.
that's pretty.
Don't tell it. I want to taste before you give a review.
Tasty.
That's a mud
I'll
pie.
sniff
mint-
it. I'll
the
see if
mint
it
one
smells like
was-
the
chocolate.
mint
Naughty.
is the best one.
Naughty.
I'll be honest, that one's pretty.
The mint got rolled around Tracy
It's like
a few
coffee,
times.
kind
You
of.
put me in an
If
ice
it's
house.
coffee,
with
That's good.
Yeah.
You'll be okay.
Oh,
I will
actually
sip
don't.
that
I
all
like
day.
chocolate.
Sip it all day.
I don't
That'll
even
be
like
my
chocolate.
drink the whole day. I don't need 7
Yeah.
beers. I need that.
Do you know what I
pretty
think
good.
would be good? So I'm kind of
Checking
weird. I
in,
like
checking
eggnog.
out.
I like eggnog.
I love eggnog.
I think if that and eggnog
I don't
fuck,
like eggnog.
had a
I don't
kid,
know if I've ever had
it'd
that.
probably be a
That'd
really
the
good
drink.
drink.
I'm a little
That'd be the
boy.
drink. What
Yeah.
What is our boy JP over there doing?
He's snooping,
Oh, he's just digging.
finding gummy bears. Hide up gummy bears.
Molars.
Behind Harrison, those go for $40 a pack on eBay.
my
Those
God.
pink
What's
little
that?
gummy bears.
These?
Yep.
JP, he filmed us on old Tatanka Cicada there, and he took a little nap.
Can I pull one out?
Yeah.
There's
There's hair on them. It breathes in the water. On a
Oh
bed
my
fish,
God.
on a
We
bed
got
fish,
some
I
of the
bet it'd
best
be good, Harrison.
picks though. Like when we stuck the one out of the tree.
What?
that was mint.
We got gummy bears, dude. We got molars.
I'm telling you, I think you guys hit it on the head. The Japanese are like, what can we
Yeah.
sell these idiots?
Dude, what?
Hayden's onto it.
The JDM straight up, dude, they say, what can we sell to these stupid
Yeah,
Americans?
They have a molar, a little dick and balls. I mean, they have the poop for fuck's sake. And now we're gonna toss them a gummy bear to shoot.
All right, the
telling
poop
you,
kind of
man.
catches them.
But they also have
So dangerous.
they also have nice
Yeah.
big jigs.
Dude, look. Oh.
Like
Oh, it's the.
beautiful big jigs. They have beautiful.
I'm gonna oust myself right here. If I
Yeah,
could
well,
get
not
a,
out of the package.
a brake blade
You should
Got
get
like
I
one.
get those.
that a guy that throw it.
you rig it, dude?
Maybe if we could talk Dane into
This
talking to a guy
You're gonna
that
have
is
to enlighten me
infatuated
on
with
those.
a
If
Chattanooga
it didn't
bake.
have
I think
that
that
little
grass feed
fur on
flex
it,
is
I wouldn't
pretty
even
cool that they
entertain
make.
it. But I'm
We're gonna
entertaining
find
it.
out.
Yeah, I
Yo,
agree.
are we checking in, checking out?
We probably should.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have been
Yeah.
checked out.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
we might get a little loose after this, so it might be the down.
I gotta
This
be
is
honest.
Teal's
Bass Galaxy checking in.
Shaka Khan.
Checking out.